seeing lots more of Adam through the new year as well, which is great news.
Yeah, looking forward to that, absolutely.
And your background, you're an amazing guy. I think you were born with a trowel in your hand.
Yeah, well, I mean, I got it from my grandparents and my own parents. They were mad on gardening. I started gardening when I was about 5 years of age, run my own garden maintenance business for about 36 years now, and along with my other half, John, I've won 4 gold medals at the Chelsea Flower Show and other accolades as well. Yeah, and I'm just absolutely passionate about everything to do with gardening. It's my hobby, it's my livelihood, it's my reason to be, really, Hayley.
Absolutely, and I think for lots of it is that feeling of well-being, isn't it? Getting out in the garden. What a beautiful day it is here.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same with you. Blue skies, it really is absolutely gorgeous. And we're getting our gardens ready for spring, tidying them up over the winter season, and we've got everything you need and some crazy deals. We have got a really great way of saving. The club membership is brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, that just makes so much sense, doesn't it, really? I mean, especially because we've got so many things you're going to want to order. Basically, the more you order, the more you're going to save with this, really.
Well, you can see right here, now you've got 2 options. You can go for the auto renewal, and I definitely do that. You can cancel that at any point. All it will do is automatically renew, but it's only £5, so it's well worth doing that. Or you can do the 1 year's membership. But I would go for the auto renewal for £5, and it'll virtually probably pay for itself today. You'll get 10% off absolutely every plant and accessory that you order. You'll get 5% off things like your lawn mowers and things like that. Through the year, you'll get £20 worth of vouchers for £5, so you're already winning there straight away. And you've also got exclusive offers, competitions and expert advice. So do join the discount club, and you'll see when you actually go to order, it'll give you the option at the end of you sort of checking your basket out, and you'll actually see what money you'll save. And I did this just the other day, and I was saving over £5, so it was paying for itself straight away.
You just said 5% off of a lawnmower.
Yeah.
I mean, lawnmowers could be 200 or 300 quid.
Yeah.
So that is crazy.
Which is madness, isn't it? So you've got to join the club. What you've also got to do is, well, you've got loads of options. You've got, first of all, a code which will give you a free gift, and the code is always on your screen. Now, you can see it there right now. It's YGTV43. Now, not only will that give you 50 sweet peas delivered with each order, what it will also give you is all the deals that we mentioned. So if we do a buy one, get one free, there's buy one, get 2 frees sometimes, which I can't quite work out. So it's always buy one, get one free.
So that's not a bog off, that's a bot off? I don't know.
I don't know.
Sure.
But it's definitely a really good deal. And there's lots of deals where you sort of get 2 for 1 and things, but you need to use the code to get that. And you'll also, of course, get your sweet peas. But then what you've also got is if you spend over £30, and if you're buying the compost, it's so easy to spend over £30, you'll get free delivery. So everything is like, we love it, don't we?
Yeah, and I tell you what, you can sow those sweet peas now, actually.
Yes,
and get going through the winter, because they're really hardy, and then they'll flower much earlier next spring. So, yeah, I mean, don't think about just leaving them in the packet till spring. Start your sweet peas now. Just keep them somewhere cool and sheltered through the winter, and they'll just get away much, much quicker next spring for you.
And that is the thing with the bulbs as well. Planting them now, it's going to give you better results in the spring. While the soil's not really cold, you get it used to that soil and get it through the winter to get established, so you really get those flowering early. And they are absolutely beautiful. I would say probably the country's favourite flower, or one of the country's favourite flowers.
Oh, I mean, so many assets on those facets, really. You've got the fragrance, you've got the colour, and the more you pick, the more they flower as well. So
fabulous.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Keep picking them, and then more and more buds will keep coming, and they'll flower for months and months. Feed them as well. Feed them with a liquid feed. But a really great plant to take bunches of flowers to other people as well, because who would not want an absolutely gorgeous fragrance bunch of sweet peas on their dining room table or at the side of their bed, or you might be visiting somebody in a care home or a hospital or somewhere. Oh, wow, gorgeous. And
you're getting 50 seeds, that's free of charge using that code YGTV43. So make sure you put that code in every single time. We have got so much to show you, and we're going to start off with an absolutely beautiful looking plant, the Six Hills plant, as we'll call it, but also it's got an amazing smell to it.
Yeah, it has. It's got that wonderful aromatic foliage. And it's kind of, when I hear this, it always reminds me of that Elton John song. I always say, oh, no, Peter, you will never know. I've slightly changed the words there, but it always comes to mind, move on. But yeah, I mean, incredible fragrance on this, really kind of aromatic-y, kind of herby fragrance, which is really, really nice. But This is a really, really tough plant for covering large areas. You've got this glaucous blue foliage, as they call it here, which is really, really drought tolerant as well. This is a plant for a really super sunny position. And once it's established, it will grow in really, really dry areas and really, really poor soil. This is not a fussy plant. This is not a prima donna. This is a plant that will just grow in all sorts of places, providing it's sunny and well drained.
I bet the butterflies and bees like that.
Butterflies and bees absolutely adore this, Hayley. And this flowers for months and months and months. And even when it sort of comes to the end of flowering, if you cut it back, then it regrows and it will give you a second flush of flowers as well. And it will just cover a really, really large area. And you've got that deep, deep lavender purple flower there. You've got that wonderful foliage underneath. And as I say, you've got a plant that is just so tough, so robust. Once it's actually established, I mean, I can think of a garden now that I look after on the outskirts of a place called Bishop Stortford, and there's a big patch of this growing near a wall under a magnolia tree, and it's as dry as bones, that soil, and it's really poor, awful, gravelly, gritty soil, and every year underneath, this huge patch of this comes up, and it just looks amazing. So if you want stunning colour, if you want fragrant foliage, if you want a plant that's so easy and tough to grow that will come back year after year and gradually spread and give you bigger and bigger clumps, this is something to go for, definitely.
The cats also love this as well. It's a really popular plant, and it's one of those buy one, get two free. I don't know how we do it, and I've never heard of a buy one, get two free, but you do need, and there is actually, now this is, of course, now we do know whose the cat this is, because this is, of course, the regular presenter here at Ideal World, and this is his cat. He took this home so he could try and test it, and honestly the cat absolutely loved it. $9.99 is buying you 3 of those, so 560772 is your item number. So that is Sean's little pussycat there. So gorgeous. Grab that, and don't forget you need the code, so YGTV43, that is your code to give you, of course, the deal of the buy one get two free. Now we're moving on, and these are just absolutely beautiful always, but this is even more unusual to what I'm used to, because it's like a double flower. Yeah,
this is stunning as well, and also you've got those sort of pink petals in the middle there as well, which is really unusual.
Amazing.
I mean, probably 25, 30 years ago you wouldn't have got this sort of coloration in a narcissus or a daffodil, but now, you know, they've got these sort of pinky colours. I mean, look at that. That is absolutely stunning. That is knockout, and these grow on lovely sturdy stems as well that are going to support those really, really big flowers. This is a real statement narcissus replete. It will come up year after year. It will gradually form bigger and bigger clumps, and it's just, I mean, it's just stunning. It's elegant, it's unusual, it's different, it's multicoloured, and personally, what I would do, I would have 1 pack of these to plant in the garden and enjoy in the garden, and then I'd have another pack that I might grow on the allotment or in the kitchen garden or somewhere else for cut flowers, for bringing them indoors and having them in a vase. Because again, they'll probably last up to about a week as a cut flower indoors. But plant them somewhere quite sunny and well drained. But you know, daffodils and narcissus, they pretty much grow on a washing line,
and
don't they?
And they smell amazing. I used to always order these from Jersey for my mum, and they're absolutely beautiful, but never seen one quite like that. Brand new for today as well. It's a new for Sunday, and of course wind hardy, so it comes with a lifetime guarantee.
Yeah, lifetime guarantee. And remember as well, what I always say to you, when you plant a bulb, you always plant a promise. And the reason I say that is because in the middle of each one of these bulbs is a little tiny embryonic flower already there in the middle of that bulb. All you've got to do is put it in the ground. Nature will do the rest. So you're guaranteed to get a flower from these bulbs, because these are really, really big, sturdy, strong bulbs with that little flower just ready to go in the middle there.
Really huge.
And that's the great thing about bulbs. Is, you know, there's no risk with bulbs. Like, are they going to flower? Are they not going to flower?
And the right time to plant them as well.
Perfect time to plant them now. As you said earlier on, Hayley, the soil is still quite warm this time of year, because we've not really yet had that much cold weather. We've not had any real ground penetrating frost yet either. So although if you put your hand in the soil, it might feel a bit cool and cold to you, honestly, for a plant, it's still quite warm, the ground. So once these daffodils have been in the ground for a week or two, from the basal plate at the bottom of the bulb, they'll start to put little roots out straight away. They'll get themselves established. By Christmas, they'll already be starting to send up that little shoot underground, and probably by about March time, you'll see that little shoot come above the soil.
Exciting,
yeah,
isn't
it is. And then obviously, you know, March, late March, early April, they're going to flower for you. And These are going to be such a treat because they're just so different to kind of any narcissus or daffodil you've grown, to be honest.
And you see the details on your screen. You have 600, 161 is your item number, $14.99 is your price, 20 bulbs. Mother Nature is amazing because they look like an onion, don't they? And they turn into this most amazing, beautiful flower.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about...
quite ugly to
yeah, they
so
do.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, as you say, you look at a bulb and it's like, well, that's just, there's nothing inspiring about looking at a bulb, is there, to be honest? But like you say, Hayley, you put it in the ground, nature does the rest. You know, nature will create this. It's just like it's like a stock cube of joy, really, just ready to kind of burst open in your garden and give you this wonderful, wonderful display. And I'm actually going to get some of these myself as well because I've not grown this type myself before, but I would love to have some of these.
And when you've been a gardener for so many years, I mean, that's incredible to have something that is so different. So you've got those with us here on YouGarden. Pop those into your bag. Remember, if you spend over £30, you do get free delivery, and don't forget to use the code that will get you those free actual sweet pea seeds, and that's YGTV43. But we're moving on to our complete spring flowering bulb collection. 300 bulbs.
Yeah.
Wow.
300 bulbs that are going to give you a flower display over a really, really long period as well. So not just, a couple of weeks. I mean, we're talking probably about 2 or 3 months, of flowering time with these different bulbs in different colours, different heights, different textures. I mean, we've got alliums in there, for example. We've got Iphion, we've got grape hyacinths, we've got crocuses, we've got the little narcissus there. So, so many different...
it's a really nice mix, isn't it?
It is a nice mix,
different colours.
I mean, the crocuses, for example, they're going to start flowering probably... they can start even in February in a mild winter. So these are muscari, these ones, or grape hyacinths. They're going to flower round about the same time as tulips, so about April, May. You've got your little miniature daffodils here. They're going to be flowering about March time. And remember, these all come up year after year. Your tulips, they're going to be sort of April going into May. They're going to be flowering. So already we've gone from crocuses in February to tulips in May. We've got, these are the, it's gone out of my head, that one. These are the alliums. They flower about Chelsea Flower Show time, the alliums.
Right, yes, they do, because they have them around.
Broadier, that was the ones previous to this. These are allium. I think these are allium nigrum as well, which are these white alliums. These are actually a wild allium as well. These grow naturally in the wild, and again you've got sort of more crocuses here, so we're giving you a flavour here of the type of bulbs that you're going to get in this mix, and you're just going to get these are Iphion, these ones. These are great. These spread year after year after year,
like
make a bigger and bigger
blue, aren't they?
Make a bigger and bigger carpet year after year.
Lovely, so good to stop the weeds as well.
And they just seed about, and then of course all these bulbs, after they've flowered, you leave them sort of 4 or 5 weeks, they die down, the foliage dies down, they disappear back down under the ground. You don't see anything of them again until the following spring, and then they come back up year after year.
My mum's got a gorgeous front garden that is a real spring garden. It's so exciting when you see that little bit of green coming, and it's the prettiest garden, prettier than anything in the summer.
You can't say a truer thing, Hayley, and you kind of inspired me saying that, because I suffer from this seasonal affective disorder, and I really struggle with this time of year. I absolutely hate autumn. It really brings me low. It's a horrible feeling, but when I work outside and it's just getting into after Christmas time, early January and so on, and I look and I start to see these little green shoots, it just brings an explosion of happiness and joy into my soul, really, because I know we've turned the corner, and I know spring's coming, the days are going to be getting longer, the colour's going to come back, and that's what bulbs do. They inspire you, and they just give you that encouragement to hold on till the spring, when you know it's all going to happen all over again.
Your garden is a feeling of well-being. I truly believe that. It's the only time I really, really switch off, and even through these winter months, get all these things planted up, get them established. And if you're looking at this actual bulb collection, you're saving £20 today, which is incredible. Use the code YGTV43 because you will get as well those fabulous seeds, 50 of those gorgeous sweet pea seeds. And remember, if you spend over £30, you will get free delivery as well. And do join the club, because you'll save 10% on everything, and it's only £5.
Yeah.
And so instantly, often you've saved, you've made the money back straight away. It's a win-win situation.
Well, I went to a well-known supermarket yesterday with one of those cards that you give at the end. And straight away it knocked 30 quid off my shopping bill, and I thought, why would anybody not have one of these cards when just for showing a piece of plastic you can save £30? It's just obvious to me that you want to do that.
So that's what it's like. It's like your supermarket card giving you extra savings. So do join the club. It's always on the page. Just as you're about to check out, it'll just tell you what you're going to save, and you think, oh my goodness, I'm virtually saving £5. I've saved over £5 if I join the club, so it's well worth doing.
So that could cover your P&P for one order, couldn't it? Straight away, for example, or it could be something else that you wanted to buy, but you
can add in.
But you can add in, because you've made that saving straight away.
No, definitely. Now we're moving on to Moonbeam. And have a little look. I mean, they just make you smile. If you drew a flower, and that's the sort of flower you draw, isn't it? That is a true-looking flower.
Yeah, I mean, that's the sort of thing. When I don't know, when you ask, if you asked 100 school children to draw a flower, like I don't know, infant school kids, that's probably the flower they would draw. That classic daisy kind of looking flower. And these coreopsis, they are really, really what I call good doers. They flower for month after month after month. Not very tall, so they're nice compact plants. They don't blow over, they don't need supporting, but they just throw out hundreds and hundreds of these joyful flowers for week after week after week, attracting the bees, the butterflies, the pollinating insects. They've got that lovely ferny, feathery foliage that looks so nice sort of underneath. Great for pots, great for beds and borders, great for rockeries. You could even try some of these in a hanging basket if you wanted to.
Oh, lovely.
They're a perennial plant as well, so they'll come up year after year for you. They die down in the autumn. The only thing they'll ask of you is plant them somewhere bright, sunny and well drained. They won't like shade. They won't like really, really heavy wet soil. But, average conditions in a bright, sunny border, probably mid to front of the border would be the place you'd put these. But absolutely great if you live 3 floors up and just got a balcony and you want to grow something in a pot.
Oh, lovely.
These would be fantastic.
And you can imagine those attracting the butterflies and the bees as well. Winter hardy too, so it means it comes with a lifetime guarantee. At any time they're not growing well in your garden, all you need to do is get in touch with the nursery and they will replace them. Now, what you're getting here is one of those deals I just don't understand. It's not a buy one, get one free. That's the only deal I know, buy one, get one free. It's a buy one, get 2 free. And the size of them, they're a great size as well, aren't they?
You know what? Some gardens, these are in 9cm pots, but some garden centres might actually pop those on into a 1 litre pot and charge you like $4.99 each.
Really?
Yeah, I could see that happening. And I've seen ones this size for $4.99, $5.99 each. So brilliant. 3 for $9.99. And fabulous. You can see, even now, look, we're into November next week, and even now, look, this silly little plant, look, bless it. It's still trying to flower.
Our weather
now,
has fooled everything, hasn't it?
Still got a flower bud, even there now. So, these really, really do want to flower, and they want to keep flowering as well. And probably the reason these are reflowering, something I forgot to mention as well, once they start to fade off flowering a little bit, just go over them with the shears or some scissors and take them down 4 or 5 inches, like we've done with these, and then they reshoot, and then they give you that second flush of flower. So you can keep encouraging them to flower over a long period.
Absolutely gorgeous, aren't they? In your beds and borders and in pots as well. Buy one, get 2 free. The only way you get that deal is by using the code YGTV43. Put that in as you're ordering. But also remember, when you're ordering and using that code, you will get 50 sweet pea seeds as well, which is fantastic. And don't forget, if you spend over £30, you will get free delivery. So if you're going for our compost, we'll tell you about the compost. It's the best start in life for all your plants. So put everything in your basket. If you spend over £30, you've got free delivery as well. Now we've moved on to this beauty, which colour-wise is incredible.
It is incredible, and I tell you what, Echinacea and the coreopsis, they go together like a horse and carriage. They grow in very similar conditions. Echinacea, full sun, well drained, a tough plant, a great plant for pots, troughs, patios, balconies.
And visually they look nice together, don't they?
They would grow really, really well together in the garden. They like the same kind of position. But these are absolutely knockout flowers on here, that deep, deep orange. That kind of dark centre to the flower as well. And again, you can tell our climate is definitely getting milder, because we're almost at the end of October. They've still got flower buds on now. They still want to be flowering even this late on in the year. Because, as I say, we've not really, I say down here, I appreciate up in the Scottish Highlands and stuff, you have had a few, frosts already, a few minuses, but generally across the country, we haven't had any really penetrating bad frosts yet, and the weather's been relatively mild, so things will keep flowering as long as they want to flower. And that's the great thing when you've got really high quality, well-bred plants. That's what they want to do. They want to keep flowering. They want to keep giving you joy. And these echinaceas make fantastic cut flowers. But if you've got a hot border, for example, and you want to create that Mediterranean feel, you want to get that kind of look into your garden, well, go for these, because these are just absolutely knockout.
I love the way how the petals drop, so it's a bit like an umbrella, and it's got that landing pad for the bees and the butterflies on top.
They're kind of like recurving kind of petals as they drop down. And that's the thing as well, because, you know, when you look at the shape of a flower or the colour of a flower, it looks really pleasing to our eye. But you know what? Nature's not doing it for us. Nature couldn't give a monkeys about what we think about flowers. They really can't. But, you know, all these flower shapes are designed to attract in the bees and the pollinating insects. But of course, you know, they bring extreme joy to us as well. And something like this will make a real big statement. But honestly, if you've sort of bought the coreopsis, go for these as well, because planting these together, that kind of yellow moving into that dark orange, they will go together so nicely and just give you colour for a long time.
Now you've got a massive saving on these, saving £17, 560895 is your item number, £12.97 if you price there. Remember, if you spend over £30, you do get free delivery, and don't forget to put that code in, because that will give you the free sweet pea actual seeds, but also give you all the extra deals as well. Lots of people watching on YouTube this morning, so welcome, great to have your company. Do message in. Hello Neil, hello Elaine. I know we've got some real regulars that regularly watch Sean and Bex. I'm covering Sean today because he's out and about. But we've also got Adam here that's going to be a big member of the team going into the new year.
Yeah, starting in the new year. We're here in a regular spot, which is good. I'm really looking forward to it, because, you know, if you're as mad about plants as me, it's going to be great.
And any questions, email in. When we've got, you know, a pro in like Adam, ask the questions. I'm like that all morning. Tell me about this one. Tell me about this one. So we've moved on to one of my favourite plants, which is an Acer. Yeah. And Acers are so expensive.
They are.
You know, and when they grow, mum's got a couple of like trees now, and if you went to buy that in a
you could pay hundreds, if not £1,000 for
easily,
a really large Acer.
So I always see them as an investment, an Acer.
Yeah. Well, this one is Acer Negundo. In fact, I'm going to lean it forward because I want you to be able to kind of look into the foliage. So this is Acer Negundo Flamingo, and you can see in the middle there, as the new foliage comes through, it's that sort of deep pink colour or white colour that turns into a pink, and then gradually that sort of fades out. But these really are. Look at that. I mean, lovely, such a stunning looking shrub. A really easy shrub to grow as well. This will grow in most gardens, it will grow in most positions. If you put it in a sunnier position, you're going to get actually more bolder flower colour. If it's in a shadier position, that won't be quite as bright, so put it in a sunny position. But you've got an option with this Acer Negundo. You can leave it and it will grow into a smallish tree. I say smallish, it will probably go into a tree that might get to about sort of gutter height on a house.
Right.
Perhaps not quite that high, but that kind of height.
Yeah.
It's not like
over time.
It's not like a massive tree, like an oak tree or an ash tree or something. But if you think, well, that's going to be too big for me, you don't need to leave it to get that big. You can actually, in the spring, when you prune and cut back your roses, cut this back at the same time. You can cut it back to sort of the main stems about 2 or 3 feet up, and then it will send out this massive, really lovely, big, thick shoots. And those new shoots will actually give you much bolder flower leaf colour than if you just leave the tree to grow on its own. So you've got 2 options. Have it as a tree with leaf colour as well, or trim it all the way back and then, you know, enjoy that even bolder colour.
My mum's always frightened of trimming things back, but actually sometimes it's a bit like having your hair cut. It's good for them, isn't it, to have a good trim?
It is. Well, again, there's a garden that I used to look after in Hertford, and I remember planting a couple of these about 5 or 6 years ago, and I cut them. They're on a trunk about sort of up to chin height on me, and then every year I used to prune them right back to the top of the trunk, and by September time they'd sent out these 6-7 foot great big new shoots with stunning, gorgeous variegated foliage on. And then what I do is when I go back in March, I just take those stems all the way back down again to the top of the trunk, and they redo it all over again. So I've got the joy of the foliage, but I haven't ended up with a tree that's absolutely massive and taking over the whole garden. But if I wanted to leave it to become a largish tree as a centrepiece in a lawn or somewhere, I could do that.
That's the great thing. You can control all these plants. So if you're thinking I've only got a little garden, you can keep it in a pot, you can keep it pruned, and
great
you can keep
pots,
it smaller.
All put it in the largest pot.
And they're brilliant. Acers don't like windy spots, do they?
They don't, but this one, this isn't, when you think about the Japanese maples or the Japanese Acers, they're a little bit more wind susceptible. This one is a little bit more wind tolerant. So this one, you know, I'm not saying a really exposed position, but it's a little bit more wind tolerant than the little sort of Japanese Acers, for example. But as I say, a light position It's really, really good for the foliage. I wouldn't put it in a really hot, scorching, sunny position because sometimes in really hot weather the foliage can get scorched, but somewhere really bright where it gets sort of sun in the morning and then perhaps some sun later in the afternoon. But honestly, it's a really, really easy plant to grow. It's not fussy, it's not awkward, it's not difficult.
Wow.
It'll come up year after year, it will last many, many years, and as I say, leave it to grow into a small tree, or if you don't want it to do that, keep pruning it back every spring and it will stay compact but look absolutely gorgeous with that bold foliage, as you can see now.
That price as well for an Acer, amazing, $19.99, really good established plant there, ready for you to plant up. 511481 is your item number. Don't forget the code, it unlocks all the extra deals, the buy one get two frees, the special offers of buy one get one free, and it also gets you the seeds as well, so make sure you add that code in every time because you do get some free seeds, some sweet pea seeds. Now we've got an amazing bundle here. So what you've actually got is not just the actual bulbs, you've got the planters and you've got the compost, our professional compost. So this is really nice. Perhaps someone's just moved into a new home and they've just got a garden for the very first time. What a great housewarming gift this would be.
And I tell you what I love about these pots these days, Hayley, as well, is they just look so real, don't they? I mean, I can remember years ago when you had pots like this, you would kind of see little bits sort of hanging off where they'd
true,
where they'd not been separated properly from
you could see they were like a plastic, whereas now
and you can see a seam down the side. I mean, you look at this, I mean, that just looks so stylish. I just love that kind of diamond shape there with a little leaf pattern in between.
And that'll always stay, won't it, whatever the weather?
Exactly. So these are UV resistant, they're frost resistant. These are lightweight as well. And actually, I'm going to show you that, there we go. I'm going to show you that price as well, because keep going. There we go. I'm going to show you that price because look at that.
So we're getting two of these in the bundle and £7.99 is the price it says on the bottom. So that's already £16. Just with the pots, and then you've got your compost, 20 litres of compost, and then we've got our bulbs. Yeah,
you've got the bulbs as well, and just to finish up on the pots as well, these are lightweight as well, Hayley, which is fantastic. So again, if you've got a balcony, if you've got a roof garden, if you've got something like that, and you don't want really big heavy pots,
no, of course you don't.
Ideal for that. And also another thing these are going to do, when we get those really bad frosts, these are not going to crack or split or be damaged. They're going to expand with the freezing soil. So all the advantages, all the attraction and looks of a stone pot, but none of the disadvantages. And then of course we've got a fantastic bag of our compost there as well, that's going to give these bulbs that best start. And then, you've got your bulbs, you've got your daffodil bulbs to go in there, into those pots. And the great thing as well about planting daffodils in pots is you can take the pot to wherever you want that colour to be. So while they're actually, just in the compost this time of year, and the pots aren't looking particularly attractive, you might think, well, I'll just put them around the side of the shed or somewhere for the time being. Then once you start to see the bulbs come up in late February, March, then you can bring them onto the patio, right outside the patio doors, watch them come up, watch them flower. And then you might think to yourself, I like daffodils, but I tell you what I don't like. I don't like having to wait 6 weeks afterwards for all that foliage to die down because it looks unattractive. Well, if they're in pots, you can just put those pots around the back of the shed. So you've had all the best times from them, but none of the sad times. But another thing you could do as well, if you wanted to, once you've put the daffodils in, you could already put wallflowers on the top of the pot. You could put forget-me-nots. You could put some cyclamen. You could put some of our pansies, our cool-wave or matrix pansies on the top. So you've got instant colour
nice idea,
with those
layering,
from the start, like Lasagna planting, if you like. And then you've got the daffodils to come up later in the year. So, great options with pots. You can do so many things with them, move them about, put different things in, and then in the spring, summer next year, you could even take the tulips and daffodils out, plant those in the garden if you wanted to, and then replant those pots with summer flowering plants.
Yeah, absolutely. And the colours go beautiful together, don't they, the tulips?
They do. I mean, they are stunning. I mean, the daffodils will probably just start to fade out a little bit before the tulips come. But the good thing about that is it's going to extend that flowering season for you, because probably from when the daffodils start flowering to when the tulips finish flowering, you're probably looking at 6 weeks.
Brilliant.
If not longer. And then, of course, if you put some wallflowers in the top already or some forget-me-nots, the bulbs will quite happily come up through the middle of those. And then you've created almost that kind of like park sort of planted display just in a little pot on your balcony, on your veranda. It might be your mobile home, wherever you want really. Or you might want to give one of the pots away to somebody as a birthday present or an Easter present or something like that.
I had a friend, she planted up, as a thank you really, a pot with, I didn't know what was in it, just with bulbs. And it was so exciting when they started to come through. I was like, I wonder what she's planted in there. You're going to absolutely love that if you are planting them as a gift. But great as well for you to put out, even if you've got the smallest of gardens. I've got loads of pots, no sort of beds and borders. Pots really give you this amazing display just right there for you to see instantly outside your patio door. Saving, well, you can see there, saving £20. So you're saving more than you're spending today. And don't forget, always use that code because you will get your 50 sweet pea seeds as well as a free gift, which are worth £9.99. So 201204 is your item number. That is the compost, and we'll tell you more about the compost in a moment. That is the bulbs for your tulips and, of course, your daffodils. And you have got the 2 planters, and those planters actually have £7.99 written on the bottom of them. So you're winning all the way round with that. Now, this is absolutely beautiful. I love the green of the leaves.
Yep.
I love the shininess of the leaves. And our director and producer in the gallery is actually, I'm not even going to try and say this.
Well, Echinaceas, some people say Echinaceas, but I've always pronounced it as Echinaceas, or the common name is flowering quince. And the reason being is because once these have finished flowering and the flowers are pollinated, sometimes you get these sort of tomato-sized fruit that are bright yellow, and they're actually a type of quince. And I do believe you can make sort of quince jelly or quince jam out of them. Yeah. I don't know how easy it is to do, but you can do it. You can do it if you want to. It's up to you. But you could just leave the quince on because they actually look quite attractive later in the year as just these kind of yellow fruit hanging on the actual shrub itself. Now, these are sometimes semi-evergreen, so in a mild winter they will keep some leaves on, but in a colder winter the leaves all tend to fall off. But the most remarkable thing about these is they're a spreading shrub that kind of arches and sort of creeps and crawls along a little bit and fills a nice space. But then suddenly in the spring, after a few warm days, from bare stems with no leaves, you just get this explosion of deep red-orange flowers.
So you get the flowers first.
Yeah, you get the flowers first, and then the leaves come a little bit later. And they are absolutely stunning. I mean, the thing is, I don't know about you, but sometimes people talk about, oh, you must colour coordinate stuff, and you must have, you can't have this colour with that colour and all that kind of stuff. I say boo-hoo to all that because at the end of a British winter, I just want colour. I don't care what colours.
That's it.
I don't care what colour. I don't care if it's a bright orange flowering quince with yellow daffodils or bright pink primulas. I just want colour. I want joy. I want to be uplifted. Look at this colour. I mean, that on a spring day with the increasing light levels and the warm spring sunshine on that and the first buzz of the bees of the year going for those wonderful stamens covered in pollen. I mean, goodness me, it sends shivers up your spine.
So many flowers, isn't there?
Oh, I mean, the branches are absolutely laden with these flowers. I mean, the branches almost disappear from sight because you've got so many flowers on here, and they will flower for a good couple of 2 or 3 weeks. And it's one of those shrubs as well that does this strange thing that a little later in the year, it will send out another odd few flowers here and there. So, I mean, not as good as the spring, but all of a sudden you'll go out in the garden one day, and it might be June or July, or even a little later in the year, and you'll say, oh, that's got a few little flowers on it again. But the main spectacular point for this is sort of late winter, early spring, and just that explosion of colour, and it just looks magnificent and so easy to grow. This plant is as tough as old boots. It's mega hardy, it's drought tolerant, wind tolerant, it'll grow in really poor soils.
So lifetime guarantee.
Lifetime guarantee.
Hardy, so if it's not ever grown right in your garden, you can actually just get in touch with the nursery, and as long as you pay the delivery, they will actually replace it. Now you can buy one of these, and look how well established it is. Really great size as well. What you see in the studio is very much what is delivered to your door. So £9.99 will buy you one of these. However, we've got a double up deal on this, and if you want to go for 2, put 2 into your basket, you'll only be spending £14.99. So for another £5, you'll get another £10 worth of plant. But remember, you do need to use that code YGTV43 unlocks all of these deals, and it will give you the free gift as well, which is our sweet pea seeds.
That value on those is stunning, Hayley, as well, because I just know I buy plants all the time, and again, I can.
If we went into a garden centre and picked one of those plants up,
could be £9.99 each, could even be like up to £12 each, because when you go to gardens these days, oh my goodness, some of the costs have really gone through the roof.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
the value on these is phenomenal. It really is.
So I'd definitely double up on those. $9.99 for one, but for another £5 you will get 2 of those. And just like Adam was saying, you could easily spend £10 on one or £12 on one. So 510957 is your item number. Now we've got to tell you about the compost. Now if you know YouGardens, you'll know this compost is actually what they use here in the nursery. We're in the middle of the nursery, which is fabulous. So we work out of a potting shed, which I love.
We do, yeah. I mean,
I was ready for it to be really chilly today, but it's quite pleasant.
It's quite a refreshing temperature, isn't it, at the moment?
Nice.
Yeah, it's just right. It's not too warm, not too cold, and I'm loving that you can't see them at home, but I'm loving those lights in the background. It's like we've got the sun shining on us with those wonderful lights behind as well. So, and with all these, we're feeling quite uplifted today, aren't we? Really, we're feeling inspired.
It's the only time I really switch off is when I garden, and I do think the garden, they say this feeling of well-being and trying to, look after ourselves. I think the garden does that for me.
Oh, absolutely.
Completely.
Yeah, get outside for a couple of 2 or 3 hours, get your hands in the soil, start doing a little bit of pruning, a little bit of planting. And one thing I do, we're going to talk about bulbs, and we have spoken about bulbs. When I sort of plant my bulbs as well, sometimes I try and do it on a bit of a memorable day, like I'll do it on Guy Fawkes or Halloween or something like that. And when I plant them, I will say to myself, it's really, really drab now and a bit cold and stuff, and I'm planting these bulbs, but the time will just fly, and suddenly it'll be I'm out in the garden again and I'm looking at them and thinking, wow, they look fantastic. And that gives me a little bit of encouragement as well, because it gets you through that kind of that dark sort of autumny winter
I think
time.
Lots of people struggle
gives you something
with
to look forward to. So
and now we've changed the clocks, it just seems to be dark all the time, doesn't it? And it gives you that little bit of inkling that the spring will be on its way. Get the garden ready now and still keep enjoying your garden, being out in your garden now, getting those bulbs planted. And whatever you're planting, honestly, and over the years, there have been thousands of 5-star reviews on a compost, which is crazy, but compost we're busy for already. This compost is like nothing else I've used, because often when you buy it from a garden centre or the supermarkets, it can look, sometimes I look at the bag and think, how long has it been there? Well, and then sometimes you open it and it's so stodgy and thick and black, and sometimes it's got like a white sort of mould to it.
Well, I'll tell you what, Hayley, you're right, and I'm going to go in. I'm going in with my...
He's going in, he's jumping in.
I do. Oh, wow.
It is the best, isn't it?
You think, what's that madman doing, smelling compost? But, when you smell that compost, it smells fresh. It doesn't smell mouldy. It doesn't smell mildew. It hasn't got that stale smell to it. And sometimes, you do open a bag of compost and you think, ooh, that's like, I bought some compost a little while back and, oh, my goodness, the smell was obnoxious. It was almost like a sewagey kind of smell. I think it had chicken minerals. And it was like, whoa, I'm going to upset the neighbours with this. But this is absolutely spectacular compost.
And this is like the right soil or the right compost for virtually all your plants, because of it's what the nursery uses, and they've got to get results. So it's got that right ingredients, hasn't it? Absolutely.
I mean, the first thing to say is it's reduced peat as well. So 50% less peat has gone into this, which is important these days because we're trying to reduce our reliance on peat. But we've replaced that with composted wood fibre. Now, what that does, that keeps the compost nice and open. It lets the air get down into the compost, because although roots grow underground, they need air. It's critical, they need air. But what it also does, it allows the water to percolate through, but it doesn't let it run through straight away. So you get that perfect balance of not a wet, heavy, stodgy compost, but you don't get a compost that's going to dry out really quickly either.
Brilliant.
You've got a wetting agent in this, Hayley. So that means when you actually pour water onto this, it soaks in straight away. It sucks that water into the compost. It's like kitchen towel effect. It doesn't repel the water.
You notice that when you water a hanging basket, because normally it runs straight out the bottom, doesn't it, all over your feet? All over it, or down your shirt.
That's it.
Whereas actually it all stays in the pot, doesn't it?
This isn't like, I don't think it's such a word, but this isn't hydrophobic. It actually likes water. It wants to absorb the water. There's a slow release fertiliser in this as well that's going to feed your plants for a nice long period. And also, it's pH balanced. So what that means is, when we talk about pH, we talk about things can be very acidic or very alkaline, and at either end of that scale, certain plants don't do very well. So this is more towards neutral, pH 7. So that means many, many, many more plants are going to be happy in this compost than other composts that are too far the other way with the pH. So it's so balanced, and it is literally nirvana for whatever plants you want to put in this. And really,
this is the difference it makes. Your standard compost, and we were just talking about how it can be heavy and stodgy and thick. Though that plant's alive, the roots aren't thriving. And I've taken plants out of pots, at the end of the season and think, well, actually, that's exactly the same as it was when I put it in. The roots haven't got any bigger. It hasn't grown any stronger. Whereas actually with our compost, and honestly, if you want to keep repotting plants, you can, because the roots thrive. And what that does is gives you a healthier plant, more disease tolerant, a stronger plant, bigger flowers, bigger fruit, better results. I use it for house plants as well. Yeah. It's such a versatile compost, isn't it?
I pretty much say if it grows and it's green, then really you can use this compost.
And it's like your 5 a day. We need our 5 a day. It's like your 5 a day for your plants.
Exactly, yeah. And and the roots you were talking about there, that's your fibrous root system. So if you imagine that fibrous root system is like the veins and arteries in your body. If you've got really healthy sort of capillary system in your body, you're going to be healthy. You're getting oxygen supply, you're getting a good blood supply, you're getting all the nutrients carried around your body. That's the same for that plant. That's got that incredible root system, so it means that plant can absorb moisture, it can absorb minerals, and it's going to be a happier plant. The reason the one on the right hasn't grown very well because it just hasn't got that root system to support it and get it going. So it's just sitting there.
The difference is massive, isn't it?
It's huge.
That's a really good description. You sort of, it's a bit like you've always got cold hands and cold feet. Your circulation isn't great. Circulation's not going to be great here, but circulation here is going to be fantastic. It's a stronger, healthier plant, and it obviously makes a difference what compost it's in. Perhaps you have always failed with hanging baskets and pots. It made me feel like I'd got green fingers. All of a sudden, my plants, my pots were better, my hanging baskets were better. But what we've also done is in Mum's soil, she's got lots of areas where nothing grew because it was very clayey, horrible soil. We've mixed it into the soil, and now those areas are thriving.
Yeah, and it'll do both areas as well, for example. So if you've got heavy clay soil, it will help that soil to break down a little bit and make it more friable, make it more easy to use. Yeah. If you live in somewhere like Norfolk, where I am, where the soil is really sandy, and when it rains, it can rain for a week where I live, and it still doesn't form puddles in my garden because the water, it goes straight through and it takes all the minerals and all the nutrients with it. If you mix something like this into that sandy soil, you're going to give that much more bulk, you're going to give that soil much more of a heart, and then it's going to hold on to the moisture, it's going to hold on to the minerals, and it's going to encourage those plants to grow. So it is a magnificent compost.
And I don't know if this is right, but I always tend to do this at this sort of time of year. I'll put a layer of this over the soil in the beds and borders. I'll put some fresh on the top of my pots and things. Is that a good idea?
Yeah, that's brilliant, because what will happen is over the winter time, the worms, the rain, the snow, the wind and stuff will get all that compost to go down into the soil as well, so it will improve the texture of the soil. And you could, if you wanted to, and we've got another product we're going to mention later, but if you've got roots of plants that are a little bit delicate, for example, you could put a nice layer of this over the top, and then it'll actually protect that plant underneath. It will protect that root from the frost and the elements, but as it breaks down, it will also improve the soil. I use this for my house plants. They absolutely love it. And you can, in the spring, you can do what's called topping up. So sometimes when you've had a particular plant in a pot for many, many years, it drops down, doesn't it? The soil level disappears. In the spring, just top it up 2 or 3 inches with this, and that will give that plant a new impetus, a new boost to kind of thrive again.
Some more goodness to keep it going. I love the fact as well it's 100 litres, which is brilliant. It works out normally about 42 odd pounds, doesn't it, this? But you're actually getting 2 50-litre bags, which is much handier than a big 100-litre bag, isn't it?
And again, you make me kind of chuckle actually saying that, because sometimes at work when we have these really, really giant bags of compost, and I need to sprinkle it between things. I sort of cut a corner off, and then I'm trying to lift up this bag and shake it out at the same time. It's like I've got a dead buffalo under my arm. It's like, this is just stupid heavy. With something like this, you can cut that corner off, and you can very easily sprinkle this in between your other plants, or carry it from one place to another. And you might be thinking, well, it's in really boring white bags. Well, the simple reason for that is because it's not going anywhere else from the supplier.
It's not sold at garden centres. You won't find this in the supermarket.
So it doesn't need flashy bags, does it? That would be a waste of time and a waste of money.
It's actually the nursery's compost. I was here when there was a delivery, and loads of it came, and then it's all freshly bagged as well. And they were like, this will be gone in a week. It is so popular. If you look at the 5-star reviews, once you've used this, you'll never go back to any other compost.
Well, do you remember in a previous life, Hayley, there was a gentleman who sent us in a picture of some daffodils, and he'd used this on. Now, I didn't think
his name was Paul. He was.
I didn't think anything could make daffodils grow better than they already do. And then, you know, it literally had a sort of a border that he divided into 2 squares. Daffodils on the left or the right, no compost. Daffodils on the other side with this compost. And the difference was
massive.
It was huge, wasn't it?
And then he sent us further pictures, didn't he?
Yeah.
And they were so blooming, absolutely
they
bigger,
were taller,
stronger,
weren't they? Stronger stems.
much taller. Yeah. No, absolutely. And that is the difference this makes. So if you do want to make the most out of your plants, if you're purchasing plants, you want to make sure you get the best out of them. It's really important what compost you use. And honestly, look at the 5-star reviews. Now, we are hugely busy. 10125 is your item number, and you are saving about £18 on this deal as well. Got lots of people watching on YouTube. Really great to have your company, and please do tell everybody about YouGardens. Every week now, Wednesdays and Thursdays, it's 10 o'clock till 1 o'clock now, and 2 till 4. And then on a Sunday, we're 10 through to 2 p.m. So do join us any single day. You can watch us, of course, on YouGarden, /YouGarden-TV. And you can, of course, watch us on Facebook as well. And then any questions, do message in on Facebook or on YouTube. So we've got Adam with us. So we've got the brains. I'm not quite sure what I am. I'm not even the beauty. So.
You are the beauty. You are very beautiful, Hayley.
I'll find something. I'm the free gift lady. So if you do want to make sure you get your free gifts, do use the code on your screen. That's YGTV43. That gives you the most incredible, beautiful sweet pea seeds. You get 50 of those. And that is a free gift per order. And don't forget, when you are ordering as well, do join our club, because you will actually get 10% off all of your plants, and it's only £5 to join for the year, which is brilliant. And if you're spending over £30, you do get free delivery as well. But get your pens and papers, because if you have just joined us, let's give you a little update on some of the things we've looked at already and some of your absolutely favourites over the this last week. And we have got extra new products today as well with us. Now, starting off with this beautiful Six Hills Giant. This is the prettiest of flowers. It really covers a vast area. This is a buy one get two free of charge. The smell on this, the scent to just the leaves is amazing. It attracts the butterflies and the bees as well, and cats absolutely love it. £9.99 is your price. 560778 is your item number. And don't forget to get that buy one get two free. I really have to concentrate to say that, because it's not buy one get one free. Buy one get two free. You have got that deal. £9.99 and YGTV43. So do make sure you use the code to get that special deal. Other items you've absolutely loved. Narcissus plate is absolutely stunning. Colour-wise, I've just never seen anything like it. Adam's gardened. I always say I think he came out of at birth with a trowel. He's gardened virtually all his life, and he's buying these because he's never planted these. So something really different for you to have in your garden. 20 bulbs, just the right time to plant bulbs as well. While the soil is still quite warm, let these get established through the winter, get used to then that colder soil, get their roots formed. You know, in that first week, you'll be amazed how much they're already getting sort of established in the soil. So you are going to get better and earlier displays. £14.99 is your price. 600-161 is your item number. Now, we had another bulb collection, which was incredible. 300 bulbs. Whether you're going to keep all these for yourself or whether you're going to split these with a relative or with a friend, you're actually saving £20. £9.99 buys you 300 bulbs, and it's again the right time to plant these. Different heights, different colours, some of your absolute favourites, tulips. And spring garden is just such a joy. Adam's been saying how I think lots of us do feel down over the winter months when we've changed the clocks. It's dark in the morning, it's dark at night, and we just want that joy in our garden. So get in the garden now, get these planted out, wait for that little bit of green to spring up in the spring, and you will not believe then what a beautiful display these will create. You've got the alliums in there as well, some really beautiful crocuses. So you've got a really gorgeous collection there. So grab those while the stock is available. Coreopsis, now this is really popular, and I'm not surprised. It's a really pretty flower. I said earlier, it's very much, if you were asked to draw a flower, that's what you would draw. It's going to attract the butterflies and the bees. It's got a really light, lovely sort of feathery foliage as well, a sort of a ferny sort of foliage, but a really pretty sort of pale flower with that bright yellow inside. And you can see then changing to that brightness that you see colour-wise there. You have got another buy one, get two free. So this is a deal where you do need to use the code. Always put the code in, YGTV43. Put it in because you're going to get a free gift, which of course is our sweet pea actual seeds, but you'll get all these extra deals. And buy one, get two free. I've never heard of it before. It's a YouGarden thing. It's normally get one free, isn't it? But you do get two. So 3 plants in total. 560773 is your item number. The Echinacea, now these work really well together. Adam was saying they like the same sort of soils, but colour-wise they look fantastic together as well. Echinacea I love because they're a really beautiful, stunning flower. The colour is absolutely amazing on this. It's gorgeous, sort of bright orange. But they've got and they open to me like an umbrella, and then they've got this landing pad for the bees and the butterflies. They are stunning. People will be knocking the door asking where you got these from. 560895 is your item number, and again you have got the incredible deals there of 3 of those 9 centimetre pots for £12.97. So saving virtually there £17. Yeah, that's incredible. So do not miss out on those. Something else that's been a true favourite is the Acer. There's something really calming and tranquil and stunning about Acers, but this Acer, just the most beautiful leaves that will, as you see, change colour. They grow through lighter at first, and they've got a pinky sort of tinge, then sort of a whitey tinge. Now this can be, if you want, you can leave it to grow into a nice sized tree, but this really does like being cut right back at the end of the season and then really growing into a really sort of beautiful size and giving you lots more stems. It is a plant that really does flourish if you trim it back. 511481 is your item number. Again, another huge saving of £10, $19.99. And Acers to me are always an investment. If you go into a garden centre and look at a big Acer, they can be hundreds, if not even thousands of pounds. So do grab that while we have got the stock available. Something else I know we all are the daffodils. Daffodils, just prettiest, happiest of plants, aren't they? So if you are going to go for the mixed daffodil planting bundle, you have got a really lovely bundle here because you've got 60 of the bulbs, you've got 20 litres of our professional compost, and you also have got 2 12-inch planters. Now the planters on their own, they've got prices on the bottom, $7.99. So that's £16 worth of planter before your compost and before your bulbs. So you've got a great deal here. You're saving £20. 201204 is your item number. And as again, daffodils, get them planted up. Nice gift actually. You could plant them into these gorgeous green planters, and they are stunning. And then you could give them as a gift, perhaps a Christmas gift. Perhaps you're not wanting to spend a fortune this Christmas. And actually, I do think buying plants as presents, it's a plant that, it's a gift that keeps on giving. And those daffodils coming through in the spring will be just an absolute joy for someone. So 201204 is your item number. Great, I always think when you've got a bundle like that for someone that's just moved into a new home for their new garden. Now this is our Amaryllis, and this is the orange trail. And this is stunning. Now the flowering quince, you might know it as, and this has got the most beautiful of flower. And what you'll often find is the flower comes before you get those gorgeous glossy green leaves. They do as well have like an orangey sort of berry to these as well. I think you can make a quince jelly if you do know of quince jelly, or make quince jelly. $9.99 is your price. Now you can buy one for $9.99, and they're really strong, healthy, great size plants, but you can double up with this. And if you want to double up, you won't pay 2 lots of $9.99s, you'll just pay $14.99 for 2. So for another £5, if you put another one into your basket, it will just be £5. So remember, you do need the code for that. YGTV43 gives you all those double up deals, buy one get 2 free deals, and of course you do get your free bulbs as well. Your seeds, I should say. You've got your sweet pea seeds. That's your free deal this week with that code 510. I missed the last numbers, but you would have jotted that down already. And then we have got our compost. Now, honestly, if you are at home thinking, I never really do well with pots, my hanging baskets never thrive, I never really get great results. Down the road they've got some really gorgeous gardens and pots and things. I just wish my garden grew like that. Having the right compost makes such a difference. And this compost made me feel like I got green fingers all of a sudden. My hanging baskets were better, my pots were better, thriving, you know, really getting the best results out of what I'd planted. And great, this compost, because what you've got, if 50% composted wood fibre and 50% 3 different kinds of peat, so they've reduced the peat. You've also got a wetting agent in there, a slow release fertiliser. So this is like your 5 a day for your plants. And whether you are actually planting bulbs or whether you're planting the Acer tree, whatever you're planting will thrive in this soil. So what you'll find is you've got one soil virtually for every plant. There's only sort of acid-loving plants that need another soil. Virtually every other plant, even your house plants, this will be brilliant for. It's light in its area, and what that means is the roots can thrive. So what you'll find is it's underneath where the real work is happening. You're getting the joy of a bigger plant, a healthier plant, bigger flowers, more disease tolerant because it's stronger, better fruit because of the compost. But underneath, the roots are getting stronger and thicker, and those thicker roots are giving you better displays. So honestly, if you've worked with stodgy, heavy compost, sometimes compost, when you buy it at garden centres, it's like thick and stodgy, and sometimes it's got like a white sort of mold to it. It smells off. You'll never get that with this compost. It's what they use here at the nursery. It's freshly bagged, it's light, it's airy, it's got all the key ingredients, it smells amazing, it's proper composted, actual compost. And at £24.99 you're saving virtually £18. 2 50-litre bags, 100 125 is your item number. And something I've got to show you before we go back to some more live plants is something you absolutely love. Now, the Agapanthus, and we'll see it live in the studio because it's huge. £29.99 is your price. One of the best plants I ever bought. I've got mine, now they do like to be restricted, their roots like to be sort of hugged. So I've got mine in a pot, and don't put it in a huge pot, put it in a smaller pot. If you are planting it into the soil, put stones around it so it feels like it's being confined, because that's what they like, and that's when you'll get the better flowers, the better results. £29.99 for one, but you can buy one and get one free. Now this has been really popular. When you see the size of these, you'll see why. 2 of those for £30. Oh my word. That's ridiculous, Adam. That's 680130 is your item number. And wait till you see the size of those. And remember, to get that buy one, get one free, you do need to use that code YGTV43. Don't forget as well to join the club. Only £5, always comes up as you're about to check out your basket, and it tells you what you'll save. And so often you'll look and think, I did it, the first time I did it, I was like, well, I'm saving over £5, so why wouldn't I join the club? It's not going to cost, I'm already saving. Yeah. And then you get 10% off everything, 5% off lawnmowers, which you were blown away by, which is massive.
I know, that is massive. I wish I could get 5% off lawnmowers.
And you get as well, for £5 for the monthly, this is where it renews each year, but you can cancel at any point. You get £20 worth of vouchers through the year, so you get like four £5 vouchers sent to you. So £5 for 20.
I think at some point we need to give you some graphics on this to just literally show you just how much you can save, because it is phenomenal. It's crazy.
It is. It's so true. And don't forget as well, when you put the code in, you will get your sweet peas free of charge, 50 actual seeds, and we love a sweet pea, don't we? But I know what you are going to love. Take a little look at this. Oh my goodness. I don't think I've ever seen a viola that colour.
Well, I mean, could it be more appropriately named as well? I mean, you can say, well, they call it pumpkin, can't you? I mean,
and just the right weekend to buy it.
Yeah. I mean, look how deep and sumptuous and orange that is. I mean, goodness me, that's kind of like the colours we get in a sunrise or a sunset, isn't it? Those kind of
stunning,
wonderful colours there. When you get a colour that strong and that solid, it's always great to have fun with a plant like that, but you can always contrast it with something else that is going to be so different and create those really dramatic looks.
Absolutely.
So, you might want to plant that in a pot with, say, black snake grass or a blue festuca grass or something like that, and get that sort of contrast. But yeah, these flower for month after month after month. I mean, the ones we've got in the studio, which is what we're going to be sending out to yourselves, have already got flower buds on.
Fabulous.
I mean, you can see here, this has got little flower buds on here. And really the secret to this as well is don't wait too much longer to get these in the ground. Get these planted now while it's still really warm outside, or relatively warm for plants, while the ground is warm. because they will establish themselves much, much more quickly. If you say wait till December, and you've got your hanging baskets up outside and that compost is freezing cold and really, really wet, you're going to put these plants in and they're just going to go, they're just going to freeze, they're just going to stop, they're not going to want to grow. But if you plant them now, while the days are still relatively long, I mean, we're not down to the shortest days yet, and the air is still relatively mild, they'll establish themselves really quickly, they'll root really quickly, they'll start flowering now, and they're much more likely to keep flowering through the winter. And these flower for many, many months. And just at the end of just when you think it's coming to the end of the flowering season, kind of spring, early summer, they have this sort of final crescendo where they really, really kind of explode into flower again and give you like a final performance. It's like the last night of the proms, but it's like the last night of your Viola pumpkin kind of thing. And don't just think about these as being throwaway plants, because sometimes a lot of people think about pansies being like bedding plants, like petunias or lobelia or something like that. Oh, they've had their flowering season, I'm just going to throw them on the compost heap now. If at the end of the flowering season you trim these back to about 1 inch tall, and then keep them somewhere cool and bright and keep them well watered, then in the autumn time they'll start to reshoot again, they'll start to send up some new shoots, feed them as well, and then they'll do that for you all over again, because in reality these are perennial plants, they're not throwaway plants.
Fabulous.
You can keep these going from year to year. All you've got to do is just give them that little bit of extra TLC and patience at the end of their flowering time. They'll sit quietly for you, but you'll get that surprise, because as the temperature starts to drop again, they'll revive themselves and they'll just keep going all over again.
How fabulous is that? Now, you're seeing how they are delivered, which is brilliant. So they're delivered in these lovely little greenhouses. So they come like that through your door, which is fantastic. And all you need to do is open them up, give them a little bit of water, because obviously they've been travelling, and then you decide where you're going to put them and what you're going to be doing with them to get these amazing displays. Now, $14.99 would normally buy you 12 plugs. But if you put the code in, YGTV43, you'll get a buy one, get one free. So you'll be doubling up on those.
Yeah, which is just
That's
awesome.
amazing, isn't it?
And I tell you can even reuse these little greenhouses, Hayley, as well, because you can actually put some compost in the bottom there in the spring, and you could start off your sweet peas in there, for example, or you can grow cuttings in there as well. So just put a little bit of compost in the bottom.
That's a great idea.
Like in the spring, you might want to do some dahlia cuttings or something. Then close that up. It will keep the cuttings all nice and humid and enclosed. They're not going to dry out.
Brilliant.
So you can reuse those as well. So it's a win-win.
So it's like a little greenhouse that you can have on the windowsill.
Yeah, precisely. So don't bin them, use them.
I'm absolutely loving those. Don't forget, put the code in to get the buy one, get one free, and that code will also give you the free sweet peas as well. And don't forget, if you spend over £30, free delivery, and join the club. So many good things. Now, we definitely wanted to go to these really early in the show, because these are absolutely beautiful. These are our tulips, Angel Wish. And for me, I'd plant these in memory of Dad's sort of thing, because I think they'd be a lovely memory flower, wouldn't they? Yeah,
and for me, Hayley, as well, I think one word describes these: elegant. I mean, these are just so elegant.
Beautiful, aren't they?
You've got those pure white centres to these flowers with that kind of little splash of yellow, that little strip of yellow going up the outside.
Wow.
Look how thick and strong those stems are as well, that lovely upright glossy foliage. These really, really are super, super healthy, vibrant, vigorous tulips that are going to stand up in the wind and the rain, and it just looks so glorious.
I've never seen these before.
Yeah, well, it's not surprising really, because there's probably 20, 30,000 different varieties of tulip.
Wow.
I mean, they're one of the most highly bred kind of bulbs in the world, really. So there's about 8 or 9 or about 12 actually different classes of tulip as well. So you could spend your life trying to grow different tulips. Yeah. So it's really a difficult call sometimes to know which ones to bring to you, because honestly, I could do 4 hours just with tulips. Yeah. But this is magnificent, because it's simple, but it's elegant, and it makes a statement at the same time. And also, because you've got this reasonable kind of neutral colour, this is going to look good with whatever you plant it with. This is not going to clash with anything. And when you've got this sort of white with that strip of yellow up the side, and it's a spring day with the blue sky, and you might have wallflowers flowering underneath, you might have some of the primulas flowering underneath that you can see to the side there. You might have forget-me-nots. You've got that wonderful spring display.
And they're really easy bulbs, aren't they? They're really simple to grow.
Yeah. Tulips are easy to grow. I mean, plant tulips somewhere quite sunny and well drained. They don't like heavy wet soil, but fantastic for pots, troughs, beds, borders. You could even put them in a hanging basket if you wanted to. Bit extreme, but you could try it. But yeah, I mean, and they come up year after year as well, tulips, which is absolutely fantastic. And again, when you plant one of these bulbs, you are planting a promise, because if you was to take one of these bulbs out and cut it in half, right at the base of the bulb in the middle, you'd already see a little tiny embryonic flower that's already sitting in the middle of that bulb, ready for next April, May to flower.
Magic,
so all you've got to do is plant them in the soil. About sort of 3, you need, basically, if you take the height of the bulb and then you want about 3 times as much soil above it,
great.
As a rule of thumb for planting. If you've got slightly heavy soil and you still want to grow tulips, you can always put a little bit of grit or gravel under the base of the bulbs before you plant them. So dig the hole, put a little bit of grit or gravel, sit the bulbs on top, soil back on.
Lovely.
They'll grow away really fantastic. They'll come back for you year after year. But again, with these, I would probably go for a couple of packs, because I'd want some in the house as cut flowers.
Yes, they'd be a gorgeous cut flower.
And I'd want some in the garden as well. But also another thing I would want is both the primroses and the tulips in the same place at the same time, because they're going to flower at a very similar time. And wouldn't they look fantastic underneath the tulips?
Absolutely stunning. Do go for those. Grab those while you've got the, they're available whilst we've got that particular actual tulip. And don't forget, we have got the bulb planter as well, which is really handy, that metal.
Yeah, I'll grab that.
We'll show you this, because if you think, is it easy to plant bulbs? If you've got one of these, it's so easy.
Yeah, well, it's even got the measurements on the side as well. So literally, if this was the soil here, so you just, if you want to go down, say about 1 inch, you just press it down to that. And if you want to go down to 2 inches, press it down to that.
So you're not guessing.
And then it just takes that plug of soil out there and leaves the hole behind. And then, of course, you drop your bulb in, and then you just press the soil back down on top afterwards. Like that. So a really, really easy way. And it's good, this as well, for planting bulbs in the lawn as well, because you can really press that down into the lawn, twist it, pull up that plug of soil, plant the bulb, drop the soil back on, job done. And it's a lot less stress on your wrist and your elbow than getting a trowel all the time and trying to force a trowel down into the soil.
I actually use it as well for planting, plug plants.
Yeah, why not?
Because it's easy. I think it's easier than a trowel, but definitely for your bulbs. $8.99. There's your details. Thank you for that. 120106 is your item number. So if you want to go for that, grab that and put that in your shopping basket. Remember, if you spend over £30, you will get free delivery. So it's well worth adding those little extra bits in. And join the club. You'll get 10% off, and it's only £5 to join the club. Now we've got some garden ready plants, which are, I think, always a favourite. There's a primrose will never go out of fashion, will it?
No, they won't, because again, they are just those kind of really elegant, sweet kind of plants. And primroses really take me back to being a child. I'm talking about the wild primroses as well here for a moment, because I remember when I was a kid, my dad kind of every weekend used to take my brother and out to a place called Harlow Common, where we used to live, and we used to go up through the woods at the top of Harlow Common, always looking for deer. That's what my dad was looking for, trying to find wild deer. But I can always remember when we went kind of springtime, just seeing all the edges of the ditches all covered in these wonderful primroses. And even back then, I didn't like autumn or winter. And when I saw primroses, it just instantly gave me that lift. It kind of, because I thought we're through the worst of it. Winter's behind us now. The days are only going to keep getting longer for the next 5-6 months. The days are only going to get warmer. There's only going to be more colour coming. And that's the great thing about plants like this, because they start off early in the year. And they're great ambassadors for spring. They're promising you better times are coming, more colours coming. They're the first things to really start lifting your mood, really start adding joy and colour and fragrance to the garden.
And they can flower for a long time.
They can flower for weeks and weeks and weeks. These can flower sort of like 4 to 6 weeks, even a couple of months. They sit quietly through the summer months, but sometimes even later in the summer, early autumn, they'll send up more flowers again, like you can see with the ones we've got here. They've got these really, really super luxuriant leaves as well, these really super healthy leaves that pretty much stay on the plant all the year through. They're pretty much evergreen. In a really cold winter, they might get knocked down a little bit by the frost, but you pretty much see them most of the way through the year. But then, as you say, in the autumn now, you get these flowers on here, and you will get a kind of a little surge of those flowers. And then in the spring, as the weather warms up, just a carpet of colour again. And plant them somewhere I mean, that's a good thing about these as well. If you've got somewhere a little bit shady, a little bit damp, where other things struggle...
They don't mind it, do they?
They don't mind it. They'll love like that. They'll love being under trees, for example. As long as it's moist shade, they don't like dry shade, but under trees, perhaps along the base of a hedge, somewhere perhaps north-facing, where other things struggle, look absolutely amazing. Great for hanging baskets, pots, troughs. If you live 4 or 5 floors up and you've just got on those little balconies...
Yeah, or a window box.
A window box, all good for all those kind of places, Hayley.
Mum always has them. She's got a couple of troughs outside the patio doors and they look fantastic. And I just think they are a joy. They do just make you smile. And they're nice, healthy, strong.
Oh, see, that's why I do this. Because I know I'm never going to show myself up. Because with the compost we've got, I just know. I mean, look at the root system on that. Look at that. That's fabulous, isn't it? When you've got a plant that's got a root system like that, you just know. I mean, look all the way around. Fabulous root system there. So you know as soon as that hits the ground, that's going to start to root in, it's going to establish, it's going to start to flower. And that's so important because, again, they've been grown in that professional brand of compost that's given them the best start in life. You know, if you want the best out of your plants in life, you need to put the best into your plants to start with. And that's what our compost will do. That's the results you get, and that's the colour you'll get from these primroses.
So you're saving £4. Only $5.99. I hadn't even looked at that. Wow, $5.99 for 10 garden-ready plants, and they are super healthy. 410011, and that compost that they're growing is compost that we sell here on YouGarden as well. So if you are going for the compost, if they're using it here at YouGarden to make sure they give you the best plants, the healthiest plants, that's what you want to use at home too. So do check out the compost. We will go back to that a little bit later on as well. Primroses, always a joy. But so are the pansies. And the pansies always remind me of, we had lovely neighbours. The reason I bought my house is when I went to view it, there was a lovely little old man next door, Terry. And he was like, come in, have a look at my house. And his wife was in America seeing her sister. And then when I met Molly, they were just beautiful. I thought, I've got to live next door to them.
That's nice, isn't it?
And they loved pansies. And Molly absolutely loved pansies. Their front garden was just an absolute... joy, because they're all these little happy. I see them as happy, smiling faces.
Well, I mean, we look into the flowers on these. I mean, you know, there's so much joy, isn't there, from these? And what I like about them, particularly, Hayley, as well, is sometimes you get a flower that's one solid colour.
Yes.
Like you might get a solid yellow, for example, but then you get some like that one that's got 2 different colours. Some are like 3 different colours. You know, it almost seems that no one flower is exactly the same. They all look completely different, unique, don't they?
They do.
And, you know, this particular one, Cool Wave as well, will flower for... In fact, it will be flowering more months than it isn't, basically.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Value for money, flowering-wise, Cool Waves are the ones to go for.
It's definitely the one to go for. And also, they have this slight trailing effect as well. Wow. So they will tumble over the side of hanging baskets. They will tumble over the tops of raised planters or troughs. Or, you know, sometimes you have one of those gardens where you've got a patio at the bottom and then you've got a wall because the rest of the garden behind is much higher up. Yeah. You have one of those kind of retaining beds either side of the steps. Yeah. Look great there as well, just sort of trailing over. So, and these are slightly fragrant as well. I'm not saying it's like a blow your mind fragrance like jasmine or freesias, but they do have a slight fragrance, and also they're edible. Yeah. They're edible, these. So
I did. I had a salad, I think, recently, and it had loads of pansies in it. Yeah.
Sometimes even on desserts, like some of the top restaurants in London and stuff. When they, in fact, I've even seen it on MasterChef and things like that, where they decorate with the little viola or the little pansy flowers. But again, think about these. In fact, what I'm going to do before I say what I'm going to say next, I'm going to see if I can get. Is that going to come out? Whoa!
Oh wow!
Look at that again. Look at that. I mean. What a root system there. I mean, goodness me, that is just fabulous. Look at that. And that's the great thing about these plants is you've got such an incredible root system on that. So you know it's going to establish itself straight away. This plant isn't going to dawdle and just sort of languish about. It's going to get established quick. It's going to get more foliage, more flowers. And, you'll get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of flowers from
Sometimes
these.
You can't see the green, the leaves, can you, for the flowers?
Well, the picture we showed just now, the basket, I mean, it just disappeared, didn't it?
You virtually can't see any of the leaves for the flowers. And the mix of colour is just gorgeous. I love the white against the pink. And like you say, having that different mixture as well. Some of them sort of bi-coloured, some of them like a plain colour. You are getting a buy one, get one free, but you do need to use the code to get that. So make sure you put in YGTV43 and you you will actually get, rather than 10 plants, you'll get 20 of those all together.
And they're perennials as well, Hayley.
Right.
That's the thing. Again, I'm really fighting for the reputation of kind of pansies and violas, because a lot of people just see them as throwaway plants. It's like, they're winter flowering pansies. It comes the spring, they're finished flowering, I'm going to throw them out. No, don't do that. No. Look after them. If you've got them in a hanging basket like this, when they start to sort of die off a little bit, because once the weather really warms up, they don't really like the heat. So once they start to die off a little bit like this, go over the top with a pair of scissors, trim them off to about 1 inch high, and then keep that hanging basket somewhere sort of cool but bright. Keep it watered, keep it fed. It won't look anything for a couple of months or so, and then come the autumn, they'll all start to reshoot. Lovely new vigorous stems will come, and they'll redo it all over again. So don't waste that $14.99. Keep that going year after year.
Well, to think you're going to get about 9 months of flowers from these.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, you've got your money back, haven't you, in the first year?
Exactly.
Really, honestly, absolutely beautiful. They really are, I think, a plant that everybody should have. They're good as well going down to the minuses, aren't they, too? They're not bothered about the cold weather.
I think -20, -25.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing I will say to you is, if you come out on a really, really frosty morning, it's -5 or -6, these pansies will look like a car's driven over them. I'll be honest, they will. They'll all be sitting flat. They'll all be wrinkled up and looking really tragic. As soon as the sun comes up and they slightly warm up, they all stand up again.
A bit like me, actually.
Yeah. But honestly, you could go out early in the morning if you're an early riser. And you could go out early in the morning. You could look at those pansies and think, oh my goodness me, they've had it. You come home sort of early evening and the weather's warmed up. It's like, can't be the same plants.
No.
But they will. They bounce back every time. And this is not photoshopped. I tell you, I will tell you my reputation on the line. This is not Photoshop. This is what these look like when they really get going. This is what you're going to achieve.
Which is amazing. So do get that. Buy one, get one free. $14.99, getting you 20 plants in total. 400-967. But remember, you must use that code. Don't forget, if you spend over £30, you do get free delivery. And by using that code as well, you will get those free sweet peas with every order. 50 of those sweet pea seeds, which is such a pretty flower. So a nice little extra as well. But we've got to move on to, I know it's been one of your absolute favourites, and we're really busy. It's great to have all your company. We've got loads of people watching on YouTube today. Well, it's good because I think gardeners, we all think the same. We're all the same kind of people at the end of the day. We're all passionate about plants. I'm passionate about plants. You're passionate about plants. We're kind of sharing different things with each other. And even if you don't buy anything from us, if you've learnt something, if you've kind of seen something you want to buy for the future, well, that's fantastic as well. We're creating a family here, a big gardening family, and that's what's really important. So tell your friends as well how they can watch. You can watch on YouTube, you can watch on Facebook Live as well, but of course you can watch on the YouGarden. So if you go to all the www.yougarden.com/TV or /YouGarden-TV, it'll take you through to the TV. You can watch as well previous shows, so if you've missed some shows, you can watch those back as well. But we're always live on a Wednesday and Thursday, 10 till 1 and then 2 till 4, and then on Sunday we're live from 10 through till 2 o'clock. I'm glad you had to remember all that, because I did not remember. I can remember plant names. I nearly said 4, I nearly gave us another couple of hours then, but no, it's 2 o'clock. I've got those websites all, what's the name, about face, honestly, I'd have completely messed them up. Pleasure. We're not very technical, are you? Plant names, stick like anything, but website addresses, in one ear, out the other. Funny. Now, we have got geraniums. I think we always love a geranium, but have you seen a geranium quite like this? It's called Tiny Monster, which again, it's the right weekend. It's monster weekend. Doesn't look like a monster though. It's beautiful. It's not very tiny actually either. No. I mean, it's magnificent, this geranium, isn't it? I think it's the colour, isn't it? Look at the colour, that deep purple colour there on those really sort of nice little wiry stems, and that deeply lobed foliage as well. Almost kind of semi-evergreen foliage as well. And that foliage, as you move further into autumn and winter, sometimes those leaves can turn a really deep red colour, which looks magnificent. I have got this, and they're just starting to change. Just starting to change. And then in the spring, they go back to that green colour. But
such an easy plant to grow. I mean, you might look at this and think, oh, this is going to be tricky, this is going to be a prima donna. How can anything so beautiful be so easy and simple to grow? These geraniums are. Quite often, these type of geraniums in their natural habitat grow quite high up in alpine meadows, in mountainous areas.
Right, yeah.
So they're used to really cold winters, they're used to really hot, dry summers, they're used to windy conditions, they're really used to being kind of knocked about and, you know, kind of having tough lives. But it doesn't bother them because they're used to it, and year after year after year they will produce for month after month these incredible kind of purple, magenta kind of type flowers that the bees and the pollinating insects will adore. Doesn't get too tall, probably only about 5 or 6 inches tall, but it will spread gradually and sort of
Lovely.
Great for rockeries. Great for pots, great for beds and borders. Put it right at the front of the border. The only thing I would say to you is, to get the maximum out of it, put it in a nice open sunny position. That's where it'll be happiest.
Okay.
If you put it somewhere shady, it might flower a little bit, but it won't flourish.
Yeah.
So lots of sunshine, open and bright is what it will really love.
I did find that because I put some in Mum's garden and I didn't put it, it's not a full sun position, and I put some in a pot on my decking, and mine were amazing.
Yeah.
But Mum's didn't flower as much, and that's why I put them in too sort of shady an area.
Yeah, sunshine is what they adore. But honestly, they are just so tough. I mean, they'll get through any winter. They'll get through pretty much any summer. In the winter, they're super ridiculously frost resistant. In the summer, they're really drought resistant. I remember last summer, you know, we had that 6 weeks, 2 months of absolutely shocking, ridiculous drought. And one of the plants I did notice in a lot of customers' gardens that was getting through was the geraniums. They just kept going.
Yeah, they like it,
because
don't
they're kind of historically they're adapted to those kind of conditions. But yeah, go for that one. 3 stonking plants there, fabulous colour, year after year after year, lifetime guarantee. Now
you're getting 3 plants because it's one of those buy one get 2 frees. I've disagreed with this from the beginning. It's a buy one get 1 free, but you don't. You buy 1, you get 2 free of charge. £9.99 is buying you all 3 of those. 560635 is your item number. You do need to use that code to get that deal. So YGTV43. Always put the code in. You've got a free gift as it is, so you'll get 50 of the sweet pea seeds. So put the code in anyhow because you'll get that. But it unlocks all these deals. You'll only get the 1 for £9.99. Put the code in, you'll buy 1 and you'll get 2 free of charge as well. So 560635 is your item number. Now we did promise, and everyone is doing that, so well done. Do put that code in because that unlocks all the deals, but it does give you those free sweet peas and those seeds, so you get 50 of those. And don't forget as well, if you spend over £30, you will get free delivery. And join the club. The club is £5 for a year. You get 10% off everything. You get 5% off lawnmowers and things like that. And you also get £20 worth of vouchers you get 4 £5 vouchers through the year that you can spend. So you've already won with your vouchers because you only spent £5 to start off with. But instantly, when you go to check out, there's a little box and it tells you that if you join the club, you'll save so much. So the first time I ordered, I was saving more than £5 straight away. So I was like, why would I not join the club?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was saying to you yesterday, I went shopping in a very well-known supermarket, and I just got that little plastic card out at the end. It knocked £30.
I know, it's great, isn't it?
It's like,
I
whoa,
love that.
That's paid for my wine.
It's great unless you forget your card, then you're like, you have to put all that back.
Yeah.
So now we've had a few of you join the club, so great to have your company. We've got lots of watchers on YouTube today, so really lovely to have your company. Do please message in if you've got any questions, if you want to ask Adam anything. He's here so we can test him and get some advice as well, because it's great to have someone with such knowledge, because gardening has been your life, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been my life, it's been my passion, and I'm self-taught as well. I mean, I never went to university or college or anything. You know, I've just been passionate about gardening since I was a kid. I worked in garden centres, I worked for other gardening companies. I've spent my life reading and visiting gardens, and I think when you're passionate about something, it's easy to pick it up because you want to learn, you want to get the knowledge, you know. And if there's anything I never know about gardening, it drives me mad. I absolutely hate it when I go to a customer's garden. If there's a plant I don't know, it's like, I'm just really annoyed. So straight away I'm taking pictures, I'm going on sort of Google, and like I need to know what that plant is. And that's the great thing about gardening. Gardening is addictive. You know, once you get into it, once you start to have some success, you become more and more passionate about it, you become more and more committed. And honestly, if you struggle with mental health, gardening is
so agree with
absolutely
this.
amazing.
That feeling of well-being, it's the only time I ever completely switch off.
Yeah, it
I'm
is.
a worrier, a whittler. I'm always thinking about tomorrow, next week,
Yeah,
the week after
me as
that.
well.
I can never
Yeah.
enjoy the day for what I'm worrying about coming up.
Yeah, yeah.
But in the garden, completely switch off.
Get out in the garden, get your hands in the soil. You know, if it's a cold winter's day, wrap up a little bit. You'll hear the birds singing. You might see the odd insect go
we've
by.
had a robin in our. We had a robin in the studio, and through the show, it's been in the gallery as well to see that. So it's lovely to be out. My mum has a regular blackbird, and virtually sits right next to her while she's doing her planting. And a robin, actually, we have a robin come regularly. But this blackbird is virtually right there, as tame as anything.
They get to know that. Well, at work when I'm digging sometimes, especially in the winter time when I'm turning this soil over and I'm kind of revealing worms and grubs and stuff, the robins come down straight away, and it's just it's such a lovely feeling to just to look around and see nature around you, kind of just feel healthy. And
it doesn't matter whether you've got a big garden. Mum's got a fantastic garden. I've only got patio and decking, really. I haven't really got any beds and borders, so mine is all mainly pots, but it's still an absolute joy. You might just have a balcony, you can still have a garden, can't you?
It really doesn't matter. Honestly, just if you are struggling, you might want to go out into the cold. You might want to put your hands in wet soil, but you do it a few times. You start planting things. Things start to grow for you. Honestly, it will just really lift your mood. I mean, sometimes this time of year, I wake up in the morning and I think, oh, I wish I worked in an office. I do not want to go to work today. It's dark, it's cold, it's wet. But I get myself up, I get to that customer, and at the end of the day, I get home and I say to my other half, I really didn't want to go to work today, but I'm so glad I did, because I just feel so much better. If I'd stayed at home all day indoors, I'd have watched all the depressing news and everything like that. Whereas
and all
I get out,
stale air, whereas you're getting the fresh air, and
get outside, and you're just going to feel uplifted. And this is why I'm so looking forward to kind of doing regular shows with you in the new year, because we're really going to build a community together here at YouGarden and really encourage you to get out and enjoy the garden, enjoy plants.
We've got probably the most that we've had on YouTube today, so it's really lovely to have your company and to have you with us. Now we've moved on to the Agapanthus. We did promise you that we'd go to this. This is, oh my word.
You've got a crane.
This can't be right. I'm going to just it does say, doesn't it, buy one, get one free. Because that cannot be with the size that this is. For $29.99, you are getting 2 of these. And this was one of the best buys, one of the most beautiful plants ever.
This is a monster. I mean,
huge.
It really is. You can see an old flowering stem on there actually already that we haven't removed yet. But one thing you're going to have to do with these, I don't think, well, I know from experience with Agapanthus, you might try and pull this out the pot. I don't think you're going to do that. You're going to have to cut the pot away from this, because this is so well rooted, it's actually deformed the shape of the pot. I mean, you can see roots coming out the bottom. So this is such an unbelievably established plant.
I've had mine a few years and mine isn't as big as that.
Yeah, I mean,
it's amazing.
Plant these. I'm actually going to put it down to you because it's pretty
really heavy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is
That's
really
why
heavy.
We brought the table in, because we're like, we can't
I tried
lift
to make
them.
it look lightweight, but honestly, it is heavy.
And we're getting 2 of those for the price, but remember, use the code.
Yeah, kind of Jersey lilies are common. I think Lily of the Nile, I think, is another name they call these. But these are just such spectacular plants.
Them.
Somewhere down on the Channel Islands and the Isles of Scilly and places like that, they grow wild. They just grow all over the place.
We went to a hotel in the Isle of Wight, and in their gardens there was just an area that was covered. It was very much like that, but for seemed like miles. It was amazing. Yeah,
they are really, really stunning plants. I mean, they originate from South Africa. Plant them somewhere really sunny and sheltered and well drained, so sort of up against the wall of a house, a south-facing position. If you're in a really, really cold area, you can always plant them in pots and then bring them in to keep them out from the worst of the frost during the winter. But you'll get, I mean, as the years go by, you can get, say, 15, 20, 30 stems from one plant. And they don't all flower at the same time. They'll kind of send up one lot of flower buds, and then some sort of kind of just stay behind for a little bit. And then as the ones that flowered first go over, the new ones kind of take their place. And they flower for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. Yeah. They last a really long time. And on really super stout stems, they make good cut flowers as well. And they'll come up for you year after year after year. And when you get them home and you plant them, make sure that you plant them just slightly proud of the soil. Don't plant them too deep. They just want to be kind of at soil level or just slightly above, not too deep. And then that will keep them really, really happy. And they'll say, come back year after year. If you are somewhere really, really cold, just give them a little bit of winter protection.
Perhaps
just
strulch or
some
something.
strulch or something like that, just to protect the crown from the worst of the frosts. But I mean,
we've got ours in a pot and we bring it right up to the house. And it's been fine.
In most years they'll be absolutely fine. When we get the odd extreme year, they might need a little extra bit of help. But again, I'm just going to lift this to show you.
You're getting 2 of these for $29.99.
I mean,
and they like to be as well hugged, don't they? They don't like if you'll look at that and think, oh, I'm going to put it in a massive pot.
No,
it doesn't want to go in a massive pot, does it?
They actually like being pot bound, to be honest. In fact, I've got a lady that I've been visiting for many, many years now at a place called Fifield in Essex, and she's had Agapanthus in these same stone pots for years and years and years. There's almost no soul left in there. It's almost just roots. Yeah. But every year they come back and they flower magnificently. They almost thrive on neglect. So keep them pot bound and they're much more likely to keep flowering. If you give them loads of space and loads of compost, you'll probably get massive leaves, but only a few flowers. So, sort of treat and mean, keep them keen, really, when it comes to Agapanthus.
I mean, that is an incredible deal. And getting 2 of those, that could be one for you, one as a gift as well. $29.99, so 680-130 is your item number. But remember, buy one, get one free. You do need to use the code YGTV43. That will give you the free actual sweet peas, so you get the sweet pea bulbs, but it does give you all the deals as well. And don't forget, if you spend over £30, so you don't need to spend much more, you'll get free delivery on those. Don't tell the person that delivers them because they weigh a ton. Now, absolutely stunning. One of my favourite plants ever. I've just got it in a pot and it's brought me absolute joy year after year. But I'd say if you have been to the Isle of Wight, it's one of the Warner hotels actually, Bembridge I think it's called. They've got a display which is just stunning. And you'd always think I'd need to be a stately home gardener to get a result like that, but you don't.
No,
do you?
you don't. I've got Agapanthus in my back garden. My other half, John, he's got Agapanthus in the front garden. Loads and loads of garden designs we do. We always incorporate Agapanthus. In fact, we're planting a garden this coming week in a place called Oxborough, and we've got Agapanthus in that as well. So
lovely.
Yeah. So and the reason we use Agapanthus, I mean, they do come in other colours. Well, white. But I think it's that blue. In the UK, there's not many plants that are that kind of blue. There's things like ceanothus, for example, bluebells, but generally that sort of blue is one of the less common colours in the UK. So when you do see it, it stands out. It's unusual. It's different. And
striking.
I think the fact that you see the stems of the Agapanthus come up and there's this bud on the top, sometimes almost the size of a walnut. It doesn't look like it's going to do that much, but it's like, when you go to one of those firework displays and you hear that bump sound and you look up and you see nothing and then bang, you get that explosion. That's what these Agapanthus are like. These flower heads explode open and one by one all these little individual star-shaped flowers come out to create this wonderful ball-shaped flower head in total. Magnificent.
Absolutely stunning, and getting 2 of those is crazy. And whatever you're planting, our compost is flying this morning, and it makes such a difference to the results that you'll get, to how healthy your plants are, how big your plants are, the soil you put it into. And you'll know that perhaps from planting just in your garden. Perhaps you've got a really clayey area, nothing grows there, and then another area that things seem to be happy. This is like giving all plants exactly what they need to be the best they can be.
Yeah, I mean, at the risk of being boring, because I've said this 100 times before, I always remember driving along behind a lorry years ago, and the kind of their company's logo was, we get the best out of our products by putting the best into our products.
That's good.
And I thought that's what this compost does, because at the end of the day, whatever your plant roots go into, that is going to be their starting point. That's their building block, isn't it, at the end of the day? Because if they go into poor soil, they can't go anywhere else, especially if they're in pots. It's
like this, isn't it? That this is a standard compost. So that plant is alive, but there's not a lot going underneath. So that plant isn't going to get particularly big. It's not going to be particularly healthy. So it won't be perhaps disease tolerant. You're not going to get the best flowers or the best fruit from that plant because it's not super strong underneath. Our compost, because of its light, its airy, because of the ingredients that we're going to tell you about, the roots just thrive. So having that strong root, you explained this really well. It's a bit like our arteries, isn't it?
It's like a capillary system. If you've got a really healthy kind of veins and arteries and stuff, and all the blood's really kind of getting through through your body
Yeah.
and oxygenating all your body properly, you're going to feel healthy. You're going to be healthy. You're going to look healthy. And that's the same with these plants. The plant with the standard compost hasn't got that ability to kind of take all that nutrients and moisture around it because it hasn't got the root system. The one on the left with that fabulous fibrous root system, that can absorb all the moisture, that can absorb all the nutrients.
Yeah.
It can then obviously take those up to the leaves and the flowers and the fruit and the vegetables. So giving the plant that best start in life means that it's going to flourish, it's going to be more disease resistant.
And if you're buying plants, you want to get the best out. And the truth is, this is truly a professional compost. It's what they use here at the nursery. We're actually in the middle of the nursery in their potting shed, which is fantastic. But this is what they use to grow their plants. They have to get results. It's a business. So they're going to use the best. So you are very much getting the best. It's bagged in completely plain bags. So you'll get this and there won't be no markings on it because you won't get this from a garden centre or from a supermarket. It is bagged up at the, at YouGardens to send directly to you. It really is a special. It took about 2 years, I think, to convince them to do it. Should be 100 litres. Well, there is 100 litres in total, but you've got 2 50-litre bags. So rather than a big big 100-litre bag, it's easier to manoeuvre. You can use one bag and then use another bag sort of fresh, and it is freshly bagged up as well. It's not like when you go to the garden centre and think, oh my goodness, I think this has been here for years. Just from outside it looks old, and then when you open it, it smells old, it's stodgy, it looks a little bit mouldy. This will always be super fresh. Should be virtually nearly £43 worth of product. You're saving £18, so £24.99, and it's our busiest product. And I think at this time of year, Adam, am I right in saying, the soil's been good for you all summer long? Should we now perhaps put a bit of this on top of pots? This is what I do at this time of year.
Yep.
Put it on top of my pots, put it into the beds and borders just to freshen it up after the
I
summer.
love to do that. And I'll tell you why I like to do that this time of year, because obviously in recent years, the climate has changed sort of quite a bit. And what I've found sometimes is if you wait till the spring to put compost or manure or something on top of the soil, and then we get a long period of really hot, dry weather, it just all dries up and sits on the top and it doesn't do anything. If you put it on top of the soil now in the autumn, it's got the whole of the winter to get broken down, to get taken down by the worms, to get washed into the soil by the rain, so that come the spring when the plants are starting to grow and when they need the nutrients and when they need that moisture retentiveness, it's there, it's happening at that point. And another thing to say as well, you might not think this compost is the least expensive compost you can buy, and it isn't the least expensive compost, but I tell you what, earlier this year, John, my other half, went to a garden centre to get some compost, and they had kind of an own brand kind of one, which we got 6 bags of. It was absolutely damn useless. It was horrible. I opened it up, it was all cloggy, like it wasn't all lovely and fibrous like this and all breaking up nicely. It was all in clumps. There was bits of twigs in it, long bits of black twig. And it didn't have any heart to it. And when we tried to grow stuff in it, the plants just sat there. They just really didn't want to do anything. It was like, well, what have you put me in? What's this rubbish you've put me in? And they didn't thrive. So although 6 bags of that compared to this may have been what looked like a bargain, it wasn't, because I
didn't give you results.
I bought really inferior compost, and I can't remember. I know somebody always says to me, buy cheap, buy twice. You buy quality, you're going to get results, and in the long run that's going to save you money, because it's going to give you those results.
You want your plants to thrive, don't you, and be the best they can be. How often have you done a basket or a hanging basket or a pot, and at the end of the season you think that plant didn't do very well, and you've taken it out and the roots haven't grown very well, it hasn't been a great plant, but actually if you'd put it in the right compost, that plant could have thrived. And it makes, I do feel this, I felt like it gave me green fingers, and obviously it didn't give me green fingers. It just gave my plants what they needed to give me better results.
Well, I mean, we can just run quickly through what's in this, because first of all, to emphasise, it's 50% reduced peat as well.
Brilliant.
We're actually realising we need to keep reducing down the peat content on here. But then we've got that pulverised bark as well, that wood fibre in this as well, and that's great for various reasons as well, because what that actually does is it keeps the compost nice and open, so the oxygen, the air gets down to the roots, which is really, really important, because although roots are underground, they still need oxygen. It allows the water to percolate through, but not necessarily run straight out. So you're not getting a compost that's really heavy and wet and waterlogged, but you're not going to get a compost that's going to dry out very quickly as well. You're getting that perfect balance. You've got a wetting agent in there as well, which means the compost wants to actually absorb moisture when you put water on it. It doesn't want to just run off like water off a duck's back. It's pH balanced, which sounds gobbledygooky, but in simple terms, that means it's not too acidic, it's not too alkaline, it's kind of towards neutral, which means there's a far greater range of plants that are going to thrive in this compost than if it was one way or the other.
So it's one compost virtually for everything.
Pretty
the only
much.
thing, if you've got any acid-loving plants, I mean soil-loving plants like a rhododendron or blueberries or things like that.
That's it. You want your Acacious compost.
Everything else, this.
Well, I pretty much say if it's green and it grows, it's going to thrive in this compost. And there's also a slow release.
I'm green. I'm Hayley Green. Perhaps I should put my feet in there.
But it's got a slow release fertiliser in it as well, and you'll see that because you can see these little green beads as well. There's a couple little tiny.
So that's your fertiliser that's already in your compost. That again is going to release and give goodness to your plants.
So they're kind of little. There you go. Those little slow release green beads there as well, and they'll gradually break down and keep releasing nutrients into the soil. So your plants are getting that really good start.
Like all the vitamins and the minerals. It's like your 5 a day that we need. It's giving your plants that, and in 2 50-litre bags with a massive saving should be virtually £43. So you're saving virtually 18, and lots of really busy for this. Always the right time of year to use this, whether you're doing hanging baskets or pots. But mix it into your soil in areas where things don't grow, and at this time of year put it onto the top of the pots, put it into your beds and borders, just to give your soil back what it needs and what it's used up through the summer. So when those bulbs are coming through, there's the goodness that they need in your soil already. Now we're going to have a little preview. It's great to have your company today. Really busy on YouTube. Remember, you can of course watch us as well on YouGarden, all the w's.yougarden.com/TV. But if you have just joined us, get your pens and papers, because here are some of the items we've seen, but we've still got loads more coming up as well. This has been a real favourite. Just the right weekend actually, isn't it? Pumpkin. It's our Viola pumpkin. It's the prettiest of orange violas. It's one get one free. Remember, you do need to use the code. Any of these deals, YGTV43 unlocks the deal. So you will get in total 24 of these plants, because it's a buy one get one free. 401507 is your item number. They are an absolute treat to your eyes and to your nose. They've got a really gentle fragrance as well, so please do not miss out on those whilst we have the stock available. A really pretty, amazing colour that is really going to stand out so brightly in your pots, hanging baskets, in your beds and borders. So 401507 is your item number. Now have a little look at Angel Wish. This I think is the prettiest tulip. I love tulips, and my mum's got a really gorgeous spring garden. Lots of different tulips we've got the ice cream, we've got the feathered edges. I've bought some back from Amsterdam and places, but I've never seen a tulip like this. That lovely sort of yellow stripe. £11.99 gets you in total 8 bulbs, £11.99, which is fantastic value for money. Grab those. I'd multi-order those because I think I'd plant them where I was going to leave them, but I'd also plant some where I could cut them as well, because they'd be beautiful in a vase in the house. 600 398 is your item number. I'd plant those as well in memory of my dad, Angel Wish. So I think it's a really nice sort of memory flower as well. So perhaps if you miss a loved one, perhaps that's something you could plant in your garden as well. I like doing things like that. Something else you might want to go for as well is our primrose Medley. Now this is the bi-colour knit mix. Primroses are just so pretty, give you the most delightful colour at a time when not a great deal is going on, and they are just giving you this sort of bed of colour. Beds and borders, put this into your pots and perhaps put them into troughs, window baskets, and perhaps have these out on balconies. You don't have to have a big garden to have a garden. Your balcony can be pots of beautiful colour. £5.99. I can't get over the price of these because they are healthy, strong, beautiful plants, and you're getting 10 of these. You're saving £4, but I think you're saving even more than that really. If you were going to a garden centre, I think you'd struggle to get this quality plant for anywhere near £10. So £5.99 is your price today. 410011 is your item number. Pansy Cool Waves. Now these were very much bred to be the best of the pansies. They trail beautifully. They give you so many amazing, amazing flowers. About 9 months of flower. So if you want something that really is going to pay you back with glory, this truly is. $14.99. It's a buy one get one free. Remember, you need to use the so YGTV43 will unlock the deal of buy one get one free, but also will give you the free gift, which is our sweet peas. You get in 50 seeds of sweet peas as well. But make sure you put the code in. That'll give you the buy one get one free on this deal, and all the buy one to get two frees, or the whatever deals we've got on, you need to use the code. So 400967 is your item number, and you will be amazed how at points, like you see in here, you don't even see the greenery because there are just so many flowers, and flowering for up to 9 months a year. So really is, out of all of the plants and flowers, I think the one that gives you your most value for money. Other items you might want to shop for is our geranium. Now this is the tiny monster. It's super popular. It's not tiny and it's not a monster, it's a beautiful purple flower. You're getting a buy one get two free, so again, use the code. Put this in a nice sunny spot. I put them into pots, I put them into the beds and borders at Mum's. They've been absolutely amazing. Mine did better because I put them obviously in a pot. I could put them in a sunnier spot. So put them somewhere where you know they are going to get that sun, and you will absolutely love those. And these will come back as well for you year after year. You'll be amazed at just how beautiful that colour is. Geraniums, we always think of the red geranium, don't we? Whereas this, honestly, stunning. And they weather like you won't quite believe as well. So you really have got a glorious plant that is going to really give great joy to your garden, your beds, borders, your pots, hanging baskets, wherever you fancy putting them. 560635 is your item number. Buy one, get two free. Use the code at the bottom of your screen, YGTV43. The Agapanthus, I can't get over the size of this Agapanthus. It is absolutely huge, and you're getting two of them. It's a buy one, get one free. So for $29.99, two of the biggest plants, whether you're going to have them both at home, whether you're going to keep one for yourself, give one as a gift, it'd be an ideal present. Remember, what you need to do with these, and it is the secret to them, is put them into a they like to be sort of pot bound. They like to be hugged. So don't think, well, it's a big plant, I must put it into a massive plant. No, don't do that. Put this into a smaller pot, or actually, and let me show you just how big these are, because when I keep saying they're massive, are you ready? They are massive. You get two of those for $29.99. They're huge. And don't forget, if you spend over £30, you get free delivery. Free delivery for two of these if you just spend a little bit more. Now that pot, cut that pot off, plant it into a pot, not much bigger in size. If you're putting them into the soil, just make sure it's not a vast area soil, or if it is, put stones around it. So again, it feels like it's being hugged. I saw the most amazing display of these in the Isle of Wight in one of the Warners hotels, Bembridge, and I just fell in love with them. I've got pictures, and they are absolutely, the colour is just incredible. AM 680130, and two of those, the size of the pot that I showed you, $29.99 with the code YGTV43. The coreopsis is really, really popular. And I'm not surprised. It's a proper flower, isn't it? If you drew a flower, or if you were asked to draw a flower, if you asked a child to draw a flower, that is the sort of flower you would draw, like this daisy flower. It's the prettiest of flower with this sort of golden centre, and you've got a beautiful foliage to this, quite a sort of lacy, ferny sort of foliage, and can cover a real nice area as well. A Moonbeam, as you see, is the name, and you can. It really is. The moon was amazing last night. Did you see the moon last night? It was huge. It was bright. Saw it this morning. I directed. $9.99 is a buy one get two free. So plants it, you must use the code. You will only get one unless you use the code YTV43. So please do not miss out on getting that extra deal. Buy one get two free for $9.99. Pop the code in, and that code will also give you the free sweet peas with each order. Sweet pea seeds that you can plant up. I'm ready to plant those up now. Something else you might want to go for as well is the compost. If you're buying anything today, this compost is, I think it's life-changing for your garden. Because if you have got compost that you bought in the past that's stodgy, thick, sometimes looks a little bit mouldy, smells a little bit off, you wonder how long it's been at the garden centre, it's difficult to break. Sometimes you can't even get the bag moving, can you, because it seems solid in the bag. When you use this for the first time, you'll be blown away that it's so light and airy, and that allows the roots to thrive, and those roots will be able to really establish themselves to give you a bigger, healthier, stronger plant, more disease tolerant, bigger flowers, bigger fruit. But what's also in there, you've got 50% less peat, so 50% wood fibre in there. You've got a wetting agent in there. You've got a slow release fertiliser, so it's going to hold. It's going to slowly release the fertiliser as well and the feed. It's like giving your plant the best that they can get. The 5 a day that we need. It's like the 5 a day for your plants. And I think at this time of year, it's just the right time to give your soil back what it's used through the summer. Put this on top of your beds and borders. Put this on top of your pots and let it through the autumn and the winter months soak into the soil. So when we get into the spring and your bulbs are growing through, that goodness is already there. Because sometimes if you put things on, Adam was saying in the spring, like your sort of your feed for the soil, or perhaps a compost, or perhaps a manure or something like that. If it goes really warm all of a sudden, it dries it out, the goodness doesn't get into the soil. So put this around everything now and that goodness will go into the soil. £42, well, £43 is the price that it should be. So you have got an amazing deal at £24.98, and remember you're getting 2 50-litre bags, so it's split into 2 50-litre bags. Ease of use, delivered to your door as well, and delivered in boxes as well. So if you want to stock up and sort of box it into your shed or into your greenhouse, you can sort of stack the boxes up, because once you've used this compost, you won't want to use anything else. Over the years, and obviously we've done many gardening shows for many years for YouGardens, we've sold so many bags of compost. There have been thousands of 5-star reviews, because all of a sudden you're getting the results that you want. If you're spending on plants, you want those plants to be the best they can be, and this compost does that for you. 100 125 is your item number. Now we're back with some great gift ideas. And for me, an Amaryllis just reminds me of my Nana. She had one every Christmas.
Yep.
I used to get so excited. She'd put it away in the cupboard in the corner of her living room in the dark, and then that little green shoot had come. And these are amazing. The height these will grow to, and the flowers. Yeah,
I mean, these are just spectacular, aren't they, Hayley? And a good thing about these as well, you're always guaranteed to get success with these as well, because that flower bud, in fact, this one here, if I lean this one towards you, this has got a little shoot there and a little shoot there. Those either side are going to be flowers. I know that because the leaves always come dead from the centre.
Right.
So where you see these centre bits, that's always going to be leaves. When you see little shoots coming from here, that's already the pointy top of one bud. That's already the pointy top of another bud. So you're going to get 2 great big stems from this one bulb. That's going to get to probably 2-3 foot tall, and you can have about 4 flowers on the top of each stem.
Wow. About
Christmas time. And so easy to grow. Now, what we've got with these is, I mean, you've got an option with these. Inside, there's this little compressed pellet of compost.
Clever.
So, like Weetabix.
Just like a Weetabix.
Yeah, well, not quite like a
Don't
Weetabix.
add milk. Yeah. We need to add water, I'm guessing.
No, don't try that with cranberries and a bit of cream. Wouldn't be nice. But yeah, so you soak this in warm water, and this will expand to many times its own width, and then kind of create you a compost. This will create a kind of a compost effect, and then you can plant your bulb in the pot. Now, the important thing with an Amaryllis is, let's empty that out again. Imagine we've got the compost in there. When you put your Amaryllis in, don't put it right at the pot like that. It won't like you for that. When you plant it, you want it so basically the top half of the bulb is above the compost.
It shows, doesn't it? Yeah.
So leave the top half out. If you plant it too deep, it'll rot. So plant it above there, and then just put this somewhere bright and sunny. Keep it moist, and you'll see day after day after day these shoots gradually get longer and longer and longer, and then bang, in a sort of 4 or 5 weeks time, they'll just explode into these amazing flower heads that you can see here. And this one is a two-stemmed one. This is sent up 2 flower stems. This one's going to do the same because I already can see the 2 buds on there. I can't guarantee yours will have 2. Yours might only have 1. Sometimes they even have 3. So, you know, but you will get a flower stem on that, whether it's 1, 2 or 3. Because, I mean, these bulbs are such super healthy bulbs, they're guaranteed to have a flower. You can see that fantastic root system there as well. But if you don't want to use the compost that's already in there, you could use some of our own compost to plant it in if you wanted to. The option's yours. But what you can do with these as well is, I'm just cleaning the table away there. See,
just straight onto the floor.
I don't like, I'm not bothered. I don't want mess, so I just cleared it out the way there. It's automatic. But the thing is with these as well, we were talking earlier on about pansies and how when people finish with their pansies, quite often they throw them away. Poor old Amaryllis, they're one of the bulbs that I see the most to get discarded after flowering. So many times I get to a customer's garden and after it's finished flowering, I just see this plant outside on the patio with its leaves all looking really sad, the dead flower stem on the top. You can get these to flower year after year after year, and I've done it and I know it works. My nephew Daniel has done the same thing. So when they're finished flowering, just keep it in the position it's in, keep feeding it, keep watering it, keep the lovely green leaves going up until probably about late summer, early autumn, then stop watering it, let it die down a little bit, and then probably about the beginning of December or so, start watering it again. It'll regrow and it should reflower for a second year. So this can be a plant that you can get to flower year after year after year. But I mean, just look at the colour of this. I mean, this is going to be such a spectacular plant, such a dramatic plant, such a fabulous colour. And when we get to, say Christmas time, round about the 22nd, 21st of December, when we're hitting the shortest day, this is going to be an antidote to that time of year.
Absolutely.
This is really going to lift your mood. In fact, last year I was at a garden centre. Where did we go now? Somewhere down in Kent. I went with my other half's parents and we went to a garden centre. It was about this time of year and they had loads and loads of these in all different colours and I bought 6 in different colours. And I had them. I'm lucky at home because I live in a bungalow. I've got these huge, great big patio doors that are really wide, so lots of light comes in. And I had 6 of these, including the red one, in different colours, and they all flowered about the same time.
Oh, lovely.
And it was glorious because it was middle of the winter, but in my living room there were these dramatic, amazing plants, and I've kept them all in my greenhouse through the summer. I've kept them watered, I've kept them fed. One of them actually flowered again a few weeks ago. It had a little white flower on it. But I'm going to sort of treat them a little bit more mean now, and then towards Christmas I'll start watering them again, and then hopefully they'll give me another lot of flower.
Fabulous. They're a great gift, and you have got postage included with this, so if you do want to send it to somebody else as a present, obviously pop their address in, but a nice little gift as well, just to have at home, ready for somebody perhaps for a birthday that's coming up. You can't buy a bunch of flowers now for $11.99. Well, you can sometimes, but there's not many in there. Not a nice bunch, is it?
And a lot of it's like they put that cheap foliage in to kind of pack it out.
Hardly any flowers at all. You put it in the vase and you think it looks nothing. Whereas that is a gift that will just keep on giving. And like you say, at a time of the year when we are always feeling a little bit down, giving you such joy. I just think they're fabulous plants. And
all the instructions, everything's on the back there as well. So, it tells you on there exactly what you need to do. But as I say, take my little tip as well about looking at it afterwards. Don't throw it out into the cold and let it die or rot. Keep looking after it and get it to flower year after year. And I tell you what, if you're watching the show this time next year, send in an email and say, that guy, he told me to do that, and it's flowered again. I'm well chuffed.
That's what we want. Definitely, we'll be waiting to hear from you. Now we're going to move on to another really nice gift idea as well. Nice for you, nice to treat yourself, but actually a really nice present too. And this is Narcissi and Muscari,
or grape hyacinth is the common name for that.
Which are so pretty together, aren't they?
Yeah, called grape hyacinth because if you actually hold the flower upside down, it looks like a bunch of grapes.
It does,
so that's why they call them grape hyacinths. But again, these are just so crazily easy to grow. Guaranteed flowers as well, because in the middle of each of these bulbs, you've got that little embryonic flower in the middle there. Plant these both together in the same container. They'll flower at the same time and they'll give you this wonderful kind of mix of blue and yellow. And I think blue and yellow are 2 colours that go together so well. I find that particularly pleasing, that sort of colour mixture there.
They're uplifting, aren't they, there?
Really uplifting. You'll get a little bit of fragrance from the daffodils. And then once they're finished flowering, you can plant those outside. In fact, you can plant them straight outside. You don't need to wait till spring.
Right.
You plant them out into the garden a little bit deeper than they were in the original container. And then you can use that container to put spring flowering plants in a little later on. But a fantastic gift for somebody. Everything's in there you're going to need. You've got the compost in, you've got the bulbs. There's instructions are on the back there as well. So plant them, water them, sit them somewhere nice and bright, wait for them to grow, and just enjoy flowers and daffodils and muscari probably 2 months, 3 months earlier than you would, obviously, if you planted them outside.
I mean, the little trough's really nice as well, isn't it? And it's just so pretty. You could plant it up and give it as a gift, or you could give it as it is for them to plant up, which I think is really nice. Again, that would be another great gift for my nana, because she was in a wheelchair, so she couldn't really get out in the garden, but that was something she could plant in the house, and then we could put out in the garden.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, again, on the side there as well, if I turn that around and drop that down to you, all the instructions are on the side there as well, telling you exactly what you need to do as well. And it's a zinc planter as well. Because it's a zinc, it's not going to rust, it's not going to rot or corrode.
Brilliant.
So that's good as well. You've got those nice thick little rope handles on the side. And sometimes I've seen things like this, and the container, to be honest, looks a bit, I'd use the word naff. But this is nice.
It's really nice.
This is quality.
I've actually bought one so similar to that. I put our hose pipe in it.
Oh, yeah.
I wind the hose pipe up.
The shrinking,
the shrinking one. So I just sit it into that, and I bought it for that. But it was quite pricey, and it was just without the flowers and stuff.
You could keep your garden pegs, your washing line pegs in that, couldn't you? Anything like that after if you want to. You don't have to replant it.
It could be a table set. Actually, I don't know what to call you, a director or a producer. You're like a mixture of the two, aren't you?
It's a protector.
I like that. We'll have a new title saying it could be a sort of on a table setting, even perhaps for a wedding or something. But actually, on your table outside, you could just stand it as a table setting.
Yeah,
you?
why not? Definitely. Yeah. Got loads of uses of that afterwards. But I think probably I'd put some summer flowering bed in there, perhaps some little bits of lobelia, some busy lizzies, something like that. And just enjoy it through the summer as well.
Yeah, it's a really nice little pot there. So 160887 is your item number. Now, pansies are always a favourite. Pansy matrix, I just think are, to me, there's something about pansies that just make me smile. I always think they're like little happy people or little butterflies. They just always look, joyful. Yeah,
and they've got an innocence about them as well, I think, pansies. I mean, despite the fact, obviously, they've been hybridised over the years, they've never lost their charm. Sometimes some plants get hybridised, and in the end, they can become what I call like a little bit vulgar looking. They can become over the top, and they're not how you remembered them. But pansies, no matter how many different colours we come over, no matter how many times they're sort of bred, they always have that original innocence and charm and kind of look about them. And pansy matrix here is a fantastic pansy because it's winter flowering. It will go through the winter. It'll flower January, February time, and as we get into sort of March, April, it will really, really start to explode and move into flower. But it's on nice, short, stout stems as well. So when it's windy, when it's wet, when it's raining, when it's snowing, they're not on tall stems that are going to flop over and snap and break. They're going to be able to withstand that weather. It's hardy down to about -25. So basically, it's going to be nowhere in the UK that's going to get that cold this winter. So no problems at all for hardiness. And as we were saying before, Hayley, just like the mixture there of the type of flower. Some are one solid colour. Others have got 2 or 3 colours. I like the one on the top left there as well, the one that kind of the little purple, and I like the one on the bottom right as well, the one that's sort of got their little, almost like a little face kind of in the middle there.
They do look like
and you've got that
faces.
solid yellow one and that solid kind of port coloured one, sort of red wine coloured one. It's just so good. Every flower looks individual, doesn't it? Every flower looks unique. You can never get bored looking at any of those flowers.
No. And they flower at a time when not a lot else is going on in the garden, don't they?
They do, and it's a good time of year to get them going now, because sometimes people say to me, oh, well, I planted winter flowering pansies and they didn't really do a lot in the winter. Well, if that happens, generally it's because you planted them too late. Yeah. If you leave it till the air's really cold, the days are really, really short, then they're not going to be able to establish themselves. If you do it now, while the soil is still reasonably warm, we've still got reasonably mild weather, they'll establish themselves more quickly, then they're more likely to keep flowering. They're just going to be much sort of happier plants.
And they're really nice, strong, healthy plants. They come in little greenhouses. This is how they're delivered. And it is a buy one, get one free. So do use the code YGTV43 to make sure you get 2 lots of these. You do need to use the code to unlock all those deals that you see. But these are really healthy plug plants, which again, look at the roots on those. Again, in our compost, giving you great rootage.
You see, that's all you need to see. You know, if you can see roots like the roots on this plant, that's all you need to see, because, you know, with a root system like this, look at that. I mean, that is absolutely fantastic. I mean, that is fabulous, that root system. You know, when that plant's got that root system, it's going to thrive. It's going to actually grow. I'm going to drop it back down there because I can't reach all the way down there.
Need a longer arm.
Yeah,
need an
extendable arm. Yeah. But, I mean, you can just see from the plants you're looking at here how green, how verdant, how lush they are. You know, they're already sort of multi-stemmed because they've probably been pinched out, which means they pinch out the middle shoot, which makes them branch, makes them more bushy. All they want you to do is put them outside, put them into your beds, your borders, your baskets, your pots, your troughs, and let them grow and just make you smile and give you joy. And again, remember, these are perennial plants. Don't throw them away after they're flowered. No. When they're finished flowering, trim them down, keep them somewhere cool but bright for the rest of the summer, water them, feed them occasionally, and then sort of mid-autumn, bring them back out again and they'll reflower for you all over.
I think they're just a joy. Pansies, they've always been a favourite, and like you say, they've never changed. They've always been that happy, joyful flower that will flower from January through to June at times. You can't believe that that you get such beautiful flowers in the coldest of months. So really helping you banish those winter blues. 400 373 is your item number. $14.99. Now that will buy you 1 set of the plug plants, 12 of them. But if you put in the code YGTV43, you will get another set sent as well, so 24 in total. 400 373. Don't forget, if you spend over £30 you do get free delivery, and if you are using the code you will automatically get the free sweet pea seeds as well, 50 of those. And join the club membership. It's £5, but you'll save 10% off everything, even 5% off lawnmowers and things, and through the year you get £20 worth of vouchers for £5. That'd be a good deal at the bank, wouldn't it? I'll give you a fiver if you'll give me £20 back.
But
that's what the deal is. You'll get, it's 4 £5 vouchers that you can spend through the year. And actually, when you go through to check out, there's a little box and it'll actually say, if you join the club, you'll save this much. And I bet you, most of you, you'll think, oh my goodness, I'm saving over £5 already. I may as well join the club. It's paid for itself. And now I've got 10% off all year.
It's weird you just say that, because years and years ago, I used to live in Bishop Stortford, and there was an area called Cruise Hill in Enfield that I used to go to, and it had one of the biggest concentration of garden centres in the country.
Right.
And there was one garden centre there that said when you went in, if you paid £5, you had to pay them £5 basically to go in and buy plants.
Right.
That was one option, or you could just go straight in. And I was like, I'm not going to give you £5 to go and buy plants. Why would I do that? So I just went straight in, ignored them. And then on the way out, I was seeing all these people kind of showing little tickets or cards or whatever. What I didn't realise was they'd joined one of these clubs, so they were getting a 10% kind of discount on everything they bought. And it was me. No, you numpty. You've got to pay the full price. Yeah. And I bought quite a lot of stuff, and I thought to myself, oh, I should have paid that £5. I'd have saved like 20 quid. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah.
So it does work.
They weren't clear enough.
No.
But we're clear.
I think I was too dismissive. That was the problem. I should have been more open-minded.
Bless you. But honestly, it's well worth joining the club, and all the details are on the website as you're checking out, and it'll give you an idea of what you'll actually save on that first actual purchase. But then you'll save 10% all year round. Now, alliums. I think these are so beautiful. And when I first saw this sort of plant, I mean, they're just stunning, aren't they? You would think you have to be a professional gardener to get a display like that, because that's something you'll see at a stately home or somewhere really posh, and you think, I bet someone really professional plants those and looks after them.
Easy as falling off a log, honestly, growing these. It really, really is. Alliums always remind me of the Chelsea Flower Show as well, because whenever we've done gardens at the Chelsea Flower Show, it's May time. There was one when it was September during COVID, but it's always May time. And you always see hundreds and hundreds of alliums at Chelsea, because that's the time they're flowering.
Yeah.
And they are such stunning, spectacular plants. You've got Allium molly there, which is sort of about 7-8 inches tall. This is Allium nigrum, this one, which is actually a wild. This This is called a black garlic allium. This one is Scoleciphorum, which normally I can't say that word.
You did well today.
Yeah, really, really difficult to say. So you're getting a whole mix in this, and we're going to come up to one in a minute, I think, called... this is the standard one, which is the really, really tall one, Purple Sensation. And this one, the one in the middle there, looks like a firework. That's Christophii.
Oh, that's pretty.
That's my favourite, that one. And this is Nectaroscordum, this one. So all different types of alliums. And you can just see there, I mean, the appeal of alliums is different colours, completely different flower shapes, different heights. I mean, you can't believe these are all in the same family. They are basically in the onion family.
Isn't that bizarre?
Yeah,
the onion family.
It is. The onion. And,
when they're so beautiful.
I've planted these. Sometimes when you plant the really big bulbs as well, they do actually really smell of onions.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
I was going to say the onion is like the smelly relative, but they do smell of onions.
Yeah, they smell
How funny.
and they make me hungry sometimes as well. Because I'm thinking of kind of onions, and because I love fried onions. And, but yeah, I mean, this is the Purple Sensation here. These can grow up to about 1 metre tall.
Oh,
those ones
beautiful.
with flower heads, probably the size of tennis balls, and they are the easiest thing to grow. They're bulbs, so you've got the flower inside already, so you're guaranteed flower next year. All alliums ask of you is plant me somewhere really sunny,
right,
and really well drained. They hate shade, they hate wet, heavy soil. So somewhere sunny, somewhere well drained. And they will grow in really poor soil as well. So they're not bothered if the soil's gravelly or sandy or anything like that. In fact, they actually kind of do better in that kind of soil than really kind of rich, heavy soil. Great for raised beds and borders because, again, they appreciate the drainage. And you could, as I said earlier on about the tulips, if you've got soil that isn't really, really heavy soil, but it is slightly wet, when you dig the hole, at the base of the hole, just put a little bit of gravel or horticultural grit, then sit the bulbs on top of that. That will keep them off the water so the bulbs won't rot. They come back year after year after year, and some of them, like the Scoleciphorum, which was the small purple-headed one, they spread. So they spread about all over the place. So you're going to get more and more year after year. And another really good thing about alliums as well, which I like, is the foliage dies down super quickly after they're finished flowering. In fact, sometimes the foliage almost goes over before the flowers have died off. So you haven't got weeks and weeks of waiting for the foliage to die down. And even when the flower heads are finished, they look great structurally, even though they're actually finished flowering.
They're interesting.
They are.
So 100 bulbs there, $14.99, 630 126 is your item number. You could obviously plant all 100, but what I tend to do is buy them and split them with my mum, and honestly, they will be a delight in your garden. They're just such a pretty, unusual looking flower, which very much looks after itself. Now, we've moved on to our primula. And we were talking about these earlier. What's the difference between a primula and a primrose? Right,
primroses, they have individual flowers on their own stem.
Right.
On a primula, you get one stem that comes up and then the flowers all explode from it, like the Agapanthus flower. So that kind of idea. So that's the difference.
And look at those flowers.
And look at those.
I mean, my word, they're like...
I think of weddings when I look at that.
Well, they do look like... My mum used to do the icing flowers for cakes and things, and they do look like that. They look too beautiful to be real, don't they?
I mean, they're double flower to start with, which is just makes them even more extraordinary. And just to have the two mix of colours on those as well, and say they're elevated on those stems. So you'll get a stem come up probably about the thickness of a knitting needle to perhaps even the thickness of a pencil, and then on top you might get 10, 15, 20 flowers.
Bouquet.
Yeah, so it's like a little bouquet on a stick. Sometimes just slightly fragranced. I won't overplay the fragrance because it's not super strong, but you can get a slight fragrance to these. But these are just going to make such an impression. I mean, they're just so glorious, so wonderful, so elegant, so pretty.
I can imagine those. Would they be happy like under a tree or something? I can imagine them looking nice.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah, all members, like primulas, primroses, all those kind of family of plants, they don't like to be really hot, scorching sun. They like dappled shade, semi-shade. They don't mind a bit of morning sunshine, but not really, really fierce hot sunshine because they tend to wilt a little bit and get a bit stressed out. But fantastic for hanging baskets, brilliant for pots, troughs, beds and borders. Just so easy to grow and giving you that colour. Sometimes in the autumn, but in the spring, kind of springtime, for perhaps 4 to 6 weeks.
Fabulous. And you've got 3 really healthy see. Again, super rooted.
Yeah.
Big plugs. They're like a jumbo plug, really, aren't they, these?
Yeah, I mean,
they're nice and big.
Really, really unusual kind of plant. And I mean, looking at the ones we've got there, we'd send you out to you as plug plants. But I can see these in a garden centre being in a 1 litre pot. Now, admittedly, they've had to put them in a pot and pot them up a bit. I could see them in a 1 litre pot for $4.99, perhaps $5.99 each. So, you know, the value on these is absolutely incredible. And I just think it's really, really nice to have something unusual like this. And I tell you what I would do as well. I would plant these with that angel wings tulip.
Oh, yes, the white tulip with the yellow, sort of stripe to it.
Have the tulips underplant with these. And I think seeing those flowering simultaneously.
And that yellow sort of stripe would go with the sort of peachy sort of yellowy.
That would look so good. That would really
nice.
Do that in a pot. Yeah, try that and I'm getting myself excited now. Do it in a pot. I'm telling you, do it in a pot.
We've got some pots. If you need a pot, we've got pots.
But no, I mean, seriously, if you've got a pot at home, it needs to be about bucket size, that's all. And then plant your tulips probably about a third of the way down. Top up with your compost, plant these on the top. The tulips will come through in the spring. They'll flower simultaneously. Send us the pictures next year, and it'd be brilliant to see them. It look amazing.
I've got to order these, and it's $6.49. Why would you not get these? 3 really big plug plants. $6.49 is your price. 480866 is your item number. Don't forget to use that code always. It unlocks all the special deals, but it will get you 50 sweet pea seeds as well, a free gift that's delivered with each order. But that YGTV43, always use that code, because any offers that you see, if there's a buy one get one free, buy one get two free, whatever deals you see, you need the code to actually get that deal. But of course it does get you the free sweet pea seeds as well. Now, where's Adam? I don't know.
Agapanthus head. So this is a big plant.
It's massive.
Look at that. That's huge. This is stonking.
You don't get one, you get two. It's a buy one get one free. $29.99, and if you spend another couple of pence, if you buy something else, you get free delivery on them as well.
Yeah, I mean, and these free delivery, because these are really heavy as well, so I'd imagine these are quite expensive to send out. But yeah, I mean, and you're not going to be able to pull these out the pot. You're going to have to cut the pot away from the root on these. I know that from experience at work when we go to plant Agapanthus that are really well established. You're almost fighting to get it out the pot. But these, I mean, really are so spectacular. In fact, you could even, if you wanted to, once you've got this out the pot, you could actually be quite cheeky and see down the middle here where you've got this dead bit. If you've got like a wood saw, you could actually cut this into 2 plants.
Could you really?
And you could, in theory, you could make these 2 plants 4 plants.
Oh,
because you can divide them, because these are such well-established plants.
Amazing.
But you're going to get those amazing blue flowers in the summertime for probably 4 to 6 weeks. Probably about 1 metre tall, so kind of up to kind of waist height on me. Probably flower heads, tennis ball sized flower heads.
They're
with
amazing.
30, 40, 50, 60 individual flowers, like a firework kind of display there.
Look at them.
I'm going to put this down, Hayley.
Yeah, do. I can't believe you get 2 of those. They are really heavy, big plants, really well established. You will get the most amazing displays. The secret is to actually restrict the actual roots, and we'll talk about that. But when you've got them planted, I've got mine in a pot, and it's been an absolute delight year after year. I have mine right by the house through the winter months, so if it gets quite cold, I'm sort of protecting it against the cold. But when I first saw these, it was in the Isle of Wight. It was a Warner's Hotel in Bembridge, and they've got the most amazing display along a wall that just seems to go on forever.
Yeah.
And I had a picture taken with them, and it looks like I'm stood in this field of these amazing flowers.
And although they look exotic, I mean, they are from South Africa originally, although they look exotic, they are very, very easy to grow, because they will grow on quite poor soil. They'll grow on really sandy soils. They'll grow on very gritty, gravelly soils. They will grow, sometimes you've got that south-facing side of your house and you've got that brick kind of baked border at the base. It's really dry, where the cats do their annoying doo-doos and all that kind of stuff. Well, you've got that area of soil like that where other things struggle and won't grow. Agapanthus will love it there. They love that kind of really hot, dry conditions. They like quite poor sort of soils. And I mentioned earlier on, I've got a lovely lady whose garden I've looked after for many, many years, lives in Fifield in Essex, and she's had Agapanthus in these stone pots, forever and a day. there's almost no soil left, it's just root.
Yeah.
But year after year after year, they keep coming back, they keep flowering, they keep flowering, they keep flowering, and they're just surviving on neglect. So I know sometimes when you look at plants like this and you see how gorgeous they are, you probably think to yourself, yeah, it's easy for Adam to say they're easy to grow because he's won medals at Chelsea, he's done gardening all his life, he's a professional gardener, this kind of thing. Yeah, I'm just dropping a few things in there, you know. Yeah.
Have you really?
yeah. I've hung out with Tom Cruise and no, made that bit up. No, that's I'm exaggerating now. But you might think, yeah, it's easy for Adam to say these are easy to grow because he's got all these accolades and stuff. But honestly, these really are easy to grow. If you live in a really cold place, grow them in a pot because, as I say, they love being pot bound, and then you can bring them into somewhere for the winter to keep them out the worst of the really penetrating frosts.
They were like a really bad winter, but I have mine right up by the house, and we've had ours probably about 3 years.
There you go.
It's been quite happy. Just remember when you do plant them, though you'll get this home and think it's a massive plant, I must get a massive pot for it. Don't. No. That's a big mistake. They want to be in a small pot. They want to. Their roots want to be hugged.
I mean, I would literally say, get a pot that's only about an inch wider than the pot these are coming out of. And only probably a couple of inches at the base. So if you put them in a really big pot, they'll just go, whoa, and they'll just produce loads of leaf, but they won't flower. Keep them, as I say, Hayley said, constricted, pot bound.
And if we put them into soil, and we can put stones around them, can't we? Or even plant them in a pot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they want to be hugged, don't they, always?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so they are it's weird, really, because quite often, as a professional gardener, I'm saying to people, when things get pot bound or root bound, you need to repot them. But these, don't. Just leave them.
It spoils most plants, doesn't it? They need, when they're root bound, you can see they're struggling. They need a bigger pot. They need more soil.
These love it.
Where these the opposite.
Yeah. Well, you can see. I mean, literally the pots there. When you get these home, you'll kind of feel little bumps and lumps on the outside of the pots, and that's because the roots have expanded so massively. They've actually deformed the actual plastic pots they're in, but they've still enjoyed being in that constricted space.
Yeah.
So just keep that going.
I think it's an amazing offer. 2 of those for $29.99. Don't forget, if you spend over £30, you'll get free delivery on them as well, so you don't have to buy much more to get over £30. But you could keep one for yourself, and one could be a gift. There'd be a beautiful gift for the present that just keeps on giving. Rather than a bouquet of flowers, you've got a really gorgeous plant that will flower if you look after it year after year, which is fantastic. So 680-130.
And I've seen Agapanthus has cut flowers as well.
Yes,
I've seen them in bouquets.
They look amazing.
So you probably could cut some and take them indoors as well if you wanted to.
Yeah. Oh, they're just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Now, we've got an amazing little bundle here. I think it's a great housewarming gift if someone's just moved into a house and they've got perhaps their first garden ever. I think it's a great present for yourself if you want a really pretty display and you need sort of everything to get started. Perhaps you've not done a great deal of gardening, because this is the pots, the compost and the bulbs.
Yeah. It's a complete set, Hayley. It's all you need, basically. And I'm going to tell you something now. I used to be a real plastic plant pot snob. I would never have plastic plants in my garden years. Oh, no, nothing plastic pots. Oh, no, don't want those. They're naff.
But they've changed so much, haven't they?
Oh, goodness me. I mean, I remember years ago, I don't know the technical way of having make pots. They kind of had those where they blast the air through and they pop off the press thing they're on. But in the past, sometimes you'd have little bits of excess plastic, wouldn't you, at the base where they've not come away properly, and you'd see a line down the side, wouldn't you? And the pattern would be a bit spoilt. But these, I mean, from even from a short distance, these look like the real deal. These look like they're stone pots or ceramic pots, and I just like the diamond pattern in there, the kind of the nice sort of white frosting of the leaves in between. And that will always stay like that, won't it? It will. However hot it is, however cold it is. Yeah, it's UV resistant. It's frost resistant. If I turn it this way around, you can see the great drainage holes in the bottom there as well. So it's going to drain really, really well. But also what they've done in the bottom, that very bit in the very centre is slightly raised up. So that will actually maintain some moisture because you've got a little reservoir at the base there. So all the water doesn't completely run out, which is good as well. And unlike sort of stone or ceramic pots, when we get that really frosty weather, these are not going to crack. These are not going to break or split. And also, you know, sometimes you get the terracotta pots and after a while, they're all covered in that green slime, aren't they, on the outside? That's because they wick away the moisture as well, so they dry out more quickly. These are not going to wick away the moisture. These are going to maintain the moisture. And of course, if you've got a roof garden, if you've got a balcony, if you've got an area of decking, these are lightweight as well.
Lighter,
so there's not going to be a weight problem. And also if you need to move them about. So you've got these fantastic pots, which, by the way, you've got a price on of $7.99. So basically £16 worth of pots already. Which is good, which is insane.
So for so sort of £3-4 more, you're getting a 20-litre bag of compost and you're getting the bulbs. Yeah, and you're getting 2 lots of bulbs as well, of an extended flowering season, because you're getting your daffodils, which are going to be flowering for you about March time. In fact, I'm going to move that out of the way because you can't see the daffodils now. Yeah, which are going to be flowering for you about March time. You can see those beautiful little daffodils here that are going to give you that sort of scent, going to give you that bright yellow colour March through to probably early April. And then once they start to fade away, then the tulips will actually come through afterwards as well. So you can do in these pots what's called lasagna planting. So what I would do is fill the pot up 1/3 of the way with compost. Then put the daffodils in. Right. Then fill up another third. Then put the tulips in. Right. Then fill up to the top, because daffodils don't mind being planted deeper than tulips. And the daffodils will come up first. They'll pretty much finish flowering, and the tulips will come through afterwards. If you want to do it in one pot, but of course you've got 2 pots, you could do daffodils in one and tulips in the other. So the option's yours. You can have 2 types in one pot, or 1 type in each pot. But you've got everything you need there. You've got those bulbs, good quality bulbs, so you guaranteed to get flowers from them. Our professional compost, brilliant pots. And what I would do as well, I wouldn't just look at bare compost on top of those pots all through the winter. I think I'd finally finish off by planting the top of those pots with some winter flowering pansies, perhaps forget-me-nots, wallflowers, cyclamen, or some grasses. So, even before the bulbs come through, they still look attractive. Yeah, it's a really nice idea there. It's a fabulous bundle. Mixed daffodil with your tulips there, with the 2 planters that do say on the bottom $7.99 each. And then you have got the compost, 20 litres of our professional compost that we sell here at YouGarden. And of course you have got your 60 bulbs. $19.95 is your price. You're saving 20, you're saving more than you're spending. So 201, 204. And don't forget, if you spend over £30, you will get free delivery as well. And always use that code YGTV43 as your code this week, because that will also give you the free gift, and that's your sweet peas. You get 50 seeds of those. But any of the deals, it unlocks the deals, the buy one get 2 frees, or buy one get 1 free, or whatever the deal is, it needs to be unlocked with that code. So definitely put the code in. Get your pens and papers, because my goodness, we have had 2 fabulous hours so far. And if you have just joined us, really great to have your company. And we've had some real beauties, and the Amaryllis Red Lion has been, I think, just the perfect present, actually. So, beautiful plant, which comes with the pot. It comes as well with some compost, which is like a sort of a solid compost that you add water to, but of course you could use our compost in the pot as well. And what you'll find is it's a beautiful big bulb ready for you to plant into the pot and just enjoy in the winter months when nothing else is flowering. My nana used to love these every Christmas, these gorgeous red beautiful flowers. $11.99 is buying you a really beautifully packaged as well deal, which could be, as I say, a perfect present. So 630121 is your item number. Now, something else you might be wanting to shop for is the Narcissus muscari, and this again is another really nice idea as a gift. It comes with a really lovely planter. It's a metal planter that's been designed as well so it won't rust, and what you'll find is you can plant them straight into that to get this beautiful display in a really lovely planter. You can put them into the ground if you want and use the planter for something else, but I think that'd be a really nice gift, whether you give it as a gift for them to plant or whether you plant it up and then give it as a gift. For my nana, she was in a wheelchair, couldn't really get outdoors into the garden but loved a garden, she could actually plant this indoors and then we could pop it out in the garden for her. $14.99 is your price there, and your item number 160887. Now, the pansy matrix. Pansies are always a joy. I think they just smile. These are super popular. They're really nice big flowers, beautiful mixture of colours, some in solid colour, bi-colours, some a mixture of 3 different colours. Don't they look like smiley faces? Sometimes they look like a panda, sometimes they look like a butterfly. I think they just bring your garden alive. At times through the sort of the winter and the months where not a lot else is going on, and they are happy through the coldest of days as well. I know that on the snowiest of days, just a little pansy popping its head out through the snow. You are getting a buy one get one free here, so this is where you definitely need to use that code GTTV43, but always use the code because you do get your free gift as well of the sweet pea seeds. But the code unlocks the deals, so you'll only get 1 for $14.99, but with the code you'll get 2 for $14.99. So you'll get 24 plants rather than 12. So 400 373 is your item number. And pansies will flower and flower and flower. So really they are worth every penny because they just keep giving you joy. Now the alliums. Now the allium collection is beautiful. And please don't look at these and think you need to be a stately home gardener, you need to be a professional gardener. Bizarrely, they're part of the onion family, and they're bulbs that you're going to plant, and plant them right now. It's just the right time to plant the bulbs whilst the soil is still warm, so that bulb can get established, can root before it gets too cold. So then it's established to give you better results going into the spring. Whatever bulbs you're putting in, this is the time to plant them. A real lovely mixture, sort of a wild allium there, alliums that perhaps you've recognised, alliums that you don't quite recognise. You've got the smaller variety. The white is just beautiful. So you've got 100 bulbs in total, giving you a vast display, whether you keep them all for yourself, whether you split them with a family member. $14.99, you're saving 25% on those. So 630126 is your item number. The primulas. Wait till you see just how beautiful that primula is. Doesn't it look like a bouquet of flowers? I learned today a primula, it's one stem and then lots of flowers coming off the top, whereas a primrose, they're all on individual stems. So you've got one stem and then you've got this bouquet of, to me, they look too delicate to be real, too beautiful to be real. A little bit like the icing flowers that someone would make to go onto a really amazing wedding cake. They are going to be in your garden just looking stunning. They are that colour mix, sort of that creamy yellow going into that sort of lilac and then a dark sort of purple edge, is just so unusual. I've never seen anything like it. So if you do love the flowers that give you colour and make you smile, the flower that someone's going to knock on the door and say, where did you get that from? That definitely is that flower. And look at the price, $6.49 for 3 really strong, healthy, quite big plug plants as well. So 480866 is your item number. Now our Agapanthus is flying today, and I am right there with you. It's one of my favourites, one of my best buys. I don't have beds and borders. Plants really on a whole are in pots. So I've got mine in a pot, but remember, these like to be pot bound. These like to be in a pot that hugs their roots, because they are massive, and I will show you how big they are. Please don't think you need to put them into a much bigger pot, because they want to be hugged. They want to be in an actual, not much, but you want to put it in a pot that's not much bigger than it's in, because these thrive from having their roots hugged, because then you'll get the flowers. If you put them in too big a pot, you'll get lots of leaves but not many flowers. So make sure they're hugged. If you plant them into the soil, you could plant them in a pot, or you could put them so they feel like they're being hugged. And you're getting 2 of these for $29.99 delivered to your door, and they're a good weight as well. Don't forget, if you spend over £30, you'll get them delivered free of charge as well. And really fabulous, beautiful flowers, where if you've been to the Isle of Wight, the Warner's Hotel, Bembridge, the most amazing display, and you would think, like I did, my goodness, they must have a gardener that tends to these, looks after these. They must be, but they're not. Honestly, plant them up, but they don't like really harsh winters. I've had mine about 3-4 years, and all I do is I put mine in the pot by the house through the real winter months. But if you're putting it out in the garden, just put it somewhere where it's got a little bit of protection. I'll put some mulch around it to look after it as well. 680130. And being as you're getting a buy one get one free, but use the code, otherwise you won't get that deal. YGTV43 is the code to give you that deal. It unlocks the buy one get one free. You could keep one for yourself, and one could be the most amazing present idea as well. So please do not miss out on that. The daffodil bundle you've loved as well. These are some of your absolute true favourites. And this actually gives you 60 bulbs. It gives you 20 litres of our professional compost, which is flying today. It's a really amazing compost with every goodness that every plant needs and every bulb needs to be successful. And then you've got two 12-inch planters as well. On the bottom of the planters, $7.99 is the price. So £16 worth of planters in that 1995 bundle. So 201, 204. You've got your daffodils and you've got some beautiful tulips as well. And the planters are a gorgeous green. They are a stunning planter, which these two colours will just look amazing out of. So 201, 204 is your item number, so do not miss out on those. Now we have got the most beautiful of geraniums. Geranium, you always think the classic red, but this is a beautiful purple, and this is a plant that will come back year after year. Put it somewhere nice and sunny, so it gets the sun. I put one in a pot on our decking, and it did amazingly well. The leaves are just starting to turn like a red, which you'll find they do in the winter months. But then I put some in Mum's garden, which I put them in an area that's a little bit shady. I think they happier in a bit area that was a little bit more sunny, because they didn't do as well as my potted ones. So put them in a sunny spot. $9.99. Now it's a buy one get two free. I really have to concentrate on that. It's buy one get one free, isn't it? Get that. I can't get it at buy one get two free. So you get 3 plants, but only if you use that code YGTV43. $9.99 is your price. 560635 is your item number. Don't forget, if you're spending over £30, you have got, of course, your free delivery. And don't forget to use the code ALWAYS, because not only does it unlock the deals, but you do get a free gift, and that is your sweet pea seeds, which is fantastic. And whatever we're planting today, this is the compost, isn't it?
This is the compost, yeah. This is going to give your plants the best start, because this is a professional compost, Hayley. The gardening industry is a multi-billion-pound industry. Countries, for instance, like Holland, or the Netherlands, I should say, Italy, Spain, massive, even the UK, to be honest, massive plant growing areas. And with all the pressures and costs of everything these days as well, growers have to use compost that's going to give them those optimum results. You know,
you can't afford to fail.
No, it's a competitive world out there, and they've come up with these, this incredible type of compost with its hugely reduced peat content, 50% less peat in this as well, with that composted wood fibre that keeps it open, lets the water percolate, but it doesn't allow the compost to become waterlogged. You've got slow release fertiliser in here as well. You've got a wetting agent, which means this compost always wants to absorb moisture. It never wants to repel it. Sometimes, as Hayley was saying earlier on, you water those hanging baskets or those pots when they're dried out a bit, the water runs straight off.
It does. It's all down your front, it's all down your shoes.
Exactly, like water off a duck's back, isn't it? It's absolutely hopeless. And this is pH balanced as well, which it sounds gobbledygooky, but it basically means, in simple terms, this is greater for a much bigger range of plants than if it was very alkaline or very acidic. And it's in these plain bags because it's not going to go anywhere between when you order it and when it gets to you. This isn't going to be sitting in some garage forecourt or in some garden centre for weeks. It doesn't need to look flash. The bags do the job, and all the bags are there for is for transportation. And of course, if you're anything like me, you'll cut yours really neatly across the top anyway, and you'll reuse those bags for all sorts of things, like I do at work.
Brilliant, love it. Very resourceful. Now, don't forget, it's all about the root system underneath. So when you're using a compost like this, you do get the most amazing root system. A root system that's going to give you a healthier plant, more disease tolerant, bigger flowers, bigger fruit, better hanging baskets, better pots. I felt like it gave me green fingers. It didn't. It just allowed my plants to be the best they could be. And what I always do at this time of year is put this all into my beds and borders, all into my pots as well, and my mum's beds and borders, because I haven't really got beds and borders. All my pots, I put an extra layer on top, because what you'll find find is obviously the soil's worked really hard for your plants all summer. Through then the autumn and the winter months, that sort of goodness goes into the soil when it rains, and through the winter as it gets taken in by worms and things, and it gives that soil goodness for when your bulbs start to grow. So I think it's a really important time to stock up with that compost.
Looks nice as well, doesn't it?
It does.
When you put that nice dark compost, it really kind of highlights the plants, doesn't it? It just looks really professional and nice.
It seems to tidy up the garden.
It's like having a really nice carpet or a nice wooden floor. It kind of makes all your furniture and everything look really nice.
It's exactly true. That
makes it pop.
Yeah, so definitely make sure you order and have a look at some of the 5-star reviews over the years, because we've sold this compost for years, way before we were in the potting shed here at YouGarden, always from YouGarden because it's their compost. We've had thousands of 5-star reviews.
Yeah, it was one of the most top reviewed products. I mean, I can remember things like Easy Fill hanging baskets over the years and some other things that were right up there. And this was the winner. If you had to do a top 5 of probably the most best reviewed products, this would be right up in the top 5.
Because it makes such a difference to the results that you get in your garden. So please try, and once you've tried it, you'll never turn back. You'll never want to go to that horrible, stodgy, thick, smelly, dirty compost that you often buy. It's light, it's airy, it's lovely to work with, but it's all about the results as well. I mean,
you can buy really, really cheap compost, but all I would ever buy really, really cheap compost for is literally for pouring over really, really heavy clay, awful soil to break it up. I would never buy cheap compost for growing any of my plants, my seeds, my cuttings.
Well,
Definitely
we all
not
know
my house
sometimes
plants.
when we've run out of our compost, and you sort of, I'll just go and get a bag, and you think, why did I buy that? Because there's no comparison, honestly.
No,
now,
definitely not.
Really excited about this. I love evergreen plants because my garden is very much pots. It's a bit disappointing when all your pots are just dead branches. I want something that looks good all year round.
And it's this time of year that you get found out on that front as well, because all of a sudden, I was thinking this year the tree's ever going to lose their leaves because they seem to be staying on forever. But when I drove in this morning, all of a sudden they're really starting to come down now. And
Mum's by it like a wood, and a lot of leaves came down off some of the trees, but then it's stopped.
Yeah, I mean,
all
it is
the others
later.
Have just held on
I
to it,
was reading a report the other day. They reckon the last 30 years, autumn leaf drop has gone back by about a month.
Gosh.
And I can believe that working outside, but they will eventually fall. That will happen. And of course, if you've just got deciduous plants in your garden, then you're just looking at bareness the whole winter. There's nothing of interest there for you. So whenever we do planting schemes, we always try and incorporate evergreens, because even in the depths of winter, you've got interest. You've got interest in the different foliage colours.
I love the different shades of green.
Yeah, different shades of green. A lot of the evergreens will have berries, for example. Some, like this Viburnum tinus, will even flower in the winter time.
Oh, lovely.
So, I mean, we've just got some examples here. We've got a Viburnum tinus here. This is a type of Escallonia. We've got a Euonymus here. We've got a holly. We've got an Aucuba here as well, and also here we've got a choisia. Now this choisia is particularly nice because this is evergreen, but also in the spring it has these wonderful, very scented flowers. Mexican orange is its kind of common name.
Lovely.
Masses of lovely white flowers which the bees absolutely adore. This Aucuba japonica, this has wonderful red berries, stunning red berries when it matures. Same as the holly, that will have berries as well. Well, I say that, I'm not sure if it's a male or female plant, but it might have. That's a Cotoneaster we've got up there. Now, I haven't got a Cotoneaster in this mix, but you may get a Cotoneaster, because what we're saying to you is, we're not saying you're specifically going to get these 6 evergreens. We're saying to you, you will get 6 different types of evergreen plants. So in your collection, you might have this Ceanothus thricyflorus repens, for example, which is a really, really stunning plant. You might have this Euonymus harlequin, which is a lovely variegated Euonymus. Looks beautiful throughout the year. This one, you won't actually receive this one. Actually, we just need to change the graphic, because this one is deciduous. But we'll sort that out.
It tried to sneak in.
It tried to sneak in.
But it's not an evergreen.
It's
so
not an evergreen.
No, you've got to get out.
Viburnum tinus. This is what we're looking at now.
Oh, that's the one you were saying about.
Yeah, that's evergreen. What I like about that Viburnum tinus is the buds are pink, but then they open out. Well, you can see here on this one that's actually flowering. Those buds are a lovely soft pink, and then as they burst open, so those lovely white. And also, then they have these really, really dark kind of black berries as well, purplish black berries that look absolutely fantastic as well. So These will all get to probably 6, 7, 8 foot if you wanted to leave them, but all of these can be pruned and shaped and clipped and kept into smaller sizes. Some of them you can clip into almost topiary shapes as well if you wanted to. Yeah. Things like the euonymus, for example. The holly's just great for winter time. For when it gets big, you can take little sprigs off, bring indoors for Christmas, which is really, really nice. So really, all the way through the year, you're going to get different interest from these plants. But the main thing about these is, even in the depths of winter, these are always going to have leaves on them. They're always going to have some interest in the form of foliage. Some will flower as well. Some will have berries. You might get this exact mix of 6. You might get some with slightly different mix, but you will get evergreens.
6 evergreen shrub collection and 6 9-centimetre pots, so giving you joy all year round, you know, so interest all year round. $17.99 and worth every single penny. I think evergreens, especially like me and you've got lots of pots, are just a delight because you've always got something looking nice throughout all the winter months, which is really nice, rather than just a pot with some dead twigs in.
And so just one quick thing you can do with these, Hayley. When these are really, really small like they are now, what you can do for the first year, you can actually put these as centerpieces in hanging baskets, because they're small enough to go in a hanging basket, and then plant them. And then take them out, and again we're going to have look at those, as always, roots. Never disappointed.
That's what our compost is all about.
And honestly, I swear to you on my life, I did not check that root before I pulled it out. I just knew that was going to have a great root system. So yeah, you could pop these in the middle of a hanging basket to start with this year. It's a little centerpiece in your hanging basket, and then obviously they're going to get too big thereafter, but then you can just transplant them into the garden for their permanent position.
Fabulous. Now, what have we got next?
We have got a double daffodil or a double narcissus boucle, tête boucle.
That is beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, that is really,
isn't that beautiful?
Really, really different, isn't it? Really unusual there. I mean, just look at that double flower there. That's going to look so stunning on a spring day, kind of just sort of moving in the breeze, fluttering in the breeze. Really, really attractive. Good healthy bulbs there as well. Yeah, that's kind of been photo bombed, isn't it, by that viburnum there. I'll move that one. There we go. Can see it completely now.
I can't believe the amount of petals that are there. And actually, it doesn't actually look like a daffodil because there's so many petals.
Yeah, I mean, it does look very, very different. I mean, there's one called Tate, which is kind of similar, but that's single flowers. Yeah. This is a double flowered one. These really big, sumptuous kind of daffodil heads on there as well. So, you know, if you want to...
You can see it's a daffodil, but it's like, or is it? You know?
It's weird you say that, because some people, when that's flowering next spring, who are not, perhaps, gardeners or regular gardeners, might well say to you, "Oh, what's that?" And if you say it's a daffodil, I bet some people say, "No, it's not. No. That's not a daffodil. Daffodils don't look like that." Well, they can, because again, daffodils. I was saying about tulips earlier on. Daffodils, another one of those bulbs that have been hybridised and bred thousands and thousands and thousands of times.
So many different ones.
There's
now,
probably
isn't there?
20, 30,000, if not ridiculously
and
more thousands than that.
And that colour is such a joy, isn't it? I think after spring, you miss that colour because there's not much through the rest of the year that gives you that amazing brightness.
In March, that is an explosion of happiness in your garden. That's exactly what that is.
Winter.
Yeah, and sometimes, we think about March as being spring, but more often than not, you don't really see much difference generally from March to February. The trees are all still bare still. It's still pretty much the same. The only thing that really tells you spring's coming that time of year tends to be bulbs. Yeah. And that's why I love having so many bulbs, because, as I say, most of the shrubs still don't have any leaves. The trees don't have any leaves. So if you didn't have bulbs, you could still think it was winter. That's why it's great to have bulbs, because... And
you struggle with winter, don't you? So bulbs for you are just a joy, aren't they?
I just want to stay in this shed and talk about gardening till March now. Just because I'm loving these gorgeous lamps we've got on the back here as well. My mood has elevated since I've turned up this morning.
It's like the sun shines here every
goodness
day,
me, I absolutely hate... I know people love autumn. I know a lot of people do love it, but autumn's not, and I know there's lots of you out there the same. Autumn really brings me down. I get that feeling of dread. I feel low. I feel tearful. I just really struggle. But what gets me through is gardening and thinking about that spring will come again.
Getting those things into the garden.
Getting them into the
ground.
ground.
And though we are in the winter, it is the right time to plant, isn't it?
This is the perfect time of year to get your bulbs in. I mean, the tulips, for example, if you ordered the tulips earlier on, you can leave tulips for another month. I mean, get them home now, but just keep them somewhere cool cool and dry, because tulips actually like to be planted later. So you can plant tulips end of November, beginning of December.
Okay.
But daffodils, you can start planting from August. So as soon as you get the daffs home, put them straight in, plant them straight away. And normally, as a rule of thumb, you look at the height of the bulb, and then you want about 3 times as much soil above the height of the bulb.
Okay.
So if the bulb's, say, 1 inch high, you want 3 inches of soil above the bulb. But don't get too hung up on that, to be honest. If anything, daffodils like to be planted slightly deeper than normal, not shallower. If you plant them shallow, they tend to dry out and they don't flower so well. So don't worry about planting them too deep. I mean, obviously don't go silly, but I mean, like, you know, they don't mind being deeper rather than shallow.
But and we have got our planter, haven't we? So
I'll grab that again.
A bulb planter. If you want to go for this, I just think this makes it so easy.
Well, this is
jot
great,
down the
Hayley.
item number 600 399, 11.99, 15 bulbs, and they are our tates, but they are the most amazing sort of double flowered, stunning bulb. But the bulb planter, I think these are brilliant.
Yeah, so basically it's like a hollow metal tube. It's got sort of measurements on the side, so 1, 2, 3, 4 inches. And then if imagine this is your soil, you know, you just push down. So if I'm going to go all the way down to kind of 4 inches down, you lift this out and you can see a core of soil actually comes out on the inside. So then you drop your bulb in and then you just knock that core of soil out, just tap it, drops back in above the bulb, and you can go along really quick and do that as well and get lots of bulbs in really quickly.
Much easier than a trowel. I even do my plug plants using those. I just think it's really easy.
Yeah, because sometimes with a trowel, if you're doing that really pushing down movement, you know, if you've got problems with your wrist, arthritis or something like that, you might struggle a little bit. Where with this, it's that kind of twisting motion that it sort of puts slightly less downward pressure, I find, and it's got that nice sharp edge to it as well, so you can drill down. I mean, admittedly, I'm going into compost here, but you know, this will go into nice soft ground or beds and borders, and it does save you time, and it does make planting bulbs or those plug plants or things much more easy.
£8.99, 120 160. Don't forget, if you spend over £30, you will get free delivery. Do join the club. You'll get 10% off absolutely everything. And joining the club is only £5. And you join for the year, so you get 10% off for the whole year. And over the year, you'll get 4 £5 vouchers as well. So you're spending £5, but you get £20 back instantly. But then all the 10%'s off as well. It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So well worth that. And always use the code. The YGTV43 will unlock all the deals, but we'll also give you those fabulous sweet peas, and you've got a little bag of 50 seeds that you can get planted up as well. So that's like a free gift, but you do need to use the code. And they are beautiful sweet peas.
You're getting the sweet peas home now, and you can start growing the sweet peas now if you want to. What I would do is, when you get the sweet peas home, soak them in a little jug of water for 24 hours. Plant them in our compost, get them growing, and just grow them through the winter. They're hardy plants, so just keep them somewhere cool. It doesn't matter if they get even a little bit of cold, but just keep them somewhere cool. And if you start them now and get them growing through the winter, then they'll grow away much more quickly in the spring and start flowering much more early. But if you don't want to do that, just keep the packet somewhere dry and dark in a top drawer somewhere. And then in sort of January, February time, again, soak them for 24 hours before, sow them in some compost. Within probably 7 to 10 days, they'll germinate. Grow them onto they're about 2 or 3 inches tall. Then pinch the top out. Once they've got 3 or 4 leaves, pinch the top out. They'll multi-branch, put them in individual pots, grow them on a bit longer, and then plant them out. Easy.
Fabulous.
And you'll have fabulous scent, fragrance, colour, and flowers for month after month. And just keep picking them, because the more you pick them...
I didn't realise this.
Well, all flowers want to do is get pollinated, set seed, and for them that's job done.
Yeah.
So if you keep picking the flowers off, the plant's going to say to itself every time, oh, for goodness sake, I've just been pollinated. I was just going to set seed, which is what I'm here to do. Now you've picked that flower head off. That's my future seeds gone. I'm going to have to produce more flowers now to create more seeds. Yeah. You come along and keep picking the flowers off. The plant is just going to have to keep flowering because it wants to produce seed.
So you get better results. So make sure you do cut them and put them in a little vase in the house, because you're just going to keep giving you more and more and more. Now, this is one of my favourites, and I know it's one of yours. This is another plant that I saw in the Isle of Wight, but in lots of gardens, and it's so pretty because it's like you can see through it, so you can see the whole garden, you can see the house. You know, I saw it in lots of front gardens, and it just looks beautiful.
Yeah, it's really, really elegant. In fact, in the trailer, right at the beginning of our show today, there's an aerial shot where we go over a whole bed of this, and it just looks mind-blowing. And Verbena bonariensis is one of those plants that's probably in the last 20 years has really come to the fore. I mean, I've been on holiday before to a really lovely place. We stay up in the Highlands in Scotland, Newton Moor, and I've even seen it growing there, and it was growing quite happy. It is a magnificent plant. You always see it at the Chelsea Flower Show. We always put it in our garden designs. In fact, as the design I was talking about earlier on that we're planting Thursday, Friday next week, I've got some Verbena bonariensis going into that as well. It will grow almost anywhere apart from deep shade or really wet soil. It grows on really poor soils, sandy soils, gravelly soils, dry soils. It requires almost no attention at all. It will seed about all over the place, so you'll get lots of little baby seedlings that you can lift up and transplant and plant elsewhere. Doesn't need supporting, gets about a metre and a half tall. Lovely little fine leaves, but just these heads of flower that just go on for months and months and months and months. I mean, in our front garden at the moment, John has still got some of these flowering in the front garden.
Lovely.
But just magnificent colour and giving you that height in the border that sometimes you don't get. But you don't have to fiddle and fuss about staking them or putting supports around them. And sometimes when it rains, they do lean over a little bit, but as soon as the wind comes and they dry out, they spring back up to their upright position. But that's what you've got to do, plant them. And what I find amazing about them is how quick they grow. I mean, this isn't their ideal time of year now because we're going into winter. And don't even worry sometimes. If we get a really cold winter, like last year, we had a really, really cold winter, and it appeared that a lot of Verbena bonariensis had died. But what they've all done, pretty much, they've all regrown from the root.
Right.
So they've set up new shoots and root level. Sometimes in a mild winter, when you cut them down in the autumn, they'll regrow from where you cut them down.
Right.
And they'll start from that point. So last year, we did have some really extreme temperatures, and I did go back to a lot of my customers' gardens in spring where we had verbenas, and I thought, oh, we've lost all them. But I left them, and by the kind of middle of May, end of May, I saw lots of new shoots coming up. And once they come up, they grow really, really quick. From sort of a shoot about 2 or 3 inches tall, probably even 3 weeks, you're up to 3 foot a metre, and they really get going quickly. And so once they start flowering, they're like me, they don't stop. They just keep going and keep going, like I keep rabbiting and rabbiting.
We love that's just what you want in your garden. They just keep on going and going, giving you joy every day. It's a buy one, get two free, but you must use the code. So YGTV43 is the code that will unlock that deal. So buy one and you get two free, so you get 3 plants in total. They are an absolute delight, honestly. I fell in love with them. Again, in the Isle of Wight, just in people's front gardens, so many people's front gardens had these in, and at the time I didn't know what they were, and I just found them mesmerising because it was like you could see through them, but there were these really pretty flowers. You could, lovely in a front garden, in front of a nice sort of cottage, because you can see the house.
And the word's ephemeral, I think they kind of describe those sort of plants. They've got that ephemeral look, and that's what's great about them. How do you say they're tall, but they don't obliterate everything behind them. You can see through them. Yeah. And I tell you what, they look really, really magnificent with is grasses. If you grow them with grasses, and some of those echinaceas we've got as well, because you can create what they call that prairie planting kind of look, which has that kind of semi-wild look to it, but at the same time, it still looks structured and attractive.
I absolutely love those. So 560169, but remember to use the code. Remember that code will give you the free sweet pea seeds as well, but it unlocks the deals. Now, moving on. Oh my word. Now, I'm going to let you say it.
Oxalis versicolor,
This I'm going to call it candy cane, because this looks like the candy canes that you have on the Christmas tree.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's got that kind of sort of similar look to it, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, amazing looking flowers on there.
That's amazing.
And these have leaves on that are very, very kind of similar to clover leaves as well.
I feel like I'm in sort of a theatre, Walt Disney, Willy Wonka or something like that.
Charlie the Chocolate Factory kind of look.
It's like, oh my goodness, these are so different, aren't they?
They're really unusual, and then those sort of flowers open out as well eventually, once the sort of sun gets on them. So, really, those flowers there are kind of slightly close up. As the sun gets on them, they'll kind of open out to produce like star-shaped flowers. But yeah, you've got that kind of almost like having one of those ice creams with strawberry sauce kind of drizzled over it. So it's kind of got that look to it. But yeah, a really stunning plant. And again, Oxalis are really, really easy to grow. They grow from tiny little bulbs. They will do well in full sun. They actually do quite well in shade as well. They do well in really dry soil, do well in really poor soil. And they kind of just pop up out the blue. And they have this sort of funny habit as well sometimes. As they mature, sometimes the bulbs actually end up almost kind of sitting on the surface of the soil. They almost kind of uproot themselves. And then they'll go quiet for a little while, and then suddenly you'll just see them all reshoot, and then you'll just get this explosion of flower that comes out. And they flower for quite a long period of time. Weeks and weeks and weeks, really. Attractive foliage, really attractive flowers, easy to grow. A very compact little plant as well, probably only sort of 6-7 inches tall, so not particularly tall.
And sorry, when do they start flowering?
They start flowering sort of springtime. So spring, but they'll go on for quite a few months. So they'll go on all through the summer, sometimes into the autumn, really.
Fab.
So quite a long flowering period, but good for rockeries, great for sort of rockeries, great for putting in alpine gardens or scree gardens, or planting in gravelled areas like that. It's the sort of plant, when you do plant them, try and plant them somewhere where they get to kind of be on their own.
Right.
Because they don't want to have too much around them, otherwise they tend to get a bit drowned out. So put them somewhere where they've got a little bit of space and they can do their own kind of theatrics in their own little space without being overwhelmed by their friends and colleagues. They do, They want to be the prima donnas. Absolutely. They don't want to kind of just be, sharing with everyone else.
Why would you not when you look like that?
Absolutely,
you should be up front there, shouldn't you?
I'm going to get a shirt like that.
Yeah, definitely. I think these are fabulous. Get the kids involved in growing these as well. That colour is just amazing. So 630043 is your item number. 10 bulbs, $14.99 is your price. And it is just something the different, the unusual, which is fabulous. Absolutely loving those. I've never seen anything quite like it. Don't forget, if you spend over £30, you do get free delivery. And always use the code, even if it isn't a deal there to be unlocked, because if you're doing a buy one, get one free, buy one, get two free, you do need to use the code YGTV43 to unlock the code. However, you do get your free gift, so don't forget you get your sweet peas with that code as well with every order. So make sure you put that number in. And if you want to join the club, as you go to checkout, it will actually tell you there's a little box and it tells you how much you'll save if you join the club, because you'll save 10% on everything for a year. It's only £5 to join. And sometimes you think, well, actually, I would save on this order, this is what happened to me, over £5. So I may as well join the club, because now I've got 10% off all year round.
I tell you what we need to do one day, Hayley. We need to create kind of our own little shopping list, you and I in here. So we'll pick 4 or 5 items
and see what we save.
And then we'll let Matt kind of, because he's the super brains,
work out idea.
What we would have saved on those 4 items, plus the 20 quid as well of vouchers you mentioned and so on.
Yeah, because then through the year you get 4 £5 vouchers. So even if you weren't saving 10% all year, you're paying £5 to get £20 back, because you get £20 worth of vouchers. But then you're also saving 10% off all year round.
Yeah, and when you said 5% off mowers as well, it's like, really?
Yeah, or any of the sort of electrical goods and things, the mowers, you'll get 5% off all year, which is brilliant. Yeah, well, that is good, because mowers can be £200 or £300. So that's. I need a new strimmer, and get 5% off. So why would you not? Why would you not do that? Now we're moving on to an edible. And this is another buy one, get one free. So use the code and that gives you the deal. And these are cranberries. Yeah, cranberries. Now, very, very easy to grow. Oh, they really? They are. Just one caveat with cranberries, they do need acid soil. Right, okay. So the when I say acid soil, if in your garden at the moment you've had rhododendrons, azaleas, magnolias growing for year after year and they look really healthy, things like heathers as well, and they're all flourishing, you could plant these in that type of soil. But if you struggle to grow those sort of plants, you can still grow cranberries in pots. They grow fantastically well in pots. And we've got some incredible ericaceous compost that you can use for these, which is an acidic type of compost that these cranberries will love to be in. So you can still enjoy cranberries. Really easy to grow, really tough plants. Have kind of little tiny flowers in the springtime. There's your compost details. So 100042 is your item number, $19.99, and that is a 60 litre bag delivered to your door. So any acid-loving plants, that's the compost you need. For everything else, use our regular compost. It's only for the acid-loving plants like your cranberries, rhododendrons and things such as that.
And one bag of that, Hayley, would be enough for these 2 cranberries at the moment, because the size pot these cranberries would need to go in probably doesn't need to be an awful lot bigger than what they're in at the moment to start with.
Great.
And then obviously as they get bigger and bigger, you know, you can transplant them into a bigger pot. But yeah, I mean, you can actually grow very, very easily your own cranberries.
Do we need to do anything, or
just grow them somewhere? Because cranberries, generally, things like cranberries, blueberries, all those kind of things tend to be quite moorland kind of plants.
Right.
So they're out in the open where there's full sunshine and high light levels. So plant them somewhere really, really bright and sunny, really open, no shade, the most amount of sun you can give them, direct in the garden if you've got the acidic soil, or into the pots with the ericaceous compost if you haven't. Just water them, feed them occasionally, and just leave them to grow. And you don't even really need to do much pruning, really. As the years go by, if they get a little bit scruffy, any branches that are crisscrossing or have got broken or damaged, you can take out. So just keep the structure of the plant open a little bit so it doesn't get too congested. But yeah, no reason at all why you can't grow your own super fruits, if you like, your own cranberries.
I love cranberries.
Because where they grow cranberries commercially, which I think they do a lot of in the States, they grow them in these kind of huge, great big meadows with all raised sides. Right. And then they knock the fruits off. And then they flood the meadows and all the fruits float to the top. Oh, gosh. And then they kind of drain the water off through a sluice gate. Very clever. And it takes all the cranberries with it. And that's kind of
clever, isn't it?
So, but I mean, you can do that in your own garden. But no. But yeah, that's how they harvest them commercially.
That's really interesting. Don't flood your own garden. Just get these planted in some pot.
No need to flood your own garden to harvest these.
310047. You can just pick yours. $9.99 is your price. But get your pens and papers. We've got some of your absolute favourites, and we've still got more to show you as well. So please don't go anywhere. It's been lovely to have your company today. Lovely to have Adam with us as well. It's a real joy to be. I like it here in the potting shed.
It's been a brilliant morning. Loved it.
We've had a lovely morning. I hope you have as well. And please remember to tell all your friends about watching. But if you have just switched on and you're thinking, what have we seen? Well, this is one of the items we've seen. A really lovely evergreen shrub collection. A mixture of different shrubs, but they will all be evergreen, easy to grow, all year round interest, great variety of colour. You'll find a lot of them will have berries or flowers through the winter months as well. And for me, I love an evergreen because most of my plants are in pots. And sadly, when we get into the winter months, if you've just got pots, you end up then with a lot of sort of dead branches and no greenery. Whereas this is allowing you always to have an amazing joy. My mum's got that gorgeous purple shrub. So eye-catching. $17.99 gets you 6 actual pots, nice centipede pots, really healthy, strong looking plants, and that is well worth going for. That could be 6 pots sorted in your garden, or a real nice area actually full and always looking good. 510403 is your item number. Something else you might want to go for as well is our beautiful double daffodils. Tate Boucle or Tate, they are really absolutely amazing, I think. I think that you would think, are they a daffodil? Are they really a daffodil? Because they've got so many petals, they do look different, but that bright, beautiful yellow flower, I think a definite must-have for your spring garden. Just gives you joy, doesn't it, when you see those gorgeous yellow flowers in the spring. $11.99 is your price. You're getting 15 bulbs. $600,399 is your item number. Something else you might want to shop for as well, and do, of course, always shop on our website as well. It's so easy to watch us on the website too. It's all the W's, YouGarden.com. And if you want to watch us, you can do /YouGarden-TV. However, you can go on and have a little nosy at everything YouGarden sells as well. I love the Verbena. This is the prettiest of plants. As I was saying earlier, saw it for the first time in the Isle of Wight in people's front gardens, and it looked amazing. It was so pretty, and it grows, quite tall, but you can see through it, so you don't miss anything else in the garden. Or if you've got a really nice, pretty cottage, you see that lovely cottage behind your front garden. I don't know, they're just absolutely stunning. $9.99, and you actually get a buy one get 2 free here. I have to really look and read that, because to me it's a buy one get 1 free. It's a buy one get 2 free. So for £9.97, if you put the code in, you need to use that code. YGTV43 will give you the extra 2. So if you don't put the code in, you'll just get 1. If you put the code in, you'll get 3 plants. And don't forget that code will also give you the free sweet pea seeds, because every order you have got free sweet pea seeds, 50 of them, but you do need to use the code YGTV43. So that's 560169, that's your Verbena. Now, what else have we got for you? Oxalis. They're amazing, aren't they? I mean, I just look at the colours are incredible. That white and red, and to me, I really do feel it's in a Walt Disney film. They just look unbelievable, don't they? Willy Wonka sort of thing. You're like, oh my word, they're going to be a delight. 10 bulbs, $14.99, 630043. They do look like a candy cane, don't they? The candy canes sort of hang on the Christmas trees. So grab those while the stock is there. It's nice to have something a little bit different as well. Something else you might want to go for is your cranberries. And perhaps you have always thought about having a few edibles in the garden, and you love cranberries, and perhaps you thought cranberries would be tricky to grow. Well, they're not. You've got 2. It's a buy one get one free using the code YGTV43. $9.99 will get you 2 of those. 310047 is your item number. And don't forget, if you are buying the cranberries, like blueberries, rhododendrons, heathers and things like that, they like an acid-loving soil. So we have got the Echinacea compost as well available. And if you do want to go for that, 60 litres delivered to your door, $19.99. And that's for all your acid-loving plants. So it's a selection of plants that do like that acid soil. So everything else, use our regular soil, but for your cranberries, for your blueberries, for what other items?
Echinacea poppies.
Oh look, the blue poppy?
Yeah, blue poppy, they need to.
Right, okay. What was I thinking of? Rhododendrons.
Yeah.
Gone out of my head. I'm having one of those empty head moments. So any of those sorts of actual plants. $19.99, 100-042. Now, you might also want to go, well, have a little look, for our #1 compost that works for absolutely everything else. I love the way Adam says if it's green, it's going to be happy in this compost. This compost, honestly, and we'll put the details in for you, allows you to have a compost that will get the most out of whatever you're planting, from a seed right through to a fruit tree. Whether it's bulbs, whether it's house plants, whatever you're planting, this compost has 50% composted wood fibre, so it's reduced in peat. It's got a wetting agent, so it holds onto the water. When you water your hanging baskets, it doesn't run all the way through. It holds onto that water and slow releases it. You've got a slow release fertiliser, so putting goodness into your soil continually for those first 6 months. And what you'll find as well at this time of year, though this will give you, you'll feel like you've got green fingers. I felt like I was a better gardener when I used this compost. My hanging baskets were better than they'd ever been. My pots were. Areas in my mum's garden where nothing grew, where the soil was horrible, we mixed the soil, and it was amazing the difference it made. Now things grew in that area. But the great thing is this compost allows the roots to thrive. With all the key ingredients, those roots get really strong. It gives you healthier plants, more disease tolerant plants, bigger flowers, bigger fruit and things like that. So really, it doesn't give you green fingers, it just gives your plants what they need to get the best results. When it says it's a professional compost, it's actually what the nursery uses. They bag it into 2 plain bags, 2 50-litre bags, so you're not struggling with a litre bag, and you won't find it in a garden centre. It will never be that stodgy, thick, horrible compost that you can't get out of the bag, that's going a little bit mouldy. This will be fresh, light, airy, beautiful to work with as well. $42.97 is what it should be for 100 litres, $24.98 is your price today. But don't forget, if you spend over £30, so you haven't got to buy much more, you'll get free delivery. And don't forget, if you join our club, which is just £5, you'll also get 10% off everything you're buying. And in the future, you get 4 £5 vouchers. It's well worth joining the club. And as you're checking out all the detail, it actually tells you what you'll save on your order if you join the club. Now, the Agapanthus is and I not surprised, because the Agapanthus is the most amazing, beautiful plant that you'd think you'd have to be a real stately home gardener, but you don't. You have 2 plants. It has to be my director. What do we call you? Director to producer? I can't remember. What do we name him?
Was it a productor or something?
A productor. Our productor in is like, this has to be the deal of the weekend, because have a look at the size of the plant. You're getting 2 of those for $29.99. You have to use the code YGTV43. 2 will be delivered, and if you spend just a little bit more, you'll get free delivery, because if you spend over £30, you get free and they're huge and super heavy as well, so for getting free delivery, it's well worth spending just a little bit more. Remember, when you plant these, they like to be pot bound. They like to be hugged. So don't put that in a really big pot. Put it in a pot that's slightly larger. Or if you put it into soil, plant them in the pot, in soil, or put stones around the roots. The roots like to be hugged, otherwise they won't flower. What you'll find is you'll get loads and loads of leaves, but no flowers. I saw these in the Isle of Wight, Pembridge Hotel, or Warner's Hotel. Oh my goodness, I've got a photo by them. They were all down this wall. They seem to go on forever. And it would look like I was just in a field of these just amazing flowers. And they could be in your garden. If you want the buy one, get one free, which of course you do, you want the free gift, you need to use the code YGTV43. 680130 is your item number. So we're getting busier and busier and busier and busier. Please do not miss out on all the deals we've got. Now, we're struggling with camera lefts and camera rights today, aren't we?
We are, yeah.
I'm going left, right, left. It's all very confusing.
We've been here a little while
I'm
now,
in a bit of a dizzy day today.
Yeah, but, yeah.
Do you have a day when your head's a little bit empty?
Yeah, do you ever get that thing like when you're driving sometimes as well, and you get like a couple of miles down the road, and you think, I can't remember where I just came from.
No.
I've just arrived here, and I didn't take anything in at all in the last 2 miles, apart from the car in front. Like, yeah.
I opened the fridge and what did I come to get?
Yeah.
No idea.
I went to put the kettle in the fridge the other night. Yeah.
I've nearly put a tea bag in the kettle. What is it about? I'm blaming the menopause. That's what I'm blaming. But
it's overly busy lives, and and brain
just
strain.
It's too full, aren't they?
And that's why we talk about gardening like we do, because I tell you what, get outside, do gardening for a couple of 2 or 3 hours, defrag your brain,
it's so
you're
true.
just going to feel so much better.
It's the only time I ever completely switch off.
Yeah.
I'm a worrier, and I'll worry about tomorrow, the day after, I'll worry about next week, I'll worry about 6 months' time. It's all in my head, just eating away. You've got this coming up. I can't enjoy the day because everything's going on. Get in the garden, completely switch off.
Yeah, it's so weird as well, because I'll go out in the garden and my other half, he will make a point of leaving me alone when he knows I'm in the garden, because he knows I'm in my zone.
Yeah.
And he'll just let me be. I mean, he might just, and he's so sweet, because occasionally he might just bring out a cup of tea and a biscuit and like just quietly puts it on the table and goes back in. Because because I think people can sense, it's kind of your therapy, it's your escape time. And
if you struggle with well-being and switching off, honestly, just try. And you don't need a garden. I've only got really pots and lots of pots on patios and deckings. I haven't got beds and borders. I haven't got a big garden. You could just have a bit of a balcony.
Even houseplants, Hayley. Even houseplants. I mean, I've seen people on Gardener's World that have got no garden, no outside space at all, but they've absolutely festooned their home with indoor plants.
Yeah.
And that
just
makes you feel good. Yeah. Just picking off the odd yellow leaves, sort of washing them down, watering them, talking to them, moving them about a bit. Yeah, it's just, I don't know why we're surprised sometimes, really, though, because, go back a few thousand years, we all lived amongst trees and the countryside and wildlife. And
being outside in that fresh, even through these winter months, get the bulbs in, get the plants in, tidy up the garden. Being outside in that fresh air is also so good for you.
Yeah, it is.
Yesterday, we sat indoors because it wasn't particularly nice, and I'd got work to do. I was doing my prep for this and blah-de-blah, and we were getting on. And then looked out, and it was almost brightened up. Opened the patio doors, that fresh air, like, let's go out for a walk, because it's just so... It's so good. Get out in the garden, get that fresh air into your lungs. It's amazing. But let's get back to the plants, because that's why you've turned on to watch. And this is so popular, and I'm not surprised, because it's got the most amazing fragrance before you even see the beautiful flowers.
The foliage itself has got like a really aromatic kind of herby fragrance to it.
It's incredible.
It's a bit kind of sagey, I think. A bit like sage. Yeah.
The leaves are a bit sagey, aren't they?
Yeah. It's got that kind of sage.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
It's nice, isn't it? And this is what cats go for. I think they called it catnip, don't they? The cats go absolutely sort of mad for this.
That's Freddie. That's Sean's cat. Sean, that's the regular presenter here. I'm just filling in for him.
It's so weird, isn't it? They just get so hooked on it.
Yeah, they really like the smell of it, don't they?
Yeah, it just
get off the carpet.
It's weird because you know sometimes. Cats do sort of things in your gardens, don't they? And people don't like that. And people say, put strong smelling things down like orange peel or stuff like that. Because they don't like strong fragrance, But this has got a really strong fragrance, but they love it. You'd think this would repel a cat, really, but I mean, it doesn't repel me. I quite the opposite.
And I think the insects and the butterflies and the bees, they love it.
All adore it, don't they? And a good thing about this Nepeta as well, this 6 Hills Giant, is it's probably one of the most popular Nepetas that people buy. Again, you see it at the Chelsea Flower Show quite a lot. It's used an awful lot by landscapers and garden designers.
Yes,
because
now you say that.
It's a really strong, robust, reliable plant. It will, once it's established, it will grow in the driest, most ghastly, awful soil as well. I can think of a garden that I look after on the outskirts of Bishop Stortford, and there's an area of this growing at the end of a walled garden. It's baking hot sun all day. It's south-facing. There's one of those evergreen magnolias in the corner. The soil is dry, horrible soil, full of stones and grit and almost nothing in it. There's a big patch of Nepeta, and every year it just explodes into this area of purple flowers for month after month after month.
And nothing else would grow there, probably.
No. And it's a good ground cover as well, because one of these plants here would probably cover an area the size of an old dustbin lid, easily. Right. Easily. So you can cover a really big space with one of these. So if you've got areas that you struggle for other plants to grow in because they are dry, because the soil is very, very poor, put Nepeta in there. It will grow, it will spread, it will kind of billow over that space. It will send up those flowers. It is one of these kind of plants that does tend to kind of, as it matures, it topples over, but it doesn't look messy. It kind of just lays on the ground, but the flower spikes are always pointing upwards. Yeah. And then a little later in the summer, when it's finally kind of finished flowering, if you trim it back again quite harshly, give a little hoe in between, give it a drink, it will reshoot and it will give you a second flush of flower as well. So just a really, really, and it is so crazily tough. I mean, it will get through the coldest winter. Brilliant. It will get through the hottest, driest summer. It's not a fussy plant in any way whatsoever. Plant it, leave it, forget about it forever. You don't need to do anything with yourself and trim it back to make it reflower if you want to. Come back year after year and it always looks magnificent.
I think it's an amazing plant. Just the smell is amazing. Then when you see the flowers, it's incredible. The deal's crazy because it's one of those deals I don't understand. It's a buy one. And it's usually get one free. It's buy one, get two free. So you do need to use the code. So if you don't use the code, you'll get one of these plants for $9.99. If you put in YGTV43, you'll get 3 plants delivered. You are getting 3 plants for $9.99. And of course, using that code gives you the free sweet pea seeds as well, because that's our free gift. But you do need to always put the code in. If in doubt, put the code in. If you're ordering, put the code in, because you'll get your free seeds, but then any deals that need to be unlocked, you've already used the code, so you'll get the deals that we're telling you about. So I think that is a definite must-have, those beautiful purple flowers. And the butterflies, so important to get the butterflies and bees into our garden as well. Now, moving on to narcissus.
So that's a bog twef.
What's that?
A bog twef.
What's that mean?
Buy one, get 2 free.
You're coming up with a lot of words today. We need a new dictionary.
That's not an official word. That's just like me being an idiot making up a word.
An Adam dictionary. We need to write these things down.
Yeah.
A bog twef is available for you there with the code, only with the code. Now, narcissus, or narcissi, how do you say this?
Narcissus, yeah.
Narcissus.
Replete.
Replete.
Yeah.
Have a look, because I've never ever seen that colour. I've never seen that. I've never seen this plant. Actually, it was new today. We haven't had it on this week. It was new today for Sunday. That is beautiful.
It is absolutely magnificent, isn't it? I mean, these pink colours or these pinky orange colours that you see in not tulips, daffodils now, these probably came in about 20, 25 years ago. And originally, when these first colours came in, you could pay perhaps £10 for one bulb, or if not more for one bulb. They was really super expensive. But now with hybridisation and breeding programs, they've brought in all these wonderful different colours, and the value on these is magnificent. But the joy you will get from these, I mean, we were saying earlier on about the pansies, that the great thing with pansies is no matter what they do to them, they always keep their innocence. You can always tell they're a pansy. And this has been bred fantastically, but you can tell this is still a narcissus.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a narcissus with bells, isn't it, really? I mean, it's absolutely stunningly beautiful there with those sort of double petals in the middle.
Really pretty.
Those white petals with those lovely sort of frilly kind of, kind of orange petals in between.
They are like a frill, aren't they?
Yeah, and those lovely white, pure white petals around the edge. Lovely strong stems on these as well. Because what I have found sometimes with double daffodils, not this variety, but sometimes I've found in the past with some double daffodils, the flowers are so big that the stems can't hold the flower up. So when it gets really wet, they just flop over. These ones have got super strong stems, so they're going to stay upright for you.
Do they have a nice smell as well?
They have got a fragrance, not overwhelming, but definitely a fragrance.
They normally do have, don't they?
Yeah, great for beds and borders, great for pots. Why not grow some in the garden and grow some for cutting and bringing indoors?
Absolutely, and beautiful. I used to always send from Jersey, actually, for my mum to get the narcissi delivered, but you don't need to get them delivered. They're in your garden growing, 20 bulbs of them, £14.99, 600 161 is your item number. Multi-order them, have somewhere where you can cut them and put them into vases in the house as well. Now, we've got an amazing bulb collection. Are you ready for this? 300 bulbs, which you can keep all for yourself. You could split with a family member. You've got an amazing saving £20, £9.99 for such variety as well.
Yeah, and it's a variety of bulbs, Hayley, that's going to give you probably a flowering period of up to 2 to 3 months on there as well.
Lovely.
So probably the earliest to flower will be the crocuses, for example. They'll flower sort of about February time. These are muscari or grape hyacinths, called grape hyacinths because if you used to hold one of the flower heads upside down, it looks like a bunch of grapes.
Yeah, I've never knew that.
So that's kind of the common name for those. These are little narcissus here as well. Giving you an idea of the type of narcissus, you can get tulips here. These look like Darwin hybrid tulips to me, but these are probably going to be flowering at the other end of the scale. These are broadier, very easy to grow, very easy to flower. Great cut flowers, those as well. This is a type of allium, a little allium molly, about sort of 6-7 inches tall. Flower for a good 2 or 3 weeks, look really attractive. This is another allium. This is Allium nigrum as well, which is kind of a wild type of allium, but again, really stunning plant on those really super sturdy, straight stems. We've got some kind of more crocuses here. We're kind of giving you a generic idea of of the mixing here as well. These are Iphion, these are called, and these only about 3 or 4 inches tall.
Lovely.
Will spread a bit like bluebells. They'll kind of spread over
like
a big
a
area.
Flower blue colour,
That's
aren't
it,
they? Lovely.
And when the sun comes out, the flowers open. When the sun goes in, they close.
Oh, do they? I like that.
But they look absolutely amazing.
So you're all different sort of heights,
different
heights, like you say, different flowering times.
Different colours. So probably the crocus will be about the earliest, so they'll be flowering for you perhaps even as early as end of January in a mild winter, but definitely from February. And then the tulips all the way up till possibly middle of May, almost perhaps even going into June. So a real long period of flowering there. These little alliums, for example, would be fantastic on a rockery. So you could put those in a rockery. Some of the little narcissus you could put in a rockery. The crocus you could plant in a lawn. They look lovely coming up in grass. And a little tip as well, if you want to plant them in the lawn and you want them to look natural, just get a handful of bulbs and literally throw them across the lawn.
Right.
And where they land, plant them.
Oh, that's...
That way they'll look completely natural.
Nice.
Just look really random. Yeah. They won't look like you thought about where they're going to go.
Oh, that's a great idea.
That's an option there. And these bulbs will come up year after year. A lot of them will actually increase in size. They'll multiply, so you'll get kind of bigger and bigger clumps. But they're all bone hardy, easy to grow. Years and years of flower from these. Once they finish flowering, let them die down, let the foliage die down, remove it once it's gone. Forget about them. Well, you will forget about them actually, because the summer will come, the autumn will come, and then suddenly spring, late winter will come the following year, and it'll be like, what's that coming up there?
Oh, it's such a joy, isn't it?
That's where I put those little alliums.
Yeah, it is. And my mum's got a complete front garden that was a spring garden. It's just a joy when you see that little bit green and you're like, oh, what do we plant there? I can't remember. And then it turns into the bulbs are so. Mother Nature's incredible because they're the ugliest thing. They look like an onion on a hole. Yeah. But grow into the most beautiful of plants.
They do.
Amazing.
Yeah. Talk about beauty and the beast. Really, that's what bulbs are, aren't they?
They really are. So that is an amazing collection. Do grab that. Moved on to our coreopsis.
Yep.
And this is Moonbeam. Moonbeam is really pretty because if I said to you to draw a flower, that's exactly what we'd draw. It's like a true flower in our head, isn't it?
It is. I mean, you say if you asked 100 school kids, like from an infant school, come on, guys, draw me a flower, and I reckon kind of 95% of the kids would grow that daisy kind of type flower.
Definitely.
I guess probably because it's generally the sort of flower as kids we've seen in storybooks, isn't it? Yeah. And kind of in things we read and cartoons and places like that. But sometimes the beauty of a plant is in its simplicity, and that's what's great about these. A simple flower, but a beguiling, attractive, entertaining, kind of gorgeous-looking flower there, with those lovely stamens in the middle on that dark centre.
It's golden, isn't it? It's like golden centre.
In fact, you could almost turn that into precious metals and make that a brooch. One of those flowers.
Yes.
That would look like a brooch, wouldn't it? You could make that into a brooch. And the whole flower is covered in these gorgeous brooch-like kind of flowers on there with that really lovely, feathery, fine foliage. It makes such a fantastic foil for all those incredible flowers, and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of flowers per plant that are going to flower for month after month after month.
So bees are going to like that, aren't they?
Bees, butterflies, all the pollinating insects, lacewings, for example. And if you find a little later in the summer that the flowering is slowing down, cut them down by about a third or a half. Give them a drink, give them a feed, they'll reshoot and they'll start flowering all over again. Great for pots, great for rockeries. If you're going to grow them in the border, grow them towards the front of the border. And again, like I was saying about one of the plants earlier on, give them a little bit of space as well. They like to be in the open, bright sunshine. That's what they really love. They do really well on poor soils, sandy soils, gravelly soils, so they're not fussy about super rich soil. But keep them out in the sunshine, keep them bright, keep them sunny. And they'll just brighten up your life and make you smile for month after month after month. And they'll come back year after year. They're perennials. So providing in their right position, they'll come back year after year and just look glorious. And they're one of those plants, a bit like the Verbena, bonariensis we were talking about earlier on, that for such minimum input, they just give you so much joy, so much pleasure and so much colour for such a long time.
Now you are getting one of these for $9.99, but if you use the code YGTV43, it is a buy one get two free. So you'll actually get 3 plants for $9.99, but you must put that code in. That code gives you the free gift as well, which of course is the 50 sweet pea seeds. So always use the code, whether it's for unlocking one of the deals or whether it's to get your free gift. Put the code in when you're ordering, and you all are today. It's great to have you company. I had loads of people watching on YouTube today. 560773 is your item number, and again,
rooty, nice roots.
They're healthy.
Yeah, really good root system on that as well. So again, because you've got this fantastic root system. Look at that, really nice roots there as well. A lovely fibrous root system there. So as soon as this gets in the ground, it's going to start to root into the soil. It's going to establish itself. And what you'll also see on these is when you finally cut them down in the autumn, quite often you can already see little tiny shoots right at the base that are just sitting there waiting to get going again next spring.
Fabulous. A definite, I think, must-have for all of your gardens. Just absolutely stunning. Could I put that in the pot?
Oh, fabulous in a pot. Yeah. They absolutely adore being in a pot, because if you put them in a pot, you can put them in the sunniest position possible, can't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
And they'll love the drainage as well. So that's the main thing about these. Lots of sunshine and good drainage. The same as the Echinacea. These two could be they could be twins in a lot of ways, really. They could be brother and sister.
They look great together, but they like the same soil.
They like exactly the same sort of position. They like full sun, they like good drainage, not particularly fussy about really rich soil. Again, I look after a garden in Bishop Stortford, a front garden that's got grasses and echinaceas. Right. Those echinaceas were probably planted there about 10 years ago, and it's really it's clay soil. And in the summer, it is as dry as bones. I mean, it's brick hard, but these love it because they love that heat and they love that drainage. So, you don't have to think about super fussy soil for these, but the colour of this one is magnificent.
It's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the pumpkin pansy, isn't it? It's
yeah,
that same kind of deep orangey colour.
Amazing orange. And they're such an incredible flower because I find it's like they open like an umbrella, don't they? And then they've got sort of the landing pad on top.
Yeah, they've got these kind of reflex kind of petals that almost kind of aim down. Great cut flowers as well on these. But these ones, even now, I mean, we're almost into November, and they've still got some flower heads coming on here, which if the weather stays reasonably mild, they might still come into flower. But don't worry if those flowers don't develop, because to be honest, it's not really their time of year. But next year, these will re-establish. These are herbaceous perennials. Those are the coreopsis. So that kind of means that most of the top growth just dies off over the winter, and that they die down to ground level.
Right.
But don't worry about that, because that's natural. The root under the ground stays absolutely, totally alive, and that root just sits there. And as soon as in the spring that root system detects the soil is warming up, it detects there's higher light levels, it will send up new shoots, and it will redo its thing all over again.
Fabulous. They are absolutely stunning. One of my favourites, but never seen that incredible orange. Do grab that while the stock is there. 560895 is your item number, and you are saving there £17, £12.97 is your price, and you've got 3 really healthy, strong, beautiful plants. Hello to everybody watching on YouTube and on Facebook. Hello and good afternoon now.
Yes,
we've gone from morning to the afternoon.
Although in theory it's still, isn't it? Because it's that weird time because the clocks have gone forward.
Yes.
Do you do that when the clock's gone forward? Do you say to your other half, well, actually, no, it's actually only 12 o'clock. Really, it's not what it is now.
It's only like midday, really.
Yeah.
It's very confusing.
It was great last night though, because I had to get up at 5:30 this morning.
But you got an extra hour.
Yeah, and it was 10 o'clock, and I thought I need to go to bed now because I've only got about 7.5 hours sleep. And I thought, no, I haven't. I've got 8.5 because the clocks go back.
It's the best thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it was good.
Then we lose it again, don't we?
Yeah, but I don't care. I don't care in the spring because we get the evenings, don't we? So I'm not bothered that time of year.
Yeah, no. So it's all changed. Now, did the children wake you up this morning? Were they still up on their normal time?
That's the thing. And my neighbours have just come back from 5 weeks in Australia, so they come back on Friday, so their body clock's already skewed.
Bless.
And then they're only back a day, and then they've got to change the time here again, so I don't know where they are.
Changing all the clocks that drives my mum mad, all the digital clocks. She's like...
Yeah, especially the cooker one. You can never do that, can you?
No.
You need a degree in cooker clocks.
Bless. Now, what you do need to get, not the right time, not a new clock, but definitely this deal, because it is the deal of the weekend, or the deal of the week if they've had it all week. I can't believe the size of these. If I was just buying one for $29.99, fabulous, amazing. You get 2 for that price.
I just want to sort of sing Agapanthus, rock me Agapanthus. I kind of, because these I can't see much more now, otherwise I get sued for copyright. But I mean, these really are rocking me. These, I mean, goodness me,
amazing.
Look at the size of these.
And
these are crazy, aren't they?
They're so beautiful. I've had one, I think, about 3-4 years, and mine isn't as established as that. It's massive, so well established. And wait till you see the flowers. I mean, I love the leaves. The flowers are incredible.
I'm trying to make out this is light as well.
Yeah,
it's not. I'm going to put it down. But it is a substantial plant. These are really both substantial plants. And the great thing about those is, Hayley, I can already see the faded flower stems on those, so I know they flowered this year. They're definitely going to flower next year. And like the 2 plants we were previously talking about, the coreopsis and the echinaceas, these again, like very similar kind of positions. They like full sun, they like to be well drained. And these actually will grow in some of those really punishing areas that some other plants won't. For example, you've got one of those south-facing aspects of your garden, one of those south-facing walls of your house.
Yes.
And the boulder at the base is powder dry.
Yeah.
It's rock hard.
Yeah. Everything
you put in there wilts and doesn't survive. These will love it.
Brilliant.
Agapanthus love that kind of position. They like to be pot-bound as well. I was mentioning earlier, I've looked after a really lovely lady's garden in Fifield in Ongar for donkey's years, and she's had Agapanthus in these same stone pots for year after year after year after year, through winter, through spring, through summer, through autumn, through drought, through cold. And every year they flower their socks off. They seem to almost survive on neglect. The only thing I would say about these ones is, Always give them the most sunniest position, always give them the most sheltered position. Plant them with in really, really well-drained soil. They'll absolutely hate you if you put it somewhere really shady or really heavy wet soil. In fact, they'll just give up the ghost. They won't survive. So sunniest position, best well-drained position. But if you still falling in love with them and you live somewhere that gets really, really cold, amazing plants for pots and containers. And then if it gets really, really cold, you can just take them off somewhere into the garage or the greenhouse, cover them in fleece or old carpet or anything to keep the frost out for a week or two, bring them back out again, and then they'll be fine. And chances are you only need to do that once every 10 years when we get one of those kind of freaky winters. But generally, I mean, you've grown these, Hayley, you know, they come up for you year after year, and they're just dramatic plants. And you might get
about 3-4 years in a pot. But I do keep it by the house through the winter months, so I know. And the leaves just look stunning all the time.
Yeah, those lovely, great big strap-shaped leaves.
It always looks stunning.
They look brilliant, don't they?
But then when the flowers come, it's just wow.
And you might get 15, I mean, eventually you might get 15, 20 kind of flower spikes on one plant.
Each year,
and each sort of actual spike might have 20, 30, 40 individual little flowers on top in that kind of tennis ball kind of shape.
And I can't believe the size. You're getting 2 for $29.99, but you do need to use the code YGTV43. Don't forget that code will also give you the sweet peas. They are free of charge, a free gift, but you need to use the code. You get 50 seeds. And don't forget, if you spend over £30, you've got free delivery as well. And join the club, because for £5, you'll get 10% off everything for a year. If you're looking at lawnmowers and things like that, you'll get 5% off. But through the year as well, you'll get 4 £5 vouchers. So you actually spend £5 today, and if you didn't get 10% off for the rest of the year, you're already getting £20 back of vouchers. So you're already winning, but actually you do get 10% off all year. £5 off your outdoor living goods, so like lawnmowers and things. And then, of course, you've got the exclusive offers as well. So it's well worth. I would do the yearly subscription that annually renews. It's £5 and it will annually renew, but you can cancel at any point. So it's silly to, well, it's entirely up to you. If you want to do the £10 one and it will cancel after a year, that's entirely up to you. In my mind, I'm thinking, well, if I don't want to stop after a year, I can just cancel it anyhow, and it's half that price. £5 is your deal today. And it will tell you when you go through to checkout, it will actually say in a box, if you become a member, what you'll save. So the first time I ordered, I was already saving over £5. So I was like, well, there's no, why would I not join? So I joined instantly because it didn't cost me anything.
And I'm just thinking, when you get one of these buy one, get 2 free offers, so you're getting 2 free plants already, and then the actual plant you're paying for, you're getting 10% off as well. So, yeah, I mean, wow.
It's a bit of a tick-tick situation.
You don't get that in a garden centre very often, do you?
No,
That's for sure.
Absolutely not. And, of course, all year round, of course, we've got shows all year round as well. Wednesdays and Thursdays, 10 till 1, and then 2 till 4. And then on a Sunday, we're 10 through to 2 o'clock. So, so you've got loads of time to have a look, to buy, to use your 10% off, to email in and ask any questions that you've got when we've got everybody, in the studio. So please do. We're right in the nursery right now. And this soil, you can talk to us on Facebook.
Yeah.
I forget all these technical things. And you can talk to us on YouTube.
And that's, I mean, even if it's not about, plants we've got here. I mean, any questions really, if you just
I thought you were going to ask for personal questions.
No, not
about gardening.
Yeah, about gardening. No, what I meant was, even if it's not about plants we've got here, if it's about other plants or, gardening.
Well, where is he going with this?
Yeah, gardening issues. Yeah. I can't tell you to get rid of athlete's foot or anything like that. I'm not kind of authorised to. You could ask. Yeah.
We'll look it up.
Yeah.
Now, what you do need is always a good compost. And my goodness, this has to be, I would say, one of the best products I've ever sold over all my years. I've been in sales since 1989. So out of all the things I've sold, I would say this is the most 5-star rated product, and it's a compost. But it wins, and so many people comment because it makes such a difference. Because if you haven't got a good compost, which at garden centres, and I'm sure, you can buy lots of different compost. A lot of the time I find it seems quite old. It's quite stodgy and thick and wet. Sometimes you open it, it looks a bit mouldy as well, like a white sort of dew on it and powdery sort of stuff.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I've even opened some compost bags and it's been green on the inside.
Some of it smells revolting.
Yeah, and of course, if you think some garden centres, they've got those huge, great big pallets of it. They've got all that awful plastic stuff wrapped round. Environmental disaster that is. And then, you know, the bags at the bottom are just so squashed with the weight of the bags on top.
Well, you can never move them, can you? You get them home and you're like this, and it's just a
all the air's
block.
been squeezed out of them, and you kind of doing this thing where you're sort of. Well, actually, it's happened to me at work where I've I had compost delivered or something in bags like that, and I'm finding I'm having to sort of kick the bags to try and break the compost up.
It's just solid.
Because when I empty it out, it's just coming out in big chunks.
Yeah, it is. You like break a chunk off, and then what do I do with this?
But look at this. This reminds me of you know, when you I remember as a kid, my mum used to make I think it was pastry.
Oh, that bit where the flour and the
where the butter goes in, and then you put the flour in, and it's that lovely kind of before it all finally kind of goes into a kind of a pastry-like mix.
That's it,
But that's the great thing about this. This is never going to go into that pastry-like mix. This is never going to consolidate into a solid ball. I mean, I've got that, I've got that like that there, but literally just you tap it, and it just falls apart.
And that's so much better for the roots, isn't it? Because the roots can grow into that. They can get stronger.
Yeah, but another thing that's showing that as well is that the reason that I can get it to form, I mean, it's a bit of a challenge, but the reason I can get it to form into a little bit of a ball like that is because there's moisture held in this. But there's not so much moisture that it's all pouring out from between my fingers because it's waterlogged. But there's enough moisture that I can do that. But as I say, when you want that compost to go back to being fine, look at that. I mean, it just, without any effort, it just breaks apart. So that means the roots can get right down through there, Hayley, very, very easy. The oxygen can get down there. And you've got composted wood fibre in this as well. You've got a slow-release fertiliser. You've got a wetting agent. And you've just got a compost there that's going to, well, basically, if it's green and it grows, pretty much you can use that compost.
Two 50-litre bags, so to split into 2 bags, completely plain bags. It's what the nursery uses. They have to get results, and this is the compost that gives you those results. Made me feel like I'd got green fingers. My hanging baskets were better, my pots were better, but I hadn't got green fingers. I'd just got the right compost to get the best out of the plants that I'd bought. This time of year, I always put it over all my pots. I put a layer over the top, so it puts that goodness back into the soil, and also over the beds and borders, because I think the soil's worked hard all summer, that if you put this on now through the winter months, through the rain and all that goes on, it's taking that goodness into the soil. So when those spring flowers come, when those bulbs start to show their little green shoots, that goodness is there to help them be the best in the future as well. And areas in my mum garden where it's horrible soil, nothing would grow, mixed into that soil, and it's a really great growing patch now because of that compost. 100 125 is your item number. Should be £43, £24.98 is your price.
When you mentioned just now about green fingers, though, it's a state of mind, green fingers, at the end of the day. When you use something like the compost like that and you get the results, that automatically leads you on to want to do more and get. It encourages you.
It does,
Whereas if you use something inferior and all your plants failed, you'd be demoralised. You give up. When you use something like that, and when you use plants like we supply here, because you're buying quality, you're going to get results, and because you get results, you're encouraged, and you want to do more, and you want to keep going.
It's so true, so true. Now, something that is going to make you smile every day is our Viola pumpkin. Just the right weekend to buy this.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's a stunning colour. I don't think I've seen a Viola this colour.
Nor have I. Not this orange. I mean, this is so orange. This is spectacular. And the good thing about a plant that is such a definite colour is it always gives you that option to contrast it with something else. So you could grow these in pots, and you could grow these in pots, say, with something like the black snake grass, and then you could mulch the top of the pot with white gravel. So you've got those fabulous contrasts there of orange, of white, of black. But you've got a viola here that's going to flower for month after month after month through the autumn, over the winter time, and then it kind of has its crescendo, kind of late spring, early summer. But remember, these aren't throwaway plants after they've finished flowering. They're not like just bedding plants. When they're finished flowering, trim them down. If you've got them in a pot or somewhere, keep them watered, feed them a little bit, put them somewhere cool but bright. Leave them for a couple of 2 or 3 months, and as the autumn approaches again, they'll regenerate and they'll start growing all over again. So you can keep these from year to year to year. But these will be a real talking point, because imagine one pot of these en masse with all those wonderful orange flowers. It'd just be amazing, wouldn't it, Hayley? And if you put these in a black pot, for example, with those bright orange flowers, that would look glorious, wouldn't it?
Just going to be stunning, aren't they? They're delivered as you see them in these fabulous little greenhouses that you can reuse as well. It's a buy one, get one free, so you're actually getting 12 plug plants for $14.99. But if you use the code YGTV43, you'll get another 12 cent completely free of charge, but you do need to use that code. 401507 is your item number. Don't forget, if you spend over £30, you do get free delivery on everything as well. And join the club for £5, you'll get 10% off everything, and you'll see that as you go through to checkout. Now, I love Tiny Monster. Not tiny and not a monster.
No, definitely not a monster. No, quite the opposite, really. Quite a little darling, this one. It's a stunning geranium. I mean, the first thing to look at here is, we haven't got any flowers on at the moment, but look at the foliage. The foliage looks stunning itself.
Leaves.
You've got these really deeply lobed leaves. And like on a lot of geraniums, these leaves, you can see on this one here, start to turn orange and then red during the winter time. So some of these leaves stay on almost like semi-evergreen, depending on what the weather is like. But really, it's the flowers. It's those sort of deep magenta kind of pink flowers, pinky purple flowers that look absolutely amazing. And these flower for month after month after month. And again, a really easy plant to grow. You might look at something like this and think, oh, that's going to take a lot of effort. That's going to take a lot of time. Where these type of geraniums grow, quite often it's in mountainous areas. It's in alpine kind of areas, so they're used to kind of soil that is quite poor, quite thin, used to being very cold in the winter, very hot in the summer. So these are tough plants. These plants are great for rockeries, great for pots, great for front of borders, great for gravel areas. Great standalone plants that, if you put in a nice sunny, well-drained position, will just start to form like sort of bigger and bigger sort of clumps and just give you these spectacular displays of wonderful, wonderful, simple but stunningly beautiful flowers for such a long period of time.
Absolutely beautiful. I think that purple is just stunning.
It's divine, isn't it?
It is. It really is. I've got these, and I put mine into a pot, and they've done really, really well. $9.99. It's buy one get two free though. So for $9.99 you'll get one, unless you use the code YGTV43, and then you will get three rather than just one. So it's a buy one get two free. So 560635 is your item number. Pansy Cool Waves, that's always been a favourite, and these are, I think, one of the prettiest of flowers. And I think actually, if you're thinking, you know, when you buy a plant, I want something that's really going to give me value for money. I want something that's going to flower for as long as it possibly can. This can flower for 9 months, can't it?
Yeah, these quite often are flowering for longer than what they aren't, you know, which is insane, really. And they'll kind of have different cycles of flower as well. So you can see they're quite flowering quite well at the moment. You will have some flower colour through the winter, and then as we get to late winter, early spring, they ramp up even more.
Fabulous.
And really start flowering their socks off. In fact, sometimes when I've had pansies like these in displays and stuff, and it's come to that time, well, I need to move you now because the summer stuff's got to go in.
Yeah.
And I don't want to move them because they're just looking so brilliant still.
Yeah.
You always feel awful like sort of moving them. But you can move these because these are perennial plants as well. So you can transplant them to somewhere else when they're finished flowering, trim them down, keep them water, keep them bright, and then replant them a little later in the year. But the good thing about Cool Wave is, first of all, they trail a little bit as well. They've got a sort of a fragrance to them, not a super strong fragrance, but they definitely have a fragrance to them. And these displays here, this is what you can achieve when these flowers are at their pinnacle, at their peak. Hundreds and hundreds of flowers. I like the fact that some are one solid colour, solid orange, solid white or solid yellow, and then others have got the top petals that are a deep purple. The three petals in the middle are a lighter purple. Some are even more cheeky than that, with other sort of colours mixed in. I mean, there's one there that's got white, deep purple, light purple, mid purple. So every flower seems unique, and it's just like a kaleidoscope, really, of fabulous colours in a hanging basket.
Well, it gets to the point where you can't see the greenery for the flowers, doesn't it?
No, the greenery just disappears, doesn't it? The foliage just disappears behind. But I mean, again, the root system on these is fantastic. I like that. Our producer Matt said root cam's coming. Yeah, this is what we're doing. We're doing root cam because when you see a root system like this, all this fibrous root, you just know this plant will succeed, because as soon as it gets into the ground or into the compost, those roots are going to spread out. Excuse me, and you know this plant is just going to look fantastic.
Absolutely delightful. And it is another buy one get one free. So all you need to do is use the code at the bottom of the screen, YGTV43, and for $14.99 you will get 2 for $14.99. So you'll get 10 plants for $14.99 if you don't use the code. If you use the code, it will double up and you'll get 20 plants still for $14.99. 40967 is your item number. Don't forget, if you spend over £30 you will get free delivery. Always use the code because it unlocks all the deals, but it also gives you your free gift, and your free gift today is 50 sweet pea seeds, which are beautiful. Sweet peas are so glorious, so you'll get those free of charge as well. So do not miss out on any of the offers, the free offers, the deals, by using that code. Always use the code YGTV43. So was YGTV something? It could be 40, it could be 42, it could be 44, it could be 45. Whatever the code is, use it. Now we've got some great planters, and these are absolutely stunning. They're the Medley planter in silver. You've got a double up deal, so you can get one for $11.99, but actually 2 for $14.98. So go for 2 of those. It's only like another £2-3, and you've got another actual planter worth $11.99. So that's 130127. Completely weatherproof. Sunshine won't fade, it'll always look that good. You'll also find as well, winter-wise, when you get those horrible frosts and a lot of your pots, your real pots, they crack and spoil. You won't get that. And you're also saying as well, and they look so nice, these plastic pots now, that we don't get that horrible sort of
green slime.
Yes,
yeah.
Green slime is the correct word.
Yeah, I've got some old ceramic pots, and because they wick moisture, then that slime builds up on the outside.
Which you never got on these.
No, and you go to pick the pot up and all the slime kind of sticks to your fingers. That's almost got like a medieval kind of design to it as well. I quite like that, almost like a coat of arms on the side there. Really stunning looking pot.
And of course they're lightweight as well. We were saying obviously to manoeuvre around the garden, but if you have just got a balcony and you want to do some planting on your balcony, you don't want a really heavy pot, they're really, really nice and lightweight as well. So that's 130127. I would definitely double up for those.
One super quick tip of that as well, instead of using like broken pots for crocks as well, if weight's an issue, use broken up bits of polystyrene. That works just as well.
Oh, does it?
But it's lightweight.
Oh.
So it keeps the pots light.
We like. See, all this knowledge. Now we're moving on to our Verbena. This is one of my absolute favourites. This is another plant I discovered and saw in the Isle of Wight, in a lot of people's front gardens there. And I was like, why is that? It's amazing. And it was particularly amazing. It's really pretty, but it's just the way it stands up. And you've got this beautiful, these beautiful flowers, but it's like you can see through, like it's transparent. And then there was some really nice sort of cottages, and you could see the cottage still behind, even though they have these beautiful plants in the front garden. It's
one of those plants, Hayley. Imagine, for example, if you put hollyhocks at the front of your border, or hollyhocks in the middle of your border, they would obliterate everything around, wouldn't they? Because they're really, really tall and they've got huge leaves. But the weird thing about these is, these get really, really tall, but because they've got that open look to them, these can be in the middle of the border, these can be to the front, these can be growing anywhere, because you can always see through to the background with these.
Amazing.
They're absolutely incredible, easy to grow. These practically grow in dust once they're established. I've seen them coming up between paving slabs, I've seen them coming up in gravel areas. Look great in prairie features planted with grasses, for example. They will flower for month after month after month, probably start flowering probably late June all the way through up till now even. They're still flowering now when the weather's mild. Don't need supporting. When the rain comes, they do flip to one side or whatever, but once the wind drives them out, they flick back upright again. Bees, pollinating insects, butterflies love them. Just a really, really fantastic plant. And 3 super good quality plants here.
Yeah, in fact, buy one, get 2 free.
Let's get this one. Oh, wow. Oh, this is insane.
We don't need to get very close to see those roots.
That's a
root
on a stick, that one, isn't it? A quick tip as well, before we run out of time, is when you've got something as pot bound as this, before you plant it, just tease those roots out a bit like that. Just loosen them a little bit, because otherwise, when you put them in the ground, they'll just keep going round and round like they are in the pot.
Right.
If you loosen them a little bit, they'll go out sideways and establish themselves.
Top tip.
Look at that root, goodness
me.
So
use the code YGTV43. Rather than just getting one plant for $9.97, you'll get all 3. It's a buy one, get two free. I have to really think about that. 560169 is your item number. Get your pens and papers, a few of your absolute favourites. Sadly, we're coming towards the end of the last 4 hours, but don't forget we're back on Wednesday from 10 o'clock, 10 till 1 and 2 till 4 Wednesday and Thursday. Sunday is 10 till 2. So some of your absolute favourites, well, take a look at the Pansy Matrix. 400,373 is your item number, $14.99 is your price. It's a buy one, get one free, so you must use that code. So rather than getting 12 plug plants, you will get 24 if you use the code YGTV43. Don't forget that gives you the free actual sweet pea seeds as well, which are a free gift. Something else you've absolutely loved as well. We've had some true favourites today. It's been lovely to have your company. Lots of you on YouTube today. 400,373 is your item number. That's your Pansy Matrix. We're going on to, and hopefully we'll have a chance to show you the size of this. We'll just change the details for you. The Agapanthus is absolutely stunning. You're getting 2 for $29.99. They are the biggest of pots. You will not believe the size of them. They're a buy one, get one free. So you need to please use that code YGTV43. We will show you the size of this at the end of the show. To get 2 of those for that price, and they are stunning. Just remember to plant them in small pots. You restrict the roots, you hug the roots to encourage the flowers. So 680130 is your item number. Something else I know you've loved, and that's our tiny monster geranium. They're just absolutely beautiful. $9.99, and again it's a buy one get 2 free. So 560635 is your item number. So use that code to make sure you get 3 of those 9cm pots, and just the prettiest of flowers. The Echinacea, this is the most striking of colour, and an Echinacea, it's a bit like an umbrella, how the petals fold down, and then you've got the landing pad there for the butterflies and the bees. The colour is out of this world. $12.97 is your price. You're saving £17. 3 9cm pots. 560895 is your item number. Coreopsis has been another favourite, and we've all loved this. And actually these two worked really well, the Echinacea and this, really well together. They like the same sort of soil and they look great together. This is like that perfect daisy flower, very pale sort of yellow with a real golden centre. $9.99, this is another crazy buy one, get 2 free, but you need to use that code. 560773 is your item number, and that really gives you the most amazing displays. Got a really nice sort of ferny sort of leaf to this as well. Another favourite, and we've got loads of items you can find, of course, on our website, Orange Trail. And this is really pretty, really gorgeous glossy green leaf, but those flowers come first of all, and then it does get an orangey sort of fruit on it. You can make quince jelly, I do believe. 510957 is your item number. It's a double up deal. So $9.99 will buy you 1. But if you put 2 into your basket, it'll only charge you another £5 for that second one. So £5 for a plant that should be $9.99. So well worth doubling up. 510957 is your item number. Don't forget, if you spend over £30, you have got free delivery. If you are ordering anything, use the code YGTV43. It'll give you a free gift, which is your 50 sweet pea seeds, but it also unlocks all those deals of the buy one, get 2 frees and things. And if you want the deal of the weekend, it's got to be this.
Well, I feel like I need to be on one of those cheeky postcards so you know what a whopper misses. You know what I mean?
Never seen one as big as that before.
Yeah, never seen one as big as that before, but boom, yeah. And I mean, goodness me, this is substantial, isn't it, to be honest?
I mean,
incredible.
It's amazing, isn't it? Not getting 1, you're getting 2, as long as you use that code. And remember to plant them in a smaller pot rather than the bigger one. They like to have the actual roots hugged. If you plant it into the soil, either plant it in a pot or put stones around it so it thinks it's still being hugged, and you will get the most amazing flowers. Keep one for yourself, use one as a gift, and don't forget, when you're ordering, do join our club. £5 for a year, 10% off all year round, and you get 4 £5 vouchers through the year as well. It's crazy. Got to say a massive thank you to Adam.
Cheers, Hayley, enjoyed it.
What a joy.
Thank
It's
you.
been great to have your company as well. Check your baskets out. See you later.